What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 6DH116. There is definitely something wrong with Ichimaru Jin. 116. There is definitely something wrong with Ichimaru Jin. Really? The scene changes. Kurosaki Ichigo has a few more wounds on his body. Him at this time. He was half kneeling on the ground, breathing heavily, and it looked like his body had been hurt a lot. Well, Ichimaru Jin is condescending. He looked expressionlessly at the embarrassed Kurosaki Ichigo among the ruins, and then spoke calmly. There's nothing we can do about it. You're weaker than I thought. Even using your hollow, can't you resist my blow? Having said this, Ichimaru Jin shook the bloodline on the short sword in his hand, and then showed his hands. If you only have this level of power, then run away. When saying this, it can be clearly seen that Ichimaru Jin's eyes are looking at another place. 12XF. There is a very terrifying existence there. What, you said, let me escape. Hear this. Kurosaki Ichigo was a little surprised. Now, in the home of Kurosaki Ichigo, escape, at this time. Kurosaki Ichigo looked at the light screen with the same surprised expression as in the video. This guy Ichimaru Jin, you actually let me escape. What he means is, let me go. At this moment, at Kurosaki Ichigo's home, others saw this scene in the light curtain. They were all very surprised. Hello, Ichigo. The speaker was Muguruma Kensei. Do you really believe he asked you to escape? He probably just wants to humiliate you, that's right. Hirako Shinji also echoed. Based on my impression of Ichimaru Jin, he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would let the enemy go in battle. And, I don't believe he is an undercover agent. Hello. At this time, Abarai Renji on the roof also shouted. Ichigo, you idiot, you really believe what this guy says? Maybe he just wants to stab you in the back. Hear these words. Kurosaki Ichigo was speechless. It seems that these people all have stereotypes about Ichimaru Jin. If Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent, have to say, his disguise is really good, advertisement. So many people actually think that he is a cold and ruthless villain. Kurosaki Ichigo doesn't think so, except for the unusual point that Ichimaru Jin, who was discovered during the battle, did not use all his strength. He also found out, this guy Ichimaru Jin, in the video, when he told himself to run away, his eyes were looking in another direction. After thinking about this, Kurosaki Ichigo is even more convinced that this Ichimaru Jin wants to escape. It is very possible that it is a sincere advice. It is very possible that Ichimaru Jin already knew in advance that someone more powerful would threaten his life. And that person, most likely, is Aizen, it seems. Ichimaru Jin might really be an undercover agent. Think of this. Kurosaki Ichigo looked sharply into the light curtain. He wants to see what this Ichimaru Jin will do next. Seirei, the chief's room. Yeah. Kyoraku Shunsui also frowned after seeing the video in the light screen. There does seem to be something wrong with this Ichimaru Jin. Hear this. The other captains were silent. These captains are certainly not fools. They also have a stereotype about Ichimaru Jin. Or it's prejudice, or it's a holiday. B. They have been observing Ichimaru Jin's every move since the light curtain was played. It starts with the battle between Ichimaru Jin and Kurosaki Ichigo. They had already discovered something unusual. For example, Ichimaru Jin explains his Bankai to Kurosaki Ichigo at the beginning. Good guy. All the captains were stunned right on the spot. Bankai, as Shinigami's trump card ability. How many captains will use Bankai at critical moments in battle? And, all the time. In addition to the battle, his Bankai ability was exposed. 013403415 Filu 144,430,460. Under normal circumstances, most Shinigami will deliberately hide their Bankai abilities. Or the newly learned Bankai move, for example, Hitsugaya Dashiro's Hidden Flower Burial. If it hadn't been used in battle, few people would know that Hitsugaya Tushirushu knew such a powerful move. DJ, what's going on with this Ichimaru Jin in the light curtain? He actually took the initiative to explain his Bankai abilities to the enemy? Simply outrageous, although, in the end Kurosaki Ichigo guessed that Ichimaru Jin said this to confuse him. However, after Ichimaru Jin's Zanpakuto Bankai, the extended length has indeed been greatly improved. Please give me flowers, from a certain perspective. Ichimaru Jin didn't lie, this is very surprising. Moreover, judging from the battle played in the light curtain. Advertisement, this Ichimaru Jin did not show his full strength when fighting Kurosaki Ichigo. The battle looks fierce. Kurosaki Ichigo also suffered a lot of damage. B. The captains can tell at a glance that these injuries are not fatal to Kurosaki Ichigo. They believe it, if Ichimaru Jin really attacks with all his strength. Kurosaki Ichigo couldn't just be injured, after Ichimaru Jin Bankai, the speed of that sword. Killing Kurosaki Ichigo directly is more than enough. This guy Ichimaru Jin, oh really undercover? At this moment, every captain has a little murmur in his heart. Even Hitsugaya Dashiro, who had always been unhappy with Ichimaru Jin, felt something was wrong with Ichimaru Jin. DJ, if Ichimaru Jin were undercover, what could be his purpose? Save Soul Society? Protect Seirei? 2. Ichimaru Jin doesn't look like this kind of person? In short, there is definitely something wrong with this Ichimaru Jin. Think of this, all the captains were very curious. They all turned their attention to the light curtain in the sky. Ichimaru Jin next, what will you do, within the light curtain? The video continues to play. Well, Ichimaru Jin looked at Kurosaki Ichigo in front of him and said calmly. That's it for the warning, if you don't plan to escape. Speaking of which, Ichimaru Jin slowly took out his short sword from his arms. He turned the tip of the knife and pointed it at Kurosaki Ichigo's throat. In that case, Kurosaki Ichigo, next, just die here. Say it. He directly stabbed Kurosaki Ichigo in front of him. Kurosaki Ichigo, captains, audience. Outside the light curtain, everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Worry, what's going on? You were so lax before, but now you just kill me if you ask for it? Where is the undercover agent you promised? 117. Aizen. The so-called rules are meant to be broken. 117. Aizen. The so-called rules are meant to be broken. Outside the light curtain, after everyone saw Ichimaru Jin, they stabbed Kurosaki Ichigo directly. Almost everyone was stunned on the spot, because before that, neither the captains of Seireiti nor Kurosaki Ichigo himself, or Aizen, when they watched the light curtain, they already noticed something was wrong with Ichimaru Jin in the video. Not only during the battle, it delays time, moreover, it makes Kurosaki Ichigo escape. It doesn't look like he wants to kill Kurosaki Ichigo. Moreover, it seems that he is going to give Kurosaki Ichigo a try. However, at this time, Ichimaru Jin in the light curtain suddenly attacked Kurosaki Ichigo. This time, it surprised everyone, between Barrages. Worry. What? What is going on? Omaeda, Wotong, a surprise attack. Ichimaru Jin was promised to be an undercover agent. Hisagi Shuhei, 010? No. I will do it. Kurosaki Ichigo. Ha, let me just say this guy is lying to you. How could he be an undercover agent? Aburai Renji. Then why did he do that before? He didn't seem to want to fight seriously. Aizen Naneo. I think Ichimaru Jin probably wants to give Kurosaki Ichigo hope first, and then make him despair. Yamada Hanataro. Woden. What you said makes sense. So, in the beginning, he was trying to make Kurosaki Ichigo relax his vigilance? Ryoraikawa Yumichika? Is Ichimaru Jin so pervert? Madarame Makaku. Silver. Absolutely impossible. Matsumoto Rangaku. At this moment, everyone in the barrage room was all surprised by the reversal that just happened. The development of the plot in the video made everyone feel very confused. The behavior of this guy from Ichimaru Jin, it's really a bit unpredictable and unpredictable. At the beginning of the battle, the Ichimaru Jin guy seemed to be testing Kurosaki Ichigo. After telling Kurosaki Ichigo about Zanpakuto's abilities, he won't be able to kill him in battle. It looks like he is training Kurosaki Ichigo. Then, when another powerful Ryotsu appeared in the video, he asked Kurosaki Ichigo to run away. Is this because he was worried about Mamoru? However, the audience has not yet recovered. Ichimaru Jin took advantage of his unpreparedness and stabbed Ichigo directly. This was to kill Ichigo. At this time, everyone recalled Ichimaru Jin's behavior before and after, and they all felt that his behavior was inconsistent and confusing. This guy, what is going on? Is he an undercover agent? If so, why would he be so cruel to Kurosaki Ichigo? If not, why didn't he just do it right from the beginning? Think of this. The audience is becoming more and more curious at this time. At the same time, I feel more and more that this Ichimaru Jin is a bit unsophisticated or a bit mysterious. At this moment, everyone continued to turn their attention to the light curtain in the sky. Seireiti, the chief's room. Yeah, Kyoraku Shunsui was very surprised after seeing the light curtain-like video. Advertisement. He originally thought that Ichimaru Jin had other plans. Unexpectedly, I ended up killing Kurosaki Ichigo. The way Ichimaru Jin behaves is really hard to figure out. Kyoraku Shunsui sighed, looking at it this way. It's less likely that he is an undercover agent. Hitsugaya Toshiro was also very surprised, etc. Something's wrong. At this time, another Zaraki Kenpachi suddenly spoke. After the captains heard Zaraki Kenpachi's voice, they all turned their heads to look at him in surprise. Did Captain Zaraki discover something new? At this time, Zaraki Kenpachi looked at the title in the light screen. Then he looked at the captains and said, Am I? Is there such a possibility? What's possible? Hitsugaya Toshiro asked curiously. The title, Ichimaru Jin has been undercover for 100 years. Is there any possibility that Ichimaru Jin has not been undercover by Aizen's side for 100 years? But undercover in Seireiti for 100 years? Hitsugaya Toshiro. AB. Hear this. The captains were stunned at first, and then were speechless for a while. This seems to make sense at first glance. DJ, the video of Ichimaru Jin defecting to Soul Society following Aizen has been played before. It's worth changing the title again, marking the time and place as undercover for 100 years. Isn't this purely unnecessary? This Zaraki Kenpachi really has some well-developed limbs, and a simple mind. Think of this. The captains felt a little funny again. They all smiled and shook their heads. Afterwards, all the captains focused their attention on the light curtain again. This Ichimaru Jin, what will happen next? Was Kurosaki Ichigo defeated by him this time? Is he an undercover agent? At this moment, in the hall, the captains all had these curiosity and questions. Continue to turn your attention to the light curtain in the sky. At this moment, in the light curtain, the video continues to play. I saw the scene change in the light curtain. The picture suddenly came to another place. In the screen, Ichimaru Jin and Aizen seemed to have come to a strange place. Many Shinigami were stunned on the spot. Isn't this boundless? What are Aizen and Ichimaru Jin doing here? Advertisement, breaking the boundary, at this time. Aizen spoke calmly in the light curtain. It's really nostalgic. Yes, Ichimaru Jin on the side also spoke in agreement. At this time, a huge creature suddenly appeared on the screen. It was quickly attacking Aizen and the two. Not good, not good. Seeing this scene, Ichimaru Jin quickly spoke. It's Jutsu. Let's go quickly, Captain Aizen. Raitu. After hearing this, Aizen still stood there, motionless. See this. Ichimaru Jin was a little anxious and continued to speak. Captain Aizen, we'd better leave quickly. That's a product that completely abides by the law and doesn't care about Ryotsu. Ryotsu alone can't do anything to it, but Aizen still stood motionless. Watching Jutsu getting closer and closer to him, Ichimaru Jin couldn't help but urge again. Captain Aizen, however, right now, I saw Aizen slowly raising his right hand. Boom! Suddenly there was an explosion, all of a sudden. The discovery of Ichimaru 0.1 Silver Jinja, the extremely huge bulge was shattered by the Aizen void in an instant. For a while, within the broken boundary, flesh and blood flew everywhere. 181 plus 4. Silver? At this time, Aizen smiled slightly and spoke lightly. The so-called rules, it's meant to be broken. Speaking of which, Aizen took steps and continued to move forward. Come on, Silver. Go to the end of the law. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin stared at Aizen's back with an expression of extreme surprise. Buzz outside the light curtain. When everyone saw this scene, everyone was stunned. Go to Waller, Aizen actually blasted Jutsu to pieces? Wotong. What a joke. 118. Kill Jutsu instantly with one move, shocking everyone. 118. Kill Jutsu instantly with one move, shocking everyone. Aizen actually blasted Jutsu to pieces? Wotong? What a joke. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Between barrages. Waller is in trouble, Omaeda. Kutu was blown to pieces by Aizen. Hisagi Shuhei. I'm going. Are you kidding me? That's just a joke, Kiraiziru. Aizen can even kill a Japanese soldier with one move. This is too scary. What level of strength has he reached? Reikawa Yumachika. It's a bit hard to imagine. Yamada Hanataro. Have you noticed that Aizen's appearance has also changed, Aizen Naneo? Yes. He looks completely different from before. Not to mention that his hair has grown longer. How come he has a gem on his chest? Abarai Renji. Could it be the legendary Hogyoku, Muguruma Kensei? At this time, everyone also discovered the changes in Aizen in the light curtain. Especially the strong aura he showed when he was killing Juju instantly. All 15 people were very surprised. Everyone also discovered abnormalities in the video playback. What was clearly playing in the previous screen was the battle between Ichimaru Jin and Kurosaki Ichigo. Why did you suddenly change to Aizen? How is Kurosaki Ichigo? Was he really killed by Ichimaru Jin? Why did these two guys, Aizen and Ichimaru Jin, suddenly appear in the broken world? Where are they going? Why did Aizen become like this? What is all this about? A series of questions made everyone very curious. It seems that a lot of things happened in this skip section. Think of this. Everyone continued to look into the light curtain. Everyone wants to figure out what is going on. Now, Urahara store. Uncle Urahara, after Kurosaki Ichigo and others arrived at the Urahara store, they asked. What is this Jutsu? Hear this. Urahara Kazuki on the side shook the small fan in his hand and then answered. Have you forgotten how we went to Soul Society last time? Crossing the boundary gate, Inoue Orihime answered quickly. Last time, Kurosaki Ichigo and others went to Soul Society to save Rukia. Urahara Kazuki opened the boundary gate in his underground training city, and he passed through the boundary and successfully arrived at Soul Society. But at that time, the situation was quite urgent, and Urahara Kazuki did not tell Kurosaki Ichigo and others about the incident. Think of this. Advertisement Urahara Kazuki continued. That's right, you should still have an impression of this broken boundary. Hear this. Kurosaki Ichigo, Inoue Orihime, Uryu, Sato and others all nodded. They all still remember the scene of crossing the boundary for the first time. Boundary, as the name suggests, is a place where time and space on both sides are isolated for Soul Society or the present world. Urahara Kazuki continued. And Jutsu is a creature that exists to prevent people who enter here from staying too long. Technically speaking, he is a scavenger. Scavenger? Hearing this, Kurosaki Ichigo and others looked surprised. Urahara Kazuki nodded. Jutsu appears once every 7 days in the broken world. It doesn't rely on Ryotsu to survive, it's the rule in Dankai. When the Juju appears, it means that it will destroy and devour all living things in the world. Hear this. Kurosaki Ichigo and others took a breath. It turns out that this Katsu is so terrifying, regardless of Ryotsu, it is directly the power of the rules. Fortunately, I was in a group at that time and did not encounter any violence. But, at this time, everyone reacted immediately. This Jutsu is so powerful, To be able to be killed by this guy Aizen, with just one move? After realizing this, the four of them were even more shocked. They all discussed it one after another, at this time. Urahara Kazuki on the side also frowned when he heard the discussion of Kurosaki Ichigo and others, and looked at the light curtain in the sky. Have you merged with Hogyoku in the future? Has Hogyoku accepted him? Urahara Kazuki muttered. In the eyes of ordinary people, Aizen looks very strange. Especially, a purple gem appeared on Aizen's chest. But, when Urahara Kazuki saw this scene, I was extremely surprised. When he saw this scene, he was already very sure. Aizen has begun merging with Hogyoku, did not expect. In the future, this guy Aizen will still do it. Things are starting to get a little tricky. Urahara Kazuki looked at Aizen's figure in the light curtain and was also a little curious. IVETV. Where are you going? Advertisement at this moment. Asterisk a carat asterisk dollar asterisk carat the members of Team Zero, the captains of Seirei, and Aizen himself. Almost everyone was shocked by the scene where Aizen had just killed Kutu instantly with one move. Anyone who has some understanding of the world, everyone knows what it means to kill someone suddenly. It means, the strength of this guy Aizen, it has been exaggerated to the point where the rules can be ignored. After realizing this, everyone was extremely surprised. Why is this Aizen so powerful? Where will he go after passing through the boundary? What is his ultimate goal? The most important thing is this guy Ichimaru Jin an undercover agent? Until now, the video has been played, and there is no sign that he is an undercover agent at all. If he is really an undercover agent, 597 what will he do? Facing such a powerful Aizen, what will he do, at this moment? Everyone has questions, curiosity, and expectations. He continued to turn his gaze to the light curtain in the sky. At this time, in the light curtain, the video continues to play. In the picture, Aizen and Ichimaru Jin walked out of the world. What comes into view is a city. Judging from the architectural style, it doesn't seem to be Nalinjing. Asterisk. It's really a scene that doesn't fit in with Soul Society at all. Aizen glanced at the scene in front of him and said calmly. This is the current world, you idiot, outside the light curtain. The Masked Legion, Kurosaki Ichigo and others were all shocked after seeing the scene in the video. Because they recognized it at a glance. The city in front of them was the one they had always lived in and were very familiar with, Karakura Town. See here. Everyone was very surprised. Didn't Aizen and Ichimaru Jin enter the broken world from Karakura Town? How to come out later, still in Karakura Town? Thinking of this, everyone was confused. At this time, the picture in the light curtain showed a panoramic view of the entire city. At this time, everyone's expressions are very unbelievable. 1 plus 4. How did Karakura Town appear in Soul Society? What on earth is going on? 119. Karakura Town was transferred. 119. Karakura Town was transferred, at this moment. Everyone looked at the scene in the light curtain with surprise on their faces. What? This city, isn't Karakura Town. How could he appear in Soul Society? At the beginning, no one could see it, because everyone is very curious. Aizen and Ichimaru Jin seem to be the two people who arrived from Karakura Town. How come you were still in Karakura Town after you came out? The audience all thought that Aizen wanted to directly invade Soul Society through breaking the boundary. Ido, after the panorama in the picture is played. Everyone was surprised to find out, the entire Karakura Town was completely transferred to a place in Soul Society. The reason why I say it is definitely Soul Society. That's because not far away in the picture, you can vaguely see the huge Sokyoku Hill in the Seirei. Saw this scene, everyone was a little surprised. In the barrage room, this is actually Soul Society? Abarai Renji. Yeah, what on earth is going on? Hisagi Shuhei. Could it be that another Karakura Town was built within Soul Society? Katetsu Izan? No, this is definitely the real Karakura Town, Kurosaki Ichigo. Yes, I also saw our school, Inoue Orihime. But why did Karakura Town appear in Soul Society? How did you do it, Yamada Hanataro? The real Karakura Town is in Soul Society, so what is the place where Aizen fought at the beginning? Aizen. I see. I understand. The place where everyone fought Aizen at the beginning was a fake Karakura Town, Muguruma Kensei. Not bad, Kensei, you finally relied on something this time, Hiriko Shinji. Outside the light curtain, when everyone saw the discussion in the barrage, they suddenly realized it. #E. A lot of things can be figured out. For example, when Aizen appeared in Karakura Town, a group of captains were already waiting for him. Explain that the captains have already moved the real Karakura Town away from the beginning. And it was arranged. The rest is just waiting for this guy Aizen to show up. Bye. This also explains why the battle between the captains and the Arankars was not limited to Ryotsu from the beginning. The previous captains were restricted by Ryotsu when fighting in the real world. The purpose is to prevent the captain level from affecting innocent humans during the battle. Think of this. The audience understood immediately. No wonder the captains chose to face Aizen there. No wonder, almost all captains can directly release their Bankai without any scruples. Advertisement ya. That is simply a fake Karakura Town. Hi. It's really high. Think of this. Everyone felt that the captains of Gode 13 really tried their best to avoid hurting innocent people. Q. No one thought that this guy Aizen would be so ridiculously strong. Not only did he defeat all the captains, but he also seemed to have noticed it. The city he is in is simply a fake Karakura town. See here. Everyone started to panic again, $0. Aizen has discovered the real Karakura town. There are a lot of innocent humans there. Humans without any power are like sheep in front of Shinigami. You can only let others slaughter you, not to mention they can dodge Aizen's attacks. I'm afraid it's Aizen. Stop there. With his terrifying Ryotsu, he could probably crush a large number of ordinary humans on the spot. Hiss. Think of this. Outside the light curtain, almost everyone took a breath of cold air. They have all imagined the seriousness of the matter. This guy Aizen. What is the purpose of going to Karakura town? Why do you have to go to Karakura town after all the trouble? Is there no one to stop him? Where is Captain Yamamoto of Seirei? Think of this. Everyone continued to focus on the light curtain in the sky. Now, Urahara Kazuki store. +1. This is actually Karakura town? At this moment, Kurosaki Ichigo and others were very surprised after seeing the light curtain. Just now, through the discussion in the barrage, everyone has realized it. The Shinigami of Seirei should have moved the entire city to Soul Society in order to protect the real Karakura town. B. Apparently, Aizen discovered it after all. Ura. Uncle Urahara. At this time, Kurosaki Ichigo turned his head and looked at Urahara Kazuki and asked, "Why does this Aizen have to go to Karakura town? Advertisement, what on earth is he going to do?" Hear this. Urahara Kazuki on the side also looked heavy. For him, he wasn't very surprised when he saw that the entire Karakura town had been moved. The moment Aizen betrayed Soul Society, he already knew what Aizen wanted. In other words, Aizen's arrival in Karakura town was also within his expectation. Because, he understands, if Aizen wants to rule Soul Society and replace Seirei, then I will definitely go to Soul King Palace. To go to the Spirit King Palace, you must have the King Key. FFLX. Aizen's purpose in coming to Karakura town is not simple. That is to sacrifice a city and create a King Key. Think of this. Urahara Kazuki frowned. Because he has already realized this, Urahara Kazuki has long had the idea of moving the entire Karakura town. So, when I saw the transferred Karakura town in a light curtain, Urahara Kazuki immediately realized that it was probably him. Asterisk. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Those guys from Seirei still chose to listen to my ideas. Urahara Kazuki muttered. But, Wang Zhao Zhao, apparently, this guy Aizen discovered him. Manager Urahara? Kurosaki Ichigo saw that Urahara Kazuki had been mumbling something and did not answer his own questions. Therefore, I couldn't help but continue to ask. I am not sure as well. Urahara Kazuki did not tell everyone the truth. Keep looking. After everyone heard what Urahara Kazuki said, they had no choice but to say nothing. At this moment, Kurosaki Ichigo, the Masked Legion and others continued to turn their attention to the light curtain in the sky. They know, this guy Aizen, it is impossible to do things without purpose. Although I don't know what his purpose is, what is certain is that this guy, he must be up to no good. I thought of this. Everyone then locked their eyes tightly on the light curtain. 120. Hinamori Momo is missing her brainstem. 120. Hinamori Momo is missing her brainstem. In the light curtain, the video continues to play at this point. At this time, Aizen and Ichimaru Jin arrived at Karakura town. I happened to meet a human being. KG, my head hurts so much. A fat middle-aged man held his forehead and said, "What the hell is going on here? Why aren't the trams even running? I can neither go home nor go back to the company." At this time, this middle-aged uncle just saw Aizen and Ichimaru Jin face to face. Dell. The middle-aged uncle was stunned. There is someone. Great. Someone is awake. Said. The middle-aged uncle sped up and walked quickly towards Aizen and Ichimaru Jin. Maybe it's because I just woke up and was confused. He didn't notice the strange attire of the two Aizens. Hello. Do you know what happened? The middle-aged uncle asked as he approached. Bu. Saw this scene, Aizen said suddenly. Ah? The middle-aged uncle was stunned. Exexito. Just the next second. He suddenly felt that he was running into an invisible force. Then, his vision went dark and his consciousness disappeared instantly. Then, he fell down weakly. See this scene, Aizen said calmly. 317. Those without Ryotsu consciousness cannot feel my power. B. The human spirit itself cannot withstand my Ryotsu. After Aizen said this, I saw the lens in the light curtain begin to zoom out. At this time, can be seen wherever Aizen has gone. Dozens of innocent humans are already lying on the ground. Each one of them died with a very cruel look. It looked like it was directly crushed by Aizen's Ryotsu. Saw this scene. Everyone outside the light curtain couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. This Aizen is too cruel. He actually ran directly to the present world and crushed and killed human beings indiscriminately. Advertisement. What on earth is he going to do? Between barrages. Everyone was very angry after seeing this scene. It's, damn it, this Aizen, Omaeda. Damn. Why should I kill humans so cruelly? Abarai Renji. Ah. Is this the future? Oh my god. Who can save those people? Inoue or Hime? Aizen. This is simply unforgivable, Sui Feng. Although I know that the scene in this light curtain takes place in the future, but, seeing such a cruel scene, I still feel very unbearable, Yamada Hanataro. No matter what, we can't let this happen, Kurosaki Ichigo. At Hinamori Momo, check it out, this is what you call kind-hearted Captain Aizen, Kira Izuru. Don't get involved, Hinamori Momo, what does it have to do with Captain Aizen, Hinamori Momo? Didn't Captain Aizen already remind those people not to get close, Hinamori Momo? Can't you see, those people insisted on crashing into Captain Aizen, Hinamori Momo? And haven't you noticed, Ichimaru Jin has always been with Captain Aizen, everything he did must have been coerced by him, Hinamori Momo. Hitsugaya Toshiro, Beef Beer, Kira Izuru. At this moment, everyone saw Hinamori Momo's speech in the barrage. For a moment, everyone was speechless, they understand. Makes sense with XXN like Hinamori Momo who is missing a brainstem. What a waste of time. Then, everyone continued to focus their attention on the light curtain. What will Aizen do in Karakura town? Are we just going to let him go on a rampage of massacre here? Seirei, the chief's room. Plus, Aizen, actually. After Hitsugaya Toshiro saw the scene in the light curtain, he immediately clenched his fists. At this moment, the captains looked at the innocent humans lying in a pool of blood. Many captains felt a little angry, *1. Sui Feng also gritted his teeth and said, "Isn't his purpose to attack Jinglingding? What could I do to harm those innocent humans?" Although in the previous light curtain, Sui Feng said that fighting Aizen was just to survive. Not for saving the world, but 013403415 Filu 144,440,400. She looked at those fragile humans in the light curtain, who were instantly crushed like ants in front of Aizen. I feel somewhat angry and intolerable in my heart. This, BFEA, moment. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni looked at the scene in the light screen, his face was also very ugly. The existence of Shinigami. It is to eliminate the void, protect mankind, and maintain the stability of the three realms. Asterisk. The captain of Soul Society has become the biggest enemy in the three worlds. And it was also played in this light curtain, anyone can see it. Now, the scene also shows Aizen massacring human beings in the world. Under such public attention, what will human audiences think of Soul Society and Seirei's Gode 13? Think of this. Advertisement Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni felt both ashamed and very angry at Aizen's behavior. Hateful. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni hit the ground heavily, tapping his cane. I will never allow this to happen, now, not just the captain. The other captains in the hall also secretly made up their minds at this time. In the future, no matter what method you use, we must stop Aizen from misbehaving in Karakura town. What on earth is this Aizen going to do? Is there no one to stop him? Have the Shinigami been completely wiped out? Think of this. Everyone continues to cast their gaze on the light curtain in the sky. They can't wait to see what happens next, at this moment. Ever since the light curtain was broadcast, humans in this world have been paying attention to the video played in the sky. At first, they were also very curious about the battle in the light curtain. For them, not many people know about Shinigami. So much so that, at first, many humans thought that the light curtain in the sky was some new type of projection technology. And what those play? It's also a new TV series or a short video made by someone. Until the emergence of the present world, the emergence of Karakura town. And the clues in the video are exactly the same as in reality. Many people were surprised to find that what was played in the video was reality. Especially the classmates of Kurosaki Ichigo, after they saw the sight of Aizen appearing in Karakura town. Everyone is numb. In fact, many residents in Karakura town began to panic. At this moment, whether it's the Shinigami of Seirei or the humans of Karakura town. At this time, everyone focused their attention on the light curtain in the sky. I eagerly want to know what will happen next, in the light curtain. The video continues to play. I saw only Aizen and Ichimaru Jin walking across the street. Finally, we arrived outside a residential house. Oh yeah. Ichimaru Jin narrowed his eyes and spoke. There are still children awake over there. Aizen glanced forward and said calmly, remember seeing them through Ulquiorra's eyes. Those people, but Kurosaki Ichigo's comrade. When Aizen said this, in the light curtain, the scene changed. Two high school girls appeared in the video. One of them was carrying another girl who was already asleep on his back and rushing somewhere else. Plus, DB, #BE, Arisawa Tatsuki, after seeing this scene. Kurosaki Ichigo is no longer calm. 121. Kurosaki Ichigo's new power. 121. Kurosaki Ichigo's new power now, in the home of Kurosaki Ichigo. Plus, Kurosaki Ichigo suddenly lost his composure when he saw the two figures appearing in the light screen. That's Arisawa Tatsuki. Kurosaki Ichigo recognized it quickly. Arisawa Tatsuki is his classmate and he grew up with him. It can be said that they are childhood sweethearts. 0%. How could it be them, at this moment? Kurosaki Ichigo looked at the light curtain in the sky. Found except Arisawa Tatsuki. Another classmate of mine, Keigo Asano, also appeared in the picture. See here. Kurosaki Ichigo suddenly felt a bad premonition in his heart. From the previous video, Kurosaki Ichigo is very clear. Aizen and Ichimaru Jin are two people. It seems that Ryotsu was used directly to detect the location of Arisawa Tatsuki. Judging from Aizen's action trajectory, he went there just for his classmates. Think of this, Kurosaki Ichigo is even more worried. This guy Aizen. What is the purpose? Karakura town is such a big place, why does he have to go find his classmates? XD. Asano-kun. At this time, on the side, Inoue Orihime, Sato, Uryu and others also looked at the picture in the light curtain in surprise. It's hateful, why would this Aizen go to them? They won't be in danger. Inoue Orihime's little face was full of worry. Let's take a look first and then talk. Ishida Uryu is relatively calm. After all, the video in this light curtain happened on the bed. Yes. Kurosaki Ichigo also nodded, his face showing seriousness. As long as we understand why Aizen went to find them, we can better protect them. Speaking of which, Kurosaki Ichigo clenched his fists. TVEST. No matter what your purpose is, in the future, I will never allow you to hurt my companions or everyone in Karakura town. Speaking of which, advertisement everyone stopped talking. They all locked their eyes tightly on the light curtain in the sky. They want to know, what is Aizen's purpose in finding his classmates? At the same time, I want to know more about how things will develop. At this moment, in Karakura town, Kurosaki Ichigo's classmates saw behind the light curtain. They were all very surprised, especially Arisawa Tatsuki and Asano Goki. At first, like everyone else, they thought the light curtain in the sky was the latest projection technology. Including the video that has been playing, they also thought it was some new movie. B. When they saw Kurosaki Ichigo, Inoue Orihime in the light curtain. They were all stunned. The first reaction is, these two classmates are going to make a movie? TIJ, as the video played, they discovered that many of the videos played in the light curtain were exactly the same as what happened in reality. For example, that Rukia Kuchiki, such as the explosions that often occur in reality, it turns out that it is Kurosaki Ichigo fighting monsters, etc. Later, they had to accept it. In the light curtain, what is played in reality is what happened in reality. At this time, they saw themselves in the light curtain. This shocked them all. Looking at the video, all the humans who were close to Aizen fell down in pieces. They have gone from frightened to terrified. No way. Am I going to be killed by this terrifying monster in the future? Arisawa Tatsuki looked in disbelief. Think of this. She continued to cast her gaze toward the light curtain in the sky. Can't wait to know what happens next, at this moment. In the light curtain, the video continues to play. Only seen in the screen. After Arisawa Tatsuki and Asano Wuki met, they both decided to move the two classmates who had fainted to a safe place first. Then, the two of them each carried a classmate on their backs and walked towards the school. At this time, buzz, sudden, a powerful wave of Ryotsu is coming. The two of them didn't know that this was Ryotsu, but they suddenly felt that the air around them suddenly became as heavy as a mountain. Advertisement people who are under direct pressure can't breathe. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Even the blood in the body seems to be solidified. What's this? Asano Wuki was startled and barely squeezed out a few words from his throat. Arisawa. Are you okay? When he turned around, he found Arisawa Tatsuki half kneeling on the ground, breathing heavily. Don't worry, Arisawa Tatsuki gasped. At this time, the two suddenly discovered that at the end of the alley, two figures in strange clothes appeared. There were two strange men, both dressed in white, because the one with the head was holding a knife. Not someone else, it was Ichimaru Jin and Aizen. Addy, who is it? Arisawa Tatsuki felt like he was suffocating under the heavy weight of Ryotsu, and his body was covered in sweat. Very impressive. At this time, Aizen walked over to the two of them and said calmly. Even if I am so close, you still have a way to maintain your consciousness. Hear this. Arisawa Tatsuki reluctantly raised his head, looked at Aizen in front of him, and asked. Who are you? Aizen didn't answer. He just slowly raised the Zanpakuto in his hand and said with an indifferent expression. Kurosaki Ichigo will definitely appear here. By then, he should have new strength. Speaking of which, Aizen pointed the blade directly at Arisawa Tatsuki in front of him. I hope his power can be more perfect. Your death will surely help. What? What? Arisawa Tatsuki was stunned for a moment. He looked at Aizen in front of him with a horrified expression. At this time, Aizen has raised the blade and is about to chop it off. How to do? My body can't move. What do I do? Just when Arisawa Tatsuki looked desperate, sudden. As soon as a black figure flashed out. 122. 5 special battle powers. The evil spirits retreated from Guanyin Temple. 122. 5 special battle powers. The evil spirits retreated from Guanyin Temple. In the light curtain, just when Aizen was about to slash at Arisawa Tatsuki. Sudden. A black figure appeared beside him. After seeing this scene, Aizen, Ichimaru Jin, and Arisawa Tatsuki were all shocked. Even the audience outside the light curtain were all shocked. Could it be Kurosaki Ichigo? Is he really here to save the factory? Just when everyone was shocked, the lens in the picture starts to slowly zoom up. Only then can everyone see it clearly. The person who came is not Kurosaki Ichigo at all, but a man dressed very strangely. I saw this man wearing black clothes, a red cloak behind him, black sunglasses on his face, and a black mustache at the corner of his mouth. It looks very weird. Spirit Cannonball. Just when everyone was curious about this man who looked and dressed very strangely, I saw this man suddenly raise his hand and let out a strange scream. Without saying anything, he threw something towards Aizen in front of him. 853, boom. Suddenly there was an explosion around Aizen. Worry? Almost everyone inside and outside the light curtain was stunned when they saw this scene. What is the origin of this person? Say nothing. Go straight to Aizen? Whose subordinate is this? At this time, the man in the light curtain had a slight smile on his lips. Then he said with a proud look on his face, "You look troubled. Gi, at times like this, all you need to do is call hero." Speaking of which, this mysterious man suddenly changed his style. Started singing and dancing. Dear viewers, I've kept you waiting for so long. Your Tang Guanyin Temple, my Tang Guanyin Temple. Everyone's Tang Guanyin Temple is back. He finally comes back, one after another. After seeing this guy named Tang Guanyin Temple, I jumped up and down. Several people present were numb. Arisawa Tatsuki. Ichimaru Jin Aizen. Outside the light curtain, the audience saw this scene. They are all numb, but not full yet. Tang Guanyin Temple? Who is this Nima? Where did this person come from? Is he some kind of hidden master? Wotong, this doesn't even look like it. How can there be any hidden virtue of a master, singing, dancing, and even rapping? A trainee who has been practicing for 2.5 years. Advertisement peeved, ha 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 ha. Are you sure this isn't purely funny? However, just when everyone was very surprised, on the light screen in the sky, a line of large golden characters suddenly appeared. Hidden Meme Encyclopedia triggered. I go, Hidden Meme Encyclopedia? Wotong. This guy named Tang Guanyin Temple, is it really a hidden master? At this time, the line of golden characters in the light curtain dispersed. At the same time, another line of subtitles appeared. Hidden Smile Encyclopedia 1, 5 Special Battle Powers. The evil spirits retreated from Guanyin Temple. 5 major special forces. The evil spirits retreated from Guanyin Temple? What the hell is this? At this moment, the subtitles on the light screen immediately caused an uproar. Between barrages. Wotong, it's actually an encyclopedia of hidden memes. This is the first time it appears. Omaeda. Yes, I didn't expect that there would be a hidden master in Karakura town. It's really surprising. Yumachika Ryurikawa. Don Kananji Temple. I have never heard of this name. Katetsu Izan. It's terrible. There are so many people you haven't heard of, and they are in this world, so it's normal that they haven't heard of them. Yamada Hanataro. But, he looks a bit unreliable. Look at the way he dances. He looks like Song-kun. No matter how you look at it, he doesn't look like a hidden master. Aburai Renji. Maybe there are some experts who look different from ordinary people. Hisagi Shuhei. Yes. Did you see the description in the subtitles? The power of the 5 special records, Aiznaneo? By the way, what do the 5 special forces mean? Kuna Mashiro. It should mean very powerful. I'm not particularly sure. Hiriko Shinji. Could it be that this strange uncle in the light curtain is really some kind of hidden master? Shimi Chekwangshi? At this moment, almost everyone was caught in the light curtain. Attracted by this guy who suddenly appeared, although no one has heard of what these 5 special battle powers mean. But, take it literally, he must be a relatively powerful person. After all, the 5 special forces are powerful. Explanation. There are 5 combat powers, which require special marking and attention. Think of this. Open black lens bracket 0134034415 Filu 144450040 close black lens bracket. Everyone was even more confused. Who marked these 5 special forces? Is this the person who made this light curtain? Or someone else? None of these are particularly important. The most important is, this guy named Tang Guanyin Temple. Who is he? Didn't he feel Aizen's powerful Ryatsu? *7*1k. Without saying anything, he came up and attacked Aizen. Courage is truly courageous. Did he do it on purpose or accidentally? This guy named Tang Guanyin, has he reached the point where he ignores Aizen? Thinking of this, people are getting more and more curious. At this moment, the audience's eyes were firmly locked on the light curtain. Advertisement, peeved. God is so expert. In this world, when Kurosaki Ichigo saw this guy Don Kananji. People are numb too. Worry? I thought someone came to the rescue? It turns out it's him. At this moment, Uryu, Sato, and Orihime on the side saw the light curtain. Everyone was stunned on the spot. Good guy. Why did this guy suddenly appear? Previously, Kurosaki Ichigo and others were fighting hollow. I have dealt with this Tang Guanyin Temple. This guy's so-called psychic idol seems to be the host of some kind of ghost detection show. Anyway, it's just so outrageous. Although Tang Kananji seems to have some power, he has also helped Kurosaki Ichigo and others. B. Call him a master, that's too outrageous. And, what about the subtitles in the light curtain? Hidden plot. 5 major special forces? After seeing these subtitles, Kurosaki Ichigo and others were also stunned. It's also messy. This guy Tang Guanyin Temple. Could it really be so powerful? Think of this. Kurosaki Ichigo couldn't help but ask. Ura. You're a horror store manager. Is this Tang Guanyin Temple really strong? Hear this. Urahara Kazuki said with a serious look. I don't know the strength. Just speaking from the ability to be funny. It's still pretty strong, POF 0.4, hear this. Kurosaki Ichigo and the others couldn't help but squirt. Good guy. There is no one who speaks normally in this world. Now, everyone once again focused their attention on the light curtain in the sky. What capabilities does this Tang Guanyin temple have? Why are they called the 5 special combat powers? What's the point of the evil spirits retreating, me? This guy, without saying a word, he just hit Aizen in the face with a cannonball. This is too brave. Can Aizen endure this? Think of this. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the light curtain in the sky. Looking forward to how things develop next, in the light curtain. The video continues to play. 123. Heroes never run away. 123. A hero never runs away. At this moment, almost everyone was staring at the light curtain in the sky. After all, Aizen's strength is obvious to everyone. Not only did one man challenge the captains, but he also instantly killed the boundary-breaking scavenger Jutsu with one move. It can be said, the strength has reached a terrifying level. Shido. What is the origin of the Tang Guanyin temple that appears in the light curtain? Facing such a powerful Aizen, he didn't say a word and just turned into a cannonball. Aizen's face turned upside down. Good guy, I have to say it, so brave. Can this mysterious Tang Guanyin temple defeat Aizen? Can you save the innocent humans in Karakura town? See here. Everyone is very curious about the next plot. In the light curtain, the video continues to play. Boom. I saw a spirit shell from Tang Guanyin temple directly hit Aizen. Everyone present was stunned, defeated. Tang Guanyin looked at Aizen who was standing motionless and said, "Beat?" Ichimaru Jin on the side couldn't help but twitched his lips. This level of damage probably wouldn't even hurt a single hair on Aizen's head. This guy, it's really meant to be funny at this time. The smoke around Aizen began to clear. "BB, who are you?" Aizen looked at the Tang Guanyin temple in front of him expressionlessly. As Ichimaru Jin said, Aizen is not missing a hair. At this time, Aizen was also very surprised. This guy. How did it come about? How could he not change his expression under such a powerful Ryotsu? Moreover, you actually dared to attack yourself directly? Think of this. Aizen suddenly became a little interested in the guy in front of him. Well, unexpectedly, unscathed, at this time? Tang Guanyin was a little surprised when he saw Aizen's appearance. But, when he heard Aizen ask who he was, but I was even more surprised. This guy has never heard of my name, Tang Guanyin Temple? Simply unforgivable. Think of this. Advertisement. Tang Guanyin Temple immediately said in an exaggerated manner. You actually don't know who I am. What an ignorant boy. Don't you ever watch TV? TV? Hear this. Ichimaru Jin and Aizen both looked confused and speechless. Alright. Tang Guanyin Temple looked at the two men with confused faces and immediately danced. Then let me introduce it to you two ignorant boys. I am exactly however, just when he was about to introduce himself. Arisawa Tatsuki on the side suddenly interrupted him. Hello. Arisawa Tatsuki shouted. Tang Guanyin Temple, what are you doing here? Hear this. Tang Guanyin Temple went crazy on the spot. No, impolite girl. I was just preparing to introduce myself, how could you interrupt? Are you an evil spirit? Seeing the exaggerated Tang Guanyin in front of him, Arisawa Tatsuki was also speechless. This guy, are you sure he's not here to liven things up? Then Long Gui said, there's nothing you can do to help here. You'd better leave quickly, at this time, when Tang Guanyin Temple wanted to say something else. Sudden, he felt the thick Ryotsu in the air, which seemed to be suffocating him. Aha! Tang Guanyin instantly realized the power of Aizen in front of him. He turned his head and looked at Aizen in horror. It seems. You've almost reached a point where you can no longer bear my Ryotsu. Aizen smiled slightly. Wrong. Maybe I'm a little surprised that you can hold on until now. At this time, looking at Aizen who felt extremely oppressive in front of him. Tang Guanyin Temple finally realized the seriousness of the problem. Hello. Run away quickly. There was Zilongui yelling at the side. You alone can't do anything to them, hear this. Tang Guanyin Temple did not look back, only saw him speaking lightly. TTIK. Are you talking to me, the hero? Ignorant girl? Let me tell you, advertisement said. Tang Guanyin Temple took out a weapon similar to a cane from somewhere and placed it across his chest. Then he faced Aizen and said seriously, hero who escaped from the battle. The kids won't call him hero, speaking of which. Tang Guanyin Temple's momentum suddenly changed. I saw him holding the strange cane in his hand and rushing towards Aizen. Guanyin Temple saw this scene. Sometimes Long Gui immediately shouted to stop him. At this moment, Aizen looked at the funny guy rushing towards him and smiled. Stop it. You're just a human, if you touch me, you will be wiped out. Hear this. Tang Guanyin Temple was slightly stunned. He is not stupid, of course he can feel the powerful aura emanating from Aizen. Since ancient times, there has been no turning back arrow. At this point, I can only force myself to continue. Maybe if you use your own trick, you can give it a try. Stop talking. Tang Guanyin Temple roared. Oedo can be regarded as emboldening himself. Then, he no longer hesitates. He waved the cane in his hand and rushed towards Aizen. Outside the light curtain, everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. This guy named Tang Guanyinji is really brave, just hold the weapon and charge towards Aizen. Is that thing in this guy's hand really a weapon? Why is the shape so unique? The top of the cane is actually 2 wings. It doesn't look offensive. Speaking of which, can this thing really hurt Aizen? Are you sure his cane is not the kind of plastic toy that the little devil fairy bought at a roadside stall for 10 yuan? At this time, everyone sees this. It's a bit dumbfounding. All in all, it's very confusing. No matter from the behavior or the way he talks, this Tang Guanyin Temple is a real funny guy. To everyone's surprise, this guy can still move freely under Aizen's powerful Ryatsu? Dancing so happily, what kind of hidden master? No wonder the title calls him one of the 5 special powers. Think of this, everyone looked at the light curtain again. This guy, does he really have any hidden tricks? 124. This is the most powerful secret that was promised? 124. This is the most powerful secret that was promised? Right under the spotlight, only visible in the light curtain. Tang Guanyin Temple held a strange weapon in his hand. Hit it straight like Aizen. At this time, whether inside or outside the light curtain, almost everyone watched this scene with wide eyes. After all, Aizen just said that if this guy Tang Guanyinji touches him, it will definitely be wiped out. However, everyone saw that after hearing this, Guanyin Temple still chose to continue the attack without changing their expressions. Everyone began to be curious and looking forward to what would happen next. Many people think that this guy, there should be 2 brushes. However, at this time, Tang Guanyin Temple in the light curtain is only 1 step away from Aizen. Stopped suddenly. What are you doing? After seeing this scene, the audience was stunned. In the light curtain, Tang Guanyin Temple suddenly smiled crookedly. Cunning boy. He looked at the expressionless Aizen in front of him and said, "Do you think I'll fall for your trick?" As Tang Guanyin Temple spoke, he immediately jumped to the side. Subsequently, some strange spells began to come out of his mouth. Let the evil spirits disperse. Mysterious meaning. Mysterious meaning? Outside the light curtain? Everyone was a little surprised when they saw this scene. This Tang Guanyin Temple is indeed no ordinary person. What secrets does he know? Look at Tang Kananji Temple where Ryatsu begin to gather around you in the light curtain. Many people are a little surprised, is he? Although he looks like a funny guy. Unexpectedly, it seems that he is really a master of hiding. Between barrages. What did he say? Mystery, Omaeda. Woka. Is the secret he said the strongest move of Zanpakuto? Abarai Renji? I'm not sure. In short, any move with the word, mysterious meaning, is very powerful. Yumachika Ryalekawa. Peeved. I just saw him take a few steps back and I thought he was going to start running away. Katetsu Izan. Yeah, I didn't expect this guy to be quite smart. Aizen said that if you touch him, you will be destroyed, but this guy just chooses not to touch him. Yamada Hanataro. Ha 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 ha. I have to say that this guy is a bit smart. 11 Aizen Naneo. Speaking of which, I'm really curious as to what this guy's secret is. Kira Izuru. Yes. Looking at him like this, he should be very powerful, but I don't know if he can beat Aizen. Rokukuruken, she. Defeat Aizen? You are thinking too much, Hiriko Shinji? The behavior of Tang Guanyin Temple in the picture caused a lot of discussion. After all, a move that carries the word, esoteric, in everyone's heart. These are definitely not ordinary moves. Ordinary moves cannot be called esoteric. Think of this, everyone's expectations were immediately raised. They all want to see the secret of Tang Guanyin Temple. What exactly is it? At this moment, in the light curtain, Tang Guanyin Temple's momentum suddenly began to increase greatly. I saw his palms facing each other, and a spiritual light ball began to form between his hands. Advertisement: the spirit child light ball continues to grow in size. In the blink of an eye, it has exceeded the size of the palm of your hand. Saw this scene. Beside you, Long Gui's eyes were full of surprise. Even Shimaru Jin on the side frowned. Seeing this, Aizen also became interested. He was also very curious about what moves the guy in front of him would use. At this time, just listen to Tang Guanyin Temple roar. Mysterious meaning. Tang Guanyin Temple play. Moment. The small glowing ball in Tang Guanyinji's hand flew from his palm to Aizen. It's just this speed. A little slow. 1 second later. Equals. A full 10 seconds later, the small ball of light slowly flew through the air, and then hit Aizen's upper body. However, the next second, contrary to everyone's expectations. When the light ball hit Aizen, there was no explosion. It doesn't have any great power. This so-called light ball of the most powerful secret suddenly burst and disappeared like a bubble. It looks like a pebble sinking into the vast sea. There was no feeling of any waves. Saw this scene. Several people present were stunned. Aizen, Ichimaru Jin. If there is one, the dragon will be noble. That's it? Outside the light curtain, when everyone saw this scene, they were all silent for a few seconds and were stunned at the same time. 29. That's it? This is the secret? Worry? This thing is really meant to be funny. After seeing this scene, many people feel that they have been fooled. Between barrages. Worry? That's it? That's it? Omaeda, peeved. Where's the secret that was promised? Abarai Renji. Nah. Who was it just now that said that the secret technique is the strongest move? Yumachika Ryurikawa. Ha 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 ha. I'm laughing so hard, Aizen Naneo. Haha, is this guy really here to make fun of you? Did you hear that voice just now, Yamada Hanataro? I really don't know what to say. If you have a dragon, you will be more valuable. What are the 5 special forces agreed upon? That's it, love Ikawa. Now, in the home of Kurosaki Ichigo, sure enough, this guy is still as unreliable as ever. Kurosaki Ichigo also had a dark look on his face after seeing this. At this time, he was covering his face and couldn't laugh or cry. Damn it. What kind of expectations do I have for this guy? Peeved, ha 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 ha. This guy is still as unreliable as ever. Advertisement Ishida Uryu on the side couldn't help but laugh. Hey, Ichigo, I heard that you were his apprentice? Ha 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 ha, Ishida Uryu continued to laugh. This Tankanonji once helped Kurosaki Ichigo when Kurosaki Ichigo destroyed the Hollow. After that, this guy Dankanonji unilaterally announced that Kurosaki Ichigo will be his apprentice from now on. At this time, Kurosaki Ichigo looked at the light curtain. I was very speechless. This guy is still unreliable. What hidden masters, 5 special records of combat power. Who came up with the title of this light curtain? Uncles, I almost fooled everyone, think of this. Kurosaki Ichigo looked at Noriyuki and the other 2 classmates in the light curtain. Asterisk asterisk. They're in doom. Think of this. Kurosaki Ichigo frowned. Since this happens in the future, you must prevent this from happening. Then, Kurosaki Ichigo continued to turn his gaze to the light curtain in the sky. What will Aizen do next? At this moment, almost everyone was amused by this guy Tang Guanyin Temple. The tone was so high at the beginning, everyone thought he was really some kind of hidden master. Take the pure and funny one. At this time, the audience continued to fix their eyes on the light curtain. Aizen next, the good king, is probably going to go on a killing spree. In the light curtain, Aizen looked at the small ball of light that disappeared in front of him. He was also stunned for a few seconds. That's it? After a while of silence, Aizen said calmly, boring. Subsequently, he planned to waste no more time and slowly raised the Zanpakuto in his hand, preparing to finish off the people in front of him. However, at this time, suddenly, another figure flashed out. Black robe and orange hair, holding a handful of Zanpakuto. Kurosaki Ichigo? After everyone saw this, they were all shocked. However, when the camera zoomed out, everyone could clearly see the full face of the person who appeared. Black robe and blonde hair, with 2 snow-white peaks standing plump and straight on her chest. No one else, it's none other than the vice-captain of the 10th Division, Matsumoto Rangaku. Call. Matsumoto Rangaku took a long breath, and his breasts rose and fell. Finally caught up, Aizen, IR, Matsumoto Rangaku? The light curtain is clamped inside and outside, almost everyone was stunned. What is she doing here? 125, Silver, why are you like this? 125, Silver, why are you like this, Matsumoto Rangaku? At this time, no matter inside or outside the light curtain, everyone was stunned when they saw the figure that appeared. Matsumoto Rangaku. Why did he suddenly appear? What is she doing here? Jing Lingting, the captain's room. At this time. Hitsugaya Toshiro was also stunned after seeing the light curtain. This guy, at this time, what are you doing suddenly? Hitsugaya Toshiro couldn't help but frown. He knew at that time that there was a special relationship between Matsumoto Rangaku and Ichimaru Jin. So, after Ichimaru Jin defected from Soul Society. Although Hitsugaya Toshiro is very disgusted with this Ichimaru Jin. But, in front of Matsumoto Rangaku, Hitsugaya Toshiro never showed it to her face. After all, Hitsugaya Toshiro knew better, Ichimaru Jin's defection from Soul Society. Judging from the surprise shown by Matsumoto Rangaku, she must be unaware. It can even be said that Matsumoto Rangaku cannot understand what Ichimaru Jin does. So, when Hitsugaya Toshiro saw a screen of light, Matsumoto Rangaku appeared in front of Ichimaru Jin. He just knew, Matsumoto, this guy, must ask Ichimaru Jin to tell him face to face why he defected from Soul Society. Duh. Aizen is so powerful now, if you go to Ichimaru Jin at this time, won't he die in vain? Thought here 067. Hitsugaya Toshiro frowned even more. Ichimaru Jin, this guy. Although he is sinister and vicious, he probably won't take action against Matsumoto Rangaku. Hitsugaya Toshiro murmured. Think of this, he was also curious. What is the purpose of Ichimaru Jin's defection from Soul Society? What's next for Matsumoto Rangaku? How will her appearance make Ichimaru Jin choose? With these questions, Hitsugaya Toshiro turned his gaze into the light curtain again. At this moment, the appearance of Matsumoto Rangaku surprised many people. Including Matsumoto Rangaku himself. She looked at herself in the light curtain, and she never thought that she would go find Ichimaru Jin at that time. If you think about it carefully, it makes sense. Because she still doesn't understand why Ichimaru Jin follows this guy Aizen. Of course, Matsumoto Rangaku knew it very well. Ichimaru Jin is definitely not the sinister guy that other people say. She believed that Yin must have some hidden secret that she didn't know about. Think of this. Matsumoto Rangaku fixed his gaze tightly on the light curtain in the sky. Advertisement, why are you like this? At this moment. The other viewers, BFEI, looked at Matsumoto Rangaku, who suddenly appeared in the light curtain. I am surprised but also curious at the same time. Not many people know about her relationship with Ichimaru Jin. That's why they were very surprised. If a vice captain appears in front of Aizen at this time, isn't he going to die? Even Kutu was defeated by this guy Aizen in one move. Shimatsumoto Rangaku is a vice captain level, let alone one. See here. The audience was curious and nervous, they all locked their eyes tightly on the light curtain. I would like to know the subsequent development, in the light curtain. The video continues to play. Call, finally caught up. Aizen, Matsumoto Rangaku breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, Aizen and Ichimaru Jin looked at Matsumoto Rangaku in front of them with surprised expressions on their faces. At this time, Tang Guanyin Temple on the side suddenly spoke. Which girl were you? Danger. Tang Guanyin Temple danced again and said. This is not the place for a girl. Ordinary people, get out of here quickly. Hear this. Matsumoto Rangaku didn't look back, she just said lightly to the two people behind her. Run away. Hear this. Tang Guanyin Temple and Yu Longui were both stunned. 1 plus. Plus, what are you talking about, girl? Tang Guanyin Temple asked in surprise, because he heard a very solemn tone from the tone of the beautiful woman in front of him. I mean, I will block those two people, FFLY. You guys run away quickly, Matsumoto Rangaku spoke again. Under Aizen's big Ryatsu, sweat began to break out on Matsumoto Rangaku's face at this time. What else does Tang Guanyin Temple want to say? However, at this time, Matsumoto Rangaku punched him directly, sending him flying several meters away. Stop being so nagging, run away, don't you understand? Well, this punch directly stunned Tang Guanyin Temple. This girl is so powerful, he stared blankly at Matsumoto Rangaku in front of him. Say it. Guanyin Temple of the Tang Dynasty no longer hesitated and immediately pulled Yu's long giwing on the ground and ran away. Got it. Got it, advertisement, run now. I'll leave this to you, girl. Oh no, girl. Watching several people flee quickly, Matsumoto Rangaku nodded, and then she turned her head and looked at Ichimaru Jin and Aizen in front of her with a serious face. At this time, she held Zanpakuto tightly in her right hand. Always be ready for fight, however, at this time. Tang Guanyin Temple, which had already escaped, ran back in a puff of smoke. Correct. Girl. Tang Guanyin Ji ran over, approached Matsumoto Rangaku, and snapped his fingers. If you are in danger, remember to call hero at any time. Remember the name. Speaking of which, Tang Guanyinzi crossed his hands in front of his chest and made a special sand sculpture movement. Roll. Matsumoto Rangaku couldn't bear it anymore and punched Don Guanyinji's face that didn't deserve a punch. Boom. Tang Guanyin Temple was bombed again. Aizen. Ichimaru Jin. If there is one, the dragon will be noble. See here. Aizen and Ichimaru Jin on the side were all speechless. Outside the light curtain, everyone was speechless when they saw this scene. This guy Tang Guanyin Temple, it's so verbose. It's time to be funny. At this time, looking at Don Kanonji who was blown away by Matsumoto Rangaku's punch, many people clapped their hands and applauded. Well played. This guy just deserves a beating. He is obviously a rookie, but he also likes to act big. See here. Everyone was very relieved. What will Matsumoto Rangaku do next? With her strength, let alone defeat Aizen, even that Ichimaru Jin, she couldn't defeat. At this time, in the light curtain, Ichimaru Jin's voice suddenly came. Well, Captain Aizen, Ichimaru Jin narrowed his eyes and spoke. I'm really sorry, this is an old acquaintance of mine. Can you take her aside to talk? Hear this? All the audience were stunned. Wotong? Old acquaintance? What happened? 126. Ichimaru Jin's motivation. 126. Ichimaru Jin's motivation. I'm really sorry, this is an old acquaintance of mine. Can you take her aside to talk, outside the light curtain? Ichimaru Jin's words instantly caused a sensation. Wotong? Old acquaintance? What situation is this? Could it be? Ichimaru Jin, what kind of special relationship does he have with Matsumoto? See this scene. The Shinigami of Seirei immediately smelled it, a hint of melon. Not many people in Seirei know about the relationship between Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku. Except for Hitsugaya Toshiro, Aizen and a few captains. There are also several women who have a good relationship with Matsumoto Rangaku, except Shinigami. Other people. I don't know anything about them. FFFLX. When they saw this scene in the light curtain, they were more or less confused. After all, Ichimaru Jin has always given people a cold look. But now, everyone suddenly sees that he has a close relationship with Matsumoto Rangaku? This surprised many people. For a while, there was also a lot of discussion in the barrage room. What? They are actually related. Omaeda. It's fake. That guy Ichimaru Jin doesn't look like a person with feelings. Abarai Renji? That's not true. Captain Ichimaru is not as extreme as you think. When he was in the 9th team, he was still very close to the team members. Although he didn't say it with his mouth, we all knew it in our hearts. Kira Izuru. Haha. There's something to eat again. What's the point of just watching fights? I like to watch this kind of emotional entanglement. Kunamashiro? Kunamashiro, you idiot. Aren't you worried that Aizen will destroy Soul Society? Muguruma Kensei? Speaking of which, the current situation is interesting. If this Matsumoto is really Ichimaru Jin's lover, Then what will he do next? Yamada Hanataro. Alas. Ms. Rangaku is still too impulsive, Katetsu Izan. Do you think this guy Ichimaru Jin will be here, be persuaded by Matsumoto Rangaku, and then switch sides to Aizen, Yumachika Rikawa? Let's take a look first and then talk. We can't say anything at the moment, Hisagi Shuhei. At this moment, everyone was chatting while paying attention to the movements in the light curtain. In the video, the sudden outpouring of emotion surprised everyone for a moment. Almost everyone never thought that this Matsumoto Rangaku would be related to Ichimaru Jin. After clarifying this point, the audience suddenly realized it at this time. No wonder, this guy Matsumoto Rangaku suddenly appeared here. Original. Many people thought that Matsumoto Rangaku's appearance here might be by chance or for some other reason. Or maybe he happened to see Aizen trying to harm Tangguaninji and others. So as a Shinigami, she came to protect. I didn't expect that none of this was an accident. Rather, Matsumoto Rangaku came to find this guy Ichimaru Jin. Think of this. Everyone began to look forward to it. Why did Matsumoto Rangaku come to Ichimaru Jin at this time? What will she do next? Certainly, the most important thing is, it's this guy Ichimaru Jin. Although, advertisement the title in the light curtain is Undercover Ichimaru Jin for 100 years. However, judging from his previous video performance, he doesn't look like an undercover agent at all. If he is really undercover, when Aizen killed the captain, he was indifferent. Moreover, Kurosaki Ichigo almost fell into his trap. Ichimaru Jin, will he be convinced by Matsumoto Rangaku here? Will he be here, like Aizen, switching sides for the sake of love? Think of this, everyone is looking forward to it. At this moment, everyone focused their eyes on the light curtain, looking forward to what would happen next. In the light curtain, the video continues to play. Caught up. At this time, Aizen looked at Matsumoto Rangaku in front of him and said calmly. What you mean by, caught up, is that you just succeeded in letting those people escape. Are you trying to stop me from destroying Karakura Town and creating the Kinki? Hear these words from Aizen. Matsumoto Rangaku has remained silent. Seeing that the other party remained silent, Aizen began to become a little impatient. What's wrong? Do you dislike talking to me so much? When Aizen said this, in his eyes, murderous intent was evident. Well, Captain Aizen, at this time, Ichimaru Jin on the side suddenly spoke. I'm so sorry, this is an old acquaintance of mine. Can I take her aside to chat for a while? Oh, when Aizen heard this, he was silent for 2 seconds and then looked back at Ichimaru Jin. Then, he smiled slightly and said, Go ahead, Silver. There is still time, you can talk slowly here. Ichimaru Jin smiled after hearing this, if we talk here. It should affect you. No such thing. Aizen smiled back. Hear this. Ichimaru Jin slowly opened his eyes and looked at Matsumoto Rangaku in front of him. Sudden. Wow. Ichimaru Jin A Shunpo directly took Matsumoto Rangaku away. It's nerve-wracking. Aizen looked at the two disappearing people with an unnatural look on his face. You know, what Ichimaru Jin did just now can be regarded as disobeying his own orders. Please give me flowers it's always been so fun. It was taken. At this moment, outside the light curtain, everyone felt a little surprised after seeing Ichimaru Jin's actions. Advertisement really. The relationship between Matsumoto Rangaku and Ichimaru Jin is really not simple. Me. At this time, everyone also saw the subtle changes in Aizen's expression through the light curtain. Aizen's meaning just now was very clear, Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku can talk. Talk where you are. Aizen didn't seem to think that Ichimaru Jin would disobey his orders. Just take Matsumoto Rangaku away, unbelievable. At this moment, the audience seems to have begun to notice the subtle relationship between Ichimaru Jin and Aizen. In other words, this guy Ichimaru Jin, in fact, you are not just following Aizen's advice. Could it be that Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent? But why did he do that? What's the purpose, at this moment? Everyone realizes, next, the conversation between Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku will be very important. Think of this. Everyone couldn't wait to focus their eyes on the light curtain in the sky. In the light curtain, video continues. Ichimaru Jin A Shunpo brought Matsumoto Rangaku to a rooftop. Let me go. Matsumoto Rangaku was held by Ichimaru Jin like this and struggled a few times symbolically. Well, Ichimaru Jin put Matsumoto Rangaku down and said with a smile. You obviously can't stand still. In fact, he knew it very well. Under Aizen's powerful Ryatsu, Matsumoto Rangaku could barely stand. Tell me why you came. Why? Matsumoto Rangaku said softly. Is there any need to say it? Because you were here? Hearing this, Ichimaru Jin was startled, and the smile on his face froze at this moment. Even among those with a heart of stone, when you hear someone you love say such words, your heart will be moved. I can ask you directly. Matsumoto Rangaku looked at Ichimaru Jin and said seriously. Why did you succumb to Aizen? Hear this. Ichimaru Jin looked startled again, at the same time. Outside the light curtain, everyone was also very surprised. This Matsumoto Rangaku speaks really sharply, no nonsense. Let's get straight to the topic. At the same time, Matsumoto Rangaku also asked everyone's questions. Ichimaru Jin, why does he follow Aizen? What is his motive? 0.127. Aizen. Already seen through everything. 127. Aizen. Already seen through everything. Kr. Why did you succumb to Aizen, outside the light curtain? After everyone heard Matsumoto Rangaku's words, their hearts skipped a beat. Good guy. This Matsumoto Rangaku is really unambiguous in his words. There is no beating around the bush, just get straight to the point. At this moment, almost everyone held their breath subconsciously, and their eyes never left the light curtain in the sky. Everyone wants to know the answer. Why on earth is this guy Ichimaru Jin so determined to follow Aizen? In fact, logically speaking, Ichimaru Jin can be considered a genius boy. It only took him 1 year to pass the examination of Junyang Spiritual Arts Academy and successfully graduate. You know, students from Junyang Spiritual Arts Academy generally need to study for 6 years before they can pass the exam. Therefore, Ichimaru Jin can be said to be the genius boy in Shinigami. DJ, why would such a person be willing to be dominated by Aizen? At this point, Chichichi, it's not just the Shinigami of Seirei who can't figure it out. The captains of Gotei 13 don't understand either. Even Aizen himself couldn't figure it out clearly. Although he has already noticed Ichimaru Jin, he may have other purposes. B. He doesn't know what this purpose is, let alone what Ichimaru Jin's motives are. At this moment, outside the light curtain, almost everyone looked expectantly at the video in the light curtain, hoping that this reason would be played in the video next. In the light curtain, the video continues to play. Why succumb to Aizen? At this time, after Ichimaru Jin heard this, his smile gradually faded. But, he remained silent. Saw this scene. Matsumoto Rangaku continued. You would betray Soul Society, betray the subordinate Kira who has always trusted you so much. Kira Izuru? After hearing this name, Zien seemed to be moved. His eyes were fixed on Matsumoto Rangaku in front of him. Naturally, Xiao's intention was in her heart. Actually, Ichimaru Jin understands. Matsumoto Rangaku mentioned Kira Izuru, it was just a cover. The Kira Izuru she is talking about is actually Matsumoto Rangaku herself. After realizing this, Ichimaru Jin said calmly, Kira, did he really say that? That sentence. Ichimaru Jin stared closely at Matsumoto Rangaku in front of him and continued. You believed in him so much but betrayed him. XO. Is it really Kira Izuru's idea? After hearing this, Matsumoto Rangaku looked stunned for a moment, and then tears flashed in his eyes. Advertisement. She slowly walked towards Ichimaru Jin and hugged him tightly without hesitation. As if he had found something important that he had lost, he tightly grasped Ichimaru Jin's sleeves with both hands, hoping that Ichimaru Jin would never leave him again. Ichimaru Jin lowered his head at this time and couldn't see his expression clearly. As Ichimaru Jin's tone also softened at this time. Why did you come outside the light curtain? Everyone saw this scene. It can be concluded that the relationship between Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku is very unusual. This hug from Matsumoto Rangaku. A lot of things have been explained. Between barrages, the relationship between Miss Rangaku and Captain Ichimaru is really Kira Izuru. Yes, I never knew it before, so their relationship is so close. Omaeda. Idiot. Don't embarrass yourself with stealth maneuvers. Besides eating, what else do you know, Sui Feng? By the way, the atmosphere suddenly became warm and cozy, Inoue or Hime. Actually, after seeing this, I can't understand why Ichimaru Jin defected to Soul Society, Abarai Renji. Yes, if you look at it this way, Ichimaru Jin is not a cold-blooded person. Moreover, Matsumoto is also in Seirei. Why would he choose to betray Shaoling Reikawa Yumichika? I'm curious about what will happen next. Could it be that Miss Rangaku's hug made Ichimaru Jin realize his return? Yamada Hanataro? At this time, everyone looked at the light curtain and found it a little difficult to understand. Just like what was said in the barrage, since Ichimaru Jin is in a relationship with Matsumoto Rangaku, then, logically speaking, he should protect Soul Society and protect the safety of Matsumoto Rangaku. Why did he choose to defect from Soul Society? What exactly is his purpose? Think of this. Everyone is getting more and more puzzled. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. Aizen looked at the scene in the light screen and couldn't help but smile. What a heartwarming scene. Hear this. Ichimaru Jin on the side frowned slightly, and then said with a calm tone. Well, I didn't expect this woman to be really troublesome. Really, you still can't get too close to her. Aizen on the side just smiled and said nothing. He has already seen through everything. At this time, he just looked at the light screen quietly, guessing Ichimaru Jin's next move. Actually, he had noticed something wrong with Ichimaru Jin a long time ago. He could almost conclude that Ichimaru Jin must have other purposes. No matter what the purpose is, Aizen believes that this guy is definitely not following him as loyally as he seems on the surface. The reason is very simple, that is, Ichimaru Jin has no reason to do this. His situation is completely different from that of Tusen Kanami, because Tusen Kanami has the absolute reason and motive for revenge. FFLX. Of the two, Aizen has always trusted Tusen more. And the reason why Aizen never pointed out Ichimaru Jin and let him continue to be with him. I just want to see what Ichimaru Jin thinks. Advertisement. What kind of motivation? Is it as I guessed? Could this motive be related to the woman in the light curtain? Aizen is not stupid, judging from how well he knows Ichimaru Jin. In this soul society, in these three worlds, if there is something or person that Ichimaru Jin can care about, then this person can only be the woman in the light curtain, Matsumoto Rangaku. Next, what would you do? Will you protect your old acquaintance, or will you turn against me? Think of this. Aizen also looked at the light screen with curiosity and expectation. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin on the other side had a calm expression on his face, but he was already getting nervous inside. He didn't expect that Matsumoto Rangaku would step in at this time in the future. If this matter is not handled well, without exception, Matsumoto Rangaku will be killed by Aizen himself. However, if at this time, I want to switch sides with Aizen. Not enough time, it's really a bit difficult to handle. Moreover, I don't know what kind of video the light curtain will play next. If you expose your undercover at this time, what will Aizen do? Think of this. Ichimaru Jin felt nervous and worried, and silently tightened his hands on the zanpakuto around his waist. At the same time, he also locked his gaze tightly on the light curtain. Point 1.3. In the light curtain, the video continues to play. In the screen, Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku hugged each other for a few seconds. Ichimaru Jin suddenly took a step back. Nah, Rangaku. Speaking of which, Ichimaru Jin's expression suddenly changed. He raised his head, looked at Matsumoto Rangaku with cold eyes, and then spoke. It's so annoying. Boom. Say it. Ichimaru Jin suddenly struck Matsumoto Rangaku with a palm. The huge force pushed her directly to the ground. Subsequently, Ichimaru Jin took out the zanpakuto in his hand. Step by step, he slowly approached Matsumoto Rangaku, who was lying on the ground. Wotong. At this moment, looking at the sudden change of Ichimaru Jin in the light curtain, as well as the cold light shining on the sword, everyone in the audience was stunned. Wotong, Ichimaru Jin isn't going to kill her, is he? 128. Aizen, I finally touched your knife. 128. Aizen, I finally touched your knife. Wotong. At this moment, everyone saw Ichimaru Jin's expression suddenly changed in the light curtain. Then after the scene of knocking Matsumoto Rangaku to the ground with a palm, everyone was dumbfounded. What the hell? What is going on? This Ichimaru Jin changes his face when he says he will. Was he tender and silent just a second ago? The next second, he just said that he was ruthless and took action. This guy, he even pulled out a knife. What does he want? Could it be, is he going to kill Matsumoto Rangaku? At this moment, the audience was shocked by Ichimaru Jin's sudden move. Between barrages. I'll go. Ichimaru Jin really caught him off guard this time. Omaeda. Yeah, good guy. He falls out when he says he's going to fall out. Katetsu Izan. Who said this scene was sweet just now? Kurosaki Ichigo. Oh my god, he actually pulled out the knife? He won't kill her, right? Inoue Orihime? I really didn't expect it. I originally thought Ichimaru Jin would be persuaded by Miss Rangaku, but I didn't expect this guy to take action directly. Yamada Hanataro. Heartbroken Miss Rangaku for 1 second, she really misjudged the wrong person. 11 Aizen. I can't understand how things have developed to this point. Didn't 15 say that Ichimaru Jin is an undercover agent? Why doesn't he act like an undercover agent at all? 1. Madarei Mikaku. I also don't understand. I didn't expect Captain Ichimaru to be able to kill even Ms. Matsumoto, Kira Izuru. Seirei, Division 10. Matsumoto Rangaku was also surprised when he saw the video in the light screen. He didn't expect Yinli to take action against him. And it doesn't look like it's an easy move. Yin, has he really changed? Wrong. Matsumoto Rangaku soon realized that Ichimaru Jin had not become cold-blooded as the barrage said. She recalled the subtle changes in the expression on Ichimaru Jin's face after she hugged him in the light curtain just now. Matsumoto Rangaku believes that Ichimaru Jin must have some difficulties. Matsumoto Rangaku thought of Aizen in the light curtain. It suddenly dawned on me. I see. Matsumoto Rangaku murmured. It's to keep me out of danger. Yes, if he continues to stay in Karakura Town like this, it will be impossible not to stop Aizen from continuing to massacre the humans in Karakura Town. Matsumoto Rangaku knows it very well. I will never be Aizen's opponent. I'm afraid that time, he will definitely be injured by Aizen, or even killed by Aizen. FFFLX. Ichimaru Jin looked like he wanted to kill himself when he did this. Actually, he is protecting himself after thinking about this. Matsumoto Rangaku was even more moved. Advertisement. She believed even more firmly in her heart that Ichimaru Jin was definitely not following Aizen wholeheartedly. He must have some plans or difficulties of his own. Matsumoto Rangaku looked at the light screen and murmured. But even so, you can't stop Aizen either. What are your plans? Think of this. Matsumoto Rangaku continued to turn his gaze to the light curtain in the sky. Hoeko Mundo, Suya Palace. At this time, Aizen was also a little surprised after looking at Ichimaru Jin's actions in the light screen. He didn't expect Ichimaru Jin to attack Matsumoto Rangaku so decisively. This guy, Aizen thought, it's really interesting. Ichimaru Jin's little trick, of course, did not escape Aizen's eyes. He understood instantly that Ichimaru Jin did this, seemingly because he did not miss his old feelings, but in fact he did it to protect Matsumoto Rangaku. Think of this, Aizen said calmly, you really do it. I said. Ichimaru Jin narrowed his eyes and spoke calmly. Women are more troublesome, yeah. Aizen was noncommittal. Then, he raised his head and looked at the light curtain again. He wanted to see how far Ichimaru Jin could go, at this moment. In the light curtain, the video continues to play. Ichimaru Jin slowly walked behind Matsumoto Rangaku holding Zanpakuto. The screen suddenly went black at this time, then it turned to Aizen. When the audience saw this, they couldn't help but curse. How many times, at critical moments, there is a sudden change. The producer of this video is really wicked, in the screen. After Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku left, face Aizen. Some of them, Longui, Tang Guanyanzi and others, ran away without looking back. Have to say, this guy Tang Guanyan Temple, although the combat effectiveness is not very good. B. This guy runs pretty fast, good guy, where's the promised hero? After seeing Aizen's terror, he ran away and threw Yu's Longui and the others across the street. After seeing this scene, Longui and others were quite speechless. I had no choice but to find a relatively secret alley and hide temporarily. At one point, Longui leaned against the wall and took a deep breath. Finally I escaped that guy for the time being. At this time, advertisement another classmate Longui was carrying also woke up at this time. After she heard this, she looked confused and couldn't figure out what happened. Longui, what are you saying? Who are you running away from? Just when Yu's Longui was about to explain, sudden. That suffocating Ryotsu appears again. Swish Aizen suddenly appeared in front of everyone without any warning. Are you thinking? In your heart? Found? Looking at the frightened people, Aizen said calmly. That's not right, Aizen continued. I just stopped pretending to be looking for you. At this moment, several people looked at Aizen in front of them, with even more fear in their expressions. At this time, Tang Guanyan Temple happened to run past this alley. You are here, he saw Yuzalong 840 and said hello. However, the next second, his eyes glanced at Aizen not far away. It's that guy, sorry, I was just passing by. Wow. Run away, with that said, he ran away again quickly. If there is one, the dragon will be noble, est. 2 seconds later, at one point, Longui also reacted and took his classmates to escape quickly. Kido. They discovered that the guy behind them, Aizen, had no moral ethics. When encountering an obstacle, without saying a word, he directly smashed the building in front of him and chased the escaping GZ leisurely. Just when Aizen was about to catch up with a few people. Sudden, Ichimaru Jin's figure appeared behind Aizen. I'm back. TBK. Came back. Aizen turned around, glanced at Ichimaru Jin and said. Where is that woman? It's already done, Ichimaru Jin said with a smile. Yeah. Aizen nodded. At this time, Ichimaru Jin walked up to Aizen, looked at the stunned humans in front of him, and then slowly spoke. These people. Just let me kill them, said. He gently touched Aizen's Kyoka Suigetsu. I finally touched your knife. 129. Fertile Trough. Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent. 129. Woka, Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent. Came back. At this time, Aizen turned his head and looked at Ichimaru Jin aside. How did that woman deal with it? Well, Ichimaru Jin squinted his eyes and said calmly. I've already killed him. Hear this. There was a flash of surprise in Aizen's heart. Then, he used his Ryotsu to feel it, and it was true that he did not feel Matsumoto Rangaku's aura nearby. Really, her Ryotsu is gone, at this moment. Aizen turned his head, looked at Ichimaru Jin in front of him and said calmly. I was actually surprised. Surprise? Ichimaru said with a smile. Aizen nodded and continued. I want you to him. There is still a little bit of emotion left. Hear this. The smile on Ichimaru Jin's face deepened, as if Aizen was talking to him about something funny. Emotion? Ichimaru Jin spoke. No, I don't have any such thing as feelings. Thebak. Ichimaru Jin said this, slowly raised his head, and then looked at Aizen with a smile. I already said it when we first met. Has a cold body without any emotions. Sliding, searching for prey with its tongue, then. I am one of those creatures who devours anything that looks delicious. You don't remember anymore, Captain Aizen? Speaking of which, Ichimaru Jin walked slowly to Aizen. Aizen didn't speak, but looked at Ichimaru Jin suspiciously. Although he can no longer sense Matsumoto Rangaku's Ryotsu. But, he still can't believe that Ichimaru Jin killed his old friend Matsumoto. At this time, advertisement it turns out that when Yunori Ryuki and others first met Ichimaru Jin, they thought he was saving them. However, after hearing the conversation between Ichimaru Jin and Aizen. But they were all stunned for a moment, good guy. It turns out that these two people are together. Immediately, Longui and others began to panic. She immediately turned her head and shouted to several classmates behind her. You guys, what are you still doing? Now is not the time to watch them talk. Run away. After hearing this, everyone reacted. In an instant, several people ran away in panic, at this moment. Looking at the several humans escaping in front of him, Aizen slowly took a step forward and spoke softly. I'm a little tired of playing hunting games with these little mice. It's time to end this. Speaking of which, Aizen raised the Zanpakuto in his hand again, and his eyes and hands began to flash murderous intent. Captain Aizen, at this time, Ichimaru Jin suddenly spoke. After we kill them, what do we do? Hearing this question, Aizen pondered for 2 seconds and then said in a cold tone. After hanging their heads in the most conspicuous place in my city, we can start creating the king key. Well. Hearing this, Ichimaru Jin seemed to become interested. Sounds good. As Ichimaru Jin spoke, he slowly pressed down the Aizen sword with his left hand. TBK. Ichimaru Jin continued, it's better to let me kill them. Hearing this, Aizen just wanted to say something. Sudden, Ichimaru Jin raised his left arm. In an instant, a sharp sword flashed. Puff. The Zanpakuto in Ichimaru Jin's hand stretched in an instant. Pierce Aizen's chest directly. Wah. What? Aizen looked in disbelief. What? Outside the light curtain. Advertisement. Everyone was extremely surprised when they saw this scene. No one expected it. This guy Ichimaru Jin, a sudden attack on Aizen. 703. This knife can be said to be very precise, hitting Aizen's heart directly. Go Waller. This guy Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent. In the barrage room, many people have gone crazy. Watch. What happened? Omaeda, Ichimaru Jin, actually took action against Aizen. I'll go. Yamada Hanataro? Mad. This is too sudden. You are not mentally prepared, Abarai Renji. This guy Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent, Katetsu Izan. Shocked me for a whole year. Before, I thought the title of the light curtain was irony? Or some other joke? It's really an undercover, Lingleichuan Yumachika? Yes. When I watched it before, although there was something wrong, this guy Ichimaru Jin killed Kurosaki Ichigo and took action against Matsumoto Rangaku. I didn't even believe that he was an undercover agent, Naneo eyes. This is the scary thing about Ichimaru Jin. No one can see it, maybe even Aizen didn't think of it, Madarei Makaku. Captain Ichimaru, he even deceived me, Kira Izuru. Aid. At this moment, almost everyone was shocked by Ichimaru Jin's move. Have to say, this guy Ichimaru Jin, what is hidden is really deep. It turns out, just like the title in the light screen, this guy has been undercover by Aizen's side for 100 years? DJ, think of this. The audience also became puzzled, Qian Zhao. If you haven't seen it with your own eyes, his face suddenly turned ugly. Think of this. At this moment, Aizen saw this scene. What exactly is his motive? Why did Ichimaru Jin stay undercover with Aizen 100 years ago? At that time, Aizen probably didn't have such big ambitions. Why would Ichimaru Jin be so humiliated and lurk next to Aizen? Everyone continued to turn their attention to the light curtain. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. Ichimaru Jin's attack was really too shocking. No one will believe that Ichimaru Jin is really an undercover agent. Is it for Matsumoto Rangaku? Even so, everyone's eyes were fixed on the light in the sky, looking forward to what would happen next. After all, did he know from the beginning that Aizen would defect from Soul Society? 130. Lin Xuan. It's time to meet Aizen. 130. Lin Xuan. It's time to meet Aizen. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. Aizen saw this scene. His face suddenly turned ugly. Although he had already noticed that Ichimaru Jin might have other thoughts. But, he didn't expect that this guy Ichimaru Jin would actually take action against him. Moreover, the attack is still so vicious, hit your heart. Although Aizen is already prepared in his heart, no matter who it is. After seeing oneself betrayed by the people around him and stabbed through the heart with a knife, he would feel angry to some extent. Even Aizen is no exception. At this time, he recalled what Ichimaru Jin said in the light curtain. I am a snake. Without any emotion. Use your tongue to find prey. Think of this. Only then did Aizen realize that what Ichimaru Jin meant when he said these words turned out to be him. Interesting. Aizen suddenly smiled and said to Ichimaru Jin. You kid, you are really interesting. Aside. Ichimaru Jin was also shocked when he saw the video in the light curtain. He didn't expect that. My future self actually took action against Aizen, 58,070 euros. The key is, this scene will be exposed in front of everyone by a light curtain. Gee, what a damn light curtain, he actually exposed himself completely. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin gritted his teeth, feeling unwilling to do so. Damn it, after hiding it for so many years, I finally know the secret of this guy Aizen's Kyoka Suigetsu. Who would have thought, a light curtain destroyed all of my efforts over the past century. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin's expression was solemn, his body was tense, and his hand was tightly holding the Zanpakuto in his hand. Facing Aizen, he was ready to fight. Seeing Ichimaru Jin's nervous posture, Aizen waved his hand and smiled. Don't be so nervous. Actually, I have noticed from the beginning that you have another purpose. Hear this. Ichimaru Jin was also a little surprised. Have you noticed me already? How can it be? Seeing Ichimaru Jin's reaction, Aizen continued to speak calmly. Advertisement, FFLX. I am very interested in you. I want to see what kind of things you will do. And, what is your purpose? Having said this, Aizen looked away and stared closely at Ichimaru Jin in front of him. Ichimaru Jin remained silent. Don't want to say it? Aizen seemed to have expected such a reaction from him. Then, Lan turned his head and turned his gaze to the light screen. Then let's see what you can do in the future, at this moment. Looking at Aizen with a calm expression on his face. Ichimaru Jin's vigilance has not relaxed, FTB. Based on Aizen's consistent style, he will definitely not let him go. Ichimaru Jin knows it very well, the reason why Aizen didn't take action directly. That's because he has absolute confidence in himself, and that kind of confidence is. Aizen believes that it is absolutely impossible for him to be killed by himself. FIFFLX. He would say that he wanted to see how far he could do it. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin looked at the light curtain while thinking of countermeasures. There is definitely no escape. I am currently in Hueco Mundo, where can I escape to? If Aizen really wants to take action, he can only choose to fight hard in the end. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin turned his gaze to the light curtain. When he saw the light curtain, a wave of unwillingness and warmth rose in his heart. It's all because of this damn light curtain that exposed itself in advance. Ichimaru Jin also wants to know, in the future, whether he killed Aizen or not. Seirei, the chief's room. What? Ichimaru Jin him. Yeah, what happened? At this moment. After seeing the video in the light curtain, BFFE, in the hall, almost all the captains looked surprised. There was an expression of disbelief on his face. They never expected that Ichimaru Jin would suddenly take action against Aizen. And there was no warning. Yeah, unexpectedly, I was also confused by Captain Ichimaru. Kyoraku Shunsui sighed. At this time, his name for Ichimaru Jin has become Captain Ichimaru. Instead of calling him by his name, when the video starts playing. During the Ichimaru Jin vs Kurosaki Ichigo video, Kyoraku Shunsui discovered something was wrong with Ichimaru Jin at that time. At that time, many captains thought that Ichimaru Jin was letting things slip on purpose. It wasn't until he killed Kurosaki Ichigo that everyone gave up the idea. Advertisement then take action against Matsumoto Rangaku. At this point, the captains were almost convinced that there was no way Ichimaru Jin was an undercover agent. Who would have thought? At this time, Ichimaru Jin takes action against Aizen. Moreover, he is still so decisive and straightforward, and his attacks are also vicious and precise. Have to say, all the captains were shocked by Ichimaru Jin's move. At this time, Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni looked at the light screen with surprise in his eyes. I have to say, this guy is quite hidden, even I am confused by him. Hear this. All the captains nodded. Yes, this guy Ichimaru Jin is so hidden. If the light curtain hadn't exposed this scene, almost no one would have believed that Ichimaru Jin was an undercover agent. Ichimaru Jin stabbed Aizen directly in the heart. However, judging from Aizen's ability to instantly kill Jutsu, Ichimaru Jin's sword probably can't kill Aizen. Could it be that Ichimaru Jin has been undercover for so many years just for this one knife? If only this were the case, why does it have to take so long? Is there no chance in these 100 years? And, most importantly, none of the captains can figure out what the purpose of Ichimaru Jin's undercover work is. Is it to protect the Seirei? In terms of Ichimaru Jin's character, it's a little bit different. Think of this. Everyone continued to turn their attention to the light curtain. Everyone wants to know what happens next. Lin Chuan saw the light behind the curtain and let out a long yawn lazily. It's time to meet Aizen. His figure disappeared from the spot. Almost everyone was shocked by Ichimaru Jin's sword in the light screen. They all want to know if Aizen will be killed by Ichimaru Jin. At this moment, it seemed that everyone overlooked one thing in the shock of this light curtain. Of course, two people noticed this. One is Matsumoto Rangaku, the vice captain of the 10th Division. Another. That is the safety of Ichimaru Jin, who is currently in Hueco Mundo. I want to know even more what will happen next. Kurosaki Ichigo, Yoruichi, Urahara Kazuki, and Chusen Kanami and so on. Say it. It is Lin Chuan, a bohemian young man from Rukongai. At this time, 131. The only way to crack Kyoka Suigetsu. 131. The only way to crack Kyoka Suigetsu Rukongai. In a residential building. Lin Chuan yawned lazily and glanced at the video in the sky. At this time, the light screen is playing the scene of Ichimaru Jin stabbing Aizen with a knife. To be honest, no wonder everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Even Lin Chuan, a time traveler, saw this scene in the Shinigami comics on Blue Star before time traveling. I was so shocked that my jaw almost dropped. Now, although I already knew about Ichimaru Jin, however, when Lin Chuan saw this scene in the light screen, his heart still fluctuated a little. This guy Ichimaru Jin, it's so cruel. That old thief Aizen will probably be furious to death when he sees this. Think of this. Lin Chuan smiled. This guy Aizen has already noticed that Ichimaru Jin has other purposes. Judging from his reaction, he probably didn't expect Ichimaru Jin to be so vicious. There is no sloppiness in the move, and it is a fatal move once the move is made. After all, Aizen has trained Ichimaru Jin for many years. Suddenly I saw myself being stabbed by Ichimaru Jin. I guess it would be hard for anyone to accept this. Thinking of this, Lin Chuan shook his head. It's time to meet this Aizen. Wow. Say it. Lin Chuan turned into a shunpo, and the figure disappeared from the place without any warning. Seirei, Division 10. He actually. Matsumoto Rangaku was extremely surprised when he saw the light curtain. Although in her heart, she didn't believe that Ichimaru Jin would really betray Soul Society, nor did she believe that he would follow Aizen so willingly. 18. When she saw this scene, she was still very surprised, or rather shocked. Matsumoto Rangaku never expected that the city's bank would suddenly take action against Aizen. Advertisement see here. Matsumoto Rangaku suddenly understood. Why did Ichimaru Jin say those words to himself before this, and why did he take action on himself at the same time? Axe. Yin has already decided to take action against Aizen at that time. Matsumoto Rangaku murmured. Recalling the previous scene, Ichimaru Jin took himself to a rooftop, said those words to himself, and used some means to seal his Ryatsu. So, in the light curtain, Aizen will say that Matsumoto Rangaku's Ryatsu has disappeared. Thinking of this, Matsumoto Rangaku's eyes welled up with dew. Of course she understood that everything Ichimaru Jin did was to protect herself and prevent herself from falling into dangerous situations. Just when Matsumoto Rangaku felt moved, she suddenly realized something. Etc. Matsumoto Rangaku's expression changed drastically on the spot. IFT. Are you still in Hueco Mundo? If it is like this. So, isn't he in danger at this time? After thinking of this, Matsumoto Rangaku panicked immediately. Through the previous playback of the light curtain, she had already seen Aizen's true face clearly. Just 4 words. By any means necessary, it can be said that Aizen will do anything to achieve his goals. Experiment with Muguruma Kensei et al. Kill Central 46. Stab Hinamori Momo, etc., etc. At this moment. The more Matsumoto Rangaku recalls everything about Aizen, the more scared she becomes. When Aizen saw Ichimaru Jin doing this to him in the light screen. Open black lens bracket 013403415 Filu 14447070 close black lens bracket. How could he let Ichimaru Jin be spared so easily? TMJ. I have to do something, think of this. Matsumoto Rangaku pondered for a few seconds, then he anxiously used Shunpo and flew towards the captain's room quickly. At this moment, outside the light curtain, everyone looked surprised and fixed their gazes on the light screen in the sky. Ichimaru Jin's move was really unexpected. Will Aizen be killed? Advertisement, please give me flowers 0, how will things develop next? Why did Ichimaru Jin do this? Think of this, everyone will be eager to know the answers to these questions. At this time, within the light curtain, continue playing. KR. In the picture, Aizen looked at Ichimaru Jin in shock, with an expression of disbelief on his face. Well, Ichimaru Jin looked at Aizen's pierced chest and said with a smile. The only way to crack Kyoga Suigetsu, just before you fully activate hypnosis, touch the blade. Said, Ichimaru Jin moved his left hand, at this time. In his hand, he was holding the Aizen Zanpakuto Kyoga Suigetsu blade. FFFLX. Ichimaru Jin was very sure at this time that the person he stabbed was Aizen himself. To get this answer, I don't know how much time it took. Speaking of this, Ichimaru Jin recalled the scenes of the past and sighed lightly. When Ichimaru Jin said this, his expression became a little excited. Hidden for so many years, just for this moment, no matter what kind of things he encountered over the years, he always suppressed his emotions so that he didn't seem to have any mood swings. Whether it's the cold eyes of others, the confusion of your subordinates, or the doubts of the person you love the most. He saw it all, and at the same time hid all his emotions in his heart. Moxa, he could finally fulfill his purpose. Think of this, Ichimaru Jin continued to speak slowly. Gote 13, no one knows about this. They all tried to kill you, but no one could think of it. The only person who can kill you, Captain Aizen. It's me. The only way to crack Kyoga Suigetsu? Wodong. Outside the light curtain, after everyone heard what Ichimaru Jin said, they were even more surprised. 132. Ichimaru Jin. Are you surprised? My Bankai is also fake. 132. Ichimaru Jin. Surprised? My Bankai is also fake. Wodong. Outside the light curtain, after everyone heard what Ichimaru Jin said, they were even more surprised. Is there a way to break Kyoga Suigetsu's terrifying hypnosis ability? At this moment, everyone looked at Ichimaru Jin's left hand in the sky. At this time, the fingers of his left hand were tightly grasping the blade of Aizen's Zanpakuto. This moment, everyone finally understood what Ichimaru Jin had done before. Asterisk. What he has been waiting for is such an opportunity. Between barrages. Wodong. Does Kyoga Suigetsu have a way to crack it? Omaeda. Let me go. It turns out that this guy Ichimaru Jin has been lurking around Aizen for so long, just for this. Yumachichi Rikawa. Before activating complete hypnosis, touching the blade. Is it so easy? Abarai Renji, ===. Idiot Renji, this is not simple at all, okay? Kurosaki Ichigo? Yes. Let's not say that you don't know when Aizen will activate the ability of Kyoga Suigetsu. Furthermore, with the strength of ordinary people, it is impossible to touch Aizen's blade. Hisagi Shuhei. Ichimaru Jin. Really, I cried to death, Aizen Naneo. Seirei, the chief's room. Yeah. Kiraku Shunsui was also very surprised when he saw the light behind the scenes. He didn't expect that Ichimaru Jin had been lurking in Aizen for so many years. The purpose is actually to find a way to crack Kyoga Suigetsu. Captain Ichimaru, it's more difficult than we thought. At this moment, in the hall, all the captains had mixed emotions after seeing this scene. I was a little surprised, but at the same time I also had some admiration for Ichimaru Jin. Completely hiding his true thoughts, he has been lurking beside Aizen for so many years. It is estimated that only Ichimaru Jin himself can fully understand the taste. So far, everyone doesn't know why Ichimaru Jin wanted to crack Aizen Kyoga Suigetsu's ability a long time ago. But only in terms of behavior, it is quite certain that Ichimaru Jin belongs to the Soul Society side. Everyone, at this time, Jashiro Yugataki said with joy on his face. This information from Captain Ichimaru is very important. After knowing how to crack Aizen Kyoga Suigetsu, we will not be so passive in future battles. Hear this. All the captains nodded. Yes, although Aizen's power is terrifying, it is not enough to challenge Seirei Gode 13 alone. In the previous video, Aizen seemed to defeat several captains by himself. Advertisement, however, after careful analysis, it can be clearly discovered. Aizen used the power of Kyoga Suigetsu to confuse the captains and defeat them. Now, the light curtain has revealed the secret of Aizen Kyoga Suigetsu. In future battles, Shinigami's side will not be so passive. At this time, when all the captains looked happy, Sui Feng realized a problem. That's Ichimaru Jin, and it's still in Hueco Mundo. If he hadn't escaped before the light curtain played. What will Aizen do to him after seeing this scene? With Aizen's methods, would he let him go so easily? Think of this. She was about to speak when she suddenly heard Aizen burst out laughing in the light curtain. Aizen's laughter suddenly came from the light curtain. Many viewers continued to turn their attention to the sky. What Ichimaru Jin said just now caused a lot of fluctuations. The power of Aizen Kyoga Suigetsu can be said to surprise and even scare many people. On the light screen, it has been played more than once that Aizen has used this power to deceive and even control everyone. From faking his own death, to creating the illusion of Central 46, to defeating the captains on his own. When the audience saw the video of this scene, they were shocked again and again by the power of Kyoga Suigetsu. FFFLX. How to crack Kyoga Suigetsu, that's what everyone wants to know. Exexido. No one thought that the person who could crack Kyoga Suigetsu was Ichiji Jin. After seeing this, everyone's attitude towards Ichimaru Jin has completely reversed 180 degrees. From a cold and heartless traitor, to now he is in the hearts of everyone. He is the one who endures humiliation and is the savior of Soul Society. Aizen, I didn't expect that you would end up scheming all your life, but you would eventually die in the hands of your own people. Shito. Aizen's sudden laughter in the light curtain stunned everyone. Many people's hearts were a little pounding. No way. No, Aizen wasn't killed, right? At this moment, everyone's eyes were once again focused on the light curtain. In the light curtain, it is initially scheduled to be sold and played. Donna, Aizen covered the wound on his chest and couldn't help but laugh a few times. Then, he raised his head, stared at Ichimaru Jin in front of him and said, Actually, I've always known it, advertisement. I knew what you were thinking from the beginning. That's why I brought you to Karakura town. The reason why I did this was to see how you would kill me. I'm very interested in this. Having said this, Aizen looked at the wound on his chest that was bleeding continuously and continued. Unfortunately, do you think you can kill me at this level? Well, hearing this, Ichimaru Jin spread his hands and expressed that he was not surprised. I never thought about it that way, Captain Aizen said. He slowly raised the Zanpakuto in his hand, which had shrunk into the shape of a short sword. Can you see this? Ichimaru Jin brought the knife close to Aizen's eyes. That's right, it's just this little crack on the blade. Hearing this, Aizen narrowed his eyes. He took a closer look and found that there was indeed a small crack on the Zanpakuto in Ichimaru Jin's hand. It was not very obvious, but Aizen immediately realized something was wrong. Why is there such a small opening on Zanpakuto? Can't figure it out. Ichimaru Jin said with a smile. The part that disappeared remains in your body. Captain Aizen, 1 + 4, Aizen suddenly felt very bad at 1.9. I told you, Ichimaru Jin said still smiling. Wotong. My Bankai ability, right? This guy Ichimaru Jin also used fake Bankai to deceive Aizen? Hearing this sentence, not only Aizen but also other people outside the light curtain were shocked again. However, in Aizen's opinion, the more Ichimaru Jin smiled like this at this time, the more chilling he felt. 999, Captain Aizen, I lied to you. Is fake. *71. Bankai is fake too. At that time, Aizen used fake Bankai to deceive the captains. This guy Ichimaru Jin is really good at infernal affairs. For the first time, he felt that Ichimaru Jin was beyond his control. It's almost 6 times over. 133. Poison. Kamishini no Yari's true ability. 133. Poison. Kamishini no Yari's true ability. 999. It's almost 6 times over. This guy Ichimaru Jin is really good at infernal affairs. At this moment, after everyone heard the conversation in the light curtain, everyone looked surprised. This guy Ichimaru Jin. Not only is it fake to follow Aizen, it turns out that Bankai is also fake. See here. Everyone had a look of gloating on their faces. Aizen used fake Bankai to deceive many captains before. I'm afraid he didn't think of it. This guy Ichimaru Jin also deceived him with a fake Bankai. This is called treating others the same way and treating them the same way. Between barrages. What? Captain Ichimaru's Bankai is actually fake. Unbelievable, Kiriazuru. Hiss. Even Bankai is fake. Captain Ichimaru is now 6, how did he do it? Omaeda. With your brain, you probably won't be able to do it in this life. Aburai Renji. Peeved. How many people can do this undercover for 100 years, let alone hide their true Bankai for 115 years? Hisagi Shuhei. Ha 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 ha, Aizen, are you surprised? Are you surprised? Muguruma Kensei? This is a high-end game for both of them, I won't accept it, Katetsu Izan. Speaking of, what exactly are Ichimaru Jin's Bankai? Kuna Mashiro. Yeah, he doesn't have the ability like Aizen Kyoga Suigetsu, how did he manage to hide his Bankai? Yamada Hanataro. I think Captain Ichimaru's Bankai must be hidden in the Bankai he usually uses, but he must have hidden his true ability, Aizen Nanao. True Bankai ability? Now, in the home of Kurosaki Ichigo. After seeing the video in the light curtain, Kurosaki Ichigo murmured to himself. From the moment Ichimaru Jin attacked Aizen, Kurosaki Ichigo finally figured everything out. That is in the light curtain, as he said, when he and Ichimaru Jin were fighting. I always feel that the opponent's eyes and fighting will erratic. Not really fighting with myself. Although in reality, due to the influence of the light curtain, Kurosaki Ichigo did not negotiate with Ichimaru Jin. 18. He believed in his feelings in the light curtain. Asterisk. Everything has an answer. That is, although Ichimaru Jin is fighting with himself, the enemy in his heart has always been Aizen. And in the process of fighting with myself, Ichimaru Jin has been looking at Aizen from the corner of his eyes. Think of this. Kurosaki Ichigo frowned. So this guy has been training me? When he saw Ichimaru Jin saying in the light curtain that his Bankai was also fake. Kurosaki Ichigo also realized it immediately. This scene is exactly the same as myself at that time. He speculated. Advertisement Ichimaru Jin's true Bankai ability must be in his current Bankai. This ability, what on earth could it be? Think of this. Kurosaki Ichigo turned his attention to the light curtain in the sky. At this moment, other viewers are also thinking about this issue. Including Aizen himself. Not surprisingly, Ichimaru Jin's sudden defection was indeed within the scope of his psychological expectations. B. What he didn't expect was that this guy Shiliangyan seemed to have some tricks up his sleeve. More precisely, he underestimated Ichimaru Jin's determination to kill him. Therefore, when Ichimaru Jin said that Bankai was fake, he was very surprised. At the same time, Aizen was also a little curious. What kind of ability can allow Ichimaru Jin to use this as a trump card at this critical moment? How can Ichimaru Jin believe that he can kill himself with one blow? Aizen can't figure it out, but he felt an inexplicable chill. This chill comes not only from the unknown ability of Ichimaru Jin. Moreover, coming from Ichimaru Jin itself, at this moment. Aizen thought of Ichimaru Jin's words again, I am a lion majesty without any emotion. Think of this. For the first time, Aizen felt a sense of fear in his heart. He raised his head and looked at the light curtain. For the first time, I began to have a little worry and doubt about whether I could survive. At this moment, everyone focused their attention on the light curtain. Whether it's Seirei's Shinigami or Hueco Mundo's Espada. Everyone was shocked by Ichimaru Jin's series of actions. At the same time, they also want to take a look at what kind of ability the Bankai hidden by Ichimaru Jin is. Many people think that the skill Ichimaru Jin retained is definitely not that simple. If you think about it for a moment, you will understand. Ichimaru Jin, how could I have been hiding under Aizen for so many years? Isn't it because he didn't have enough confidence to kill Aizen? FFFLX. The reason is also very simple. Ichimaru Jin either doesn't make a move, or if he does, it's a fatal move. Think of this. Everyone is even more looking forward to what will be played in the video next. Above the sky, within the light curtain, advertisement. The video continues to play. THEBAK. I'm sorry, the Bankai you have seen so far is all fake. A smile appeared on the corner of Ichimaru Jin's mouth, with a slightly proud look on his face. What? Aizen was a little surprised. Fake? What happened? Ichimaru Jin continued. My Bankai, Kamishini no Yari, it doesn't extend that long. You can't move that fast either. Bree. In the moment of expansion and contraction, it will turn into gray. Then, inside the knife, a deadly poison that can dissolve cells will be formed. After hearing this, Aizen's expression finally changed. He suddenly felt something strange coming from his body. CE. Being dissolved, Aizen was horrified. Well, Ichimaru Jin said with a smile, it seems you understand now. The moment I pierced your heart, I also left a fragment in your body. Silver. Aizen, he shouted to Ichimaru Jin while covering his chest. Aizen at this time. The initial calmness was no longer there, and his face was more filled with anger and shock. Well, Captain Aizen, Ichimaru Jin raised his head and looked directly at Aizen. The expression on his face was full of mockery. If you have anything to say, just say it quickly. Otherwise, you will never be able to speak again. Hearing this, Aizen couldn't help but cursed, Silver. You be asterisk 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 D. Well, after Ichimaru Jin heard this, he slowly raised the Zanpakuto in his hand and pointed it at Aizen's chest again. Captain Aizen, it's like opening a hole in your chest. Isn't it what you've always wanted? What? Aizen's pupils suddenly shrank when he heard this. Shoot him. Kamishini no Yari. 134. Rescue Ichimaru Jin. 134. Rescue Ichimaru Jin. Shoot him. Kamishini no Yari. Ichimaru Jin finished speaking. I saw the Zanpakuto in his hand stabbing Aizen's heart again. And this time, Ichimaru Jin placed the entire Zanpakuto inside Aizen's body. DB. At this time, Aizen was speechless. The violent venom quickly spread throughout his body, and at the same time, the cells in his body were being dissolved. Just a second. A huge hole appeared on Aizen's chest. The heart has disappeared. The poison continues to spread. Hogyoku. Ichimaru Jin murmured. After Aizen's entire chest was dissolved, the Hogyoku fused in his body also appeared. See Hogyoku. Without saying a word, Ichimaru Jin reached out and took Hogyoku into his hands. At the same time, he kicked Aizen away. Boom! Aizen had no power to resist at this time and could only let Ichimaru Jin blast him away. Silver, oh. Aizen fell in the ruins, his eyes full of anger and unwillingness. He used all his strength to roar. Aside. Ichimaru Jin heard Aizen's roar, his expression was cold and indifferent. He opened his palm, looked at the blood-stained Hogyoku in his hand, and couldn't help but murmur to himself. Everything, this is the end, at this time. Aizen's unwilling roar also stopped suddenly, representing the end of his life. Buzz. See this scene in the light curtain, almost everyone's heads buzzed. They looked at the video in the light screen in disbelief. Almost everyone's eyes were dull and their faces were dead. Asterisk. 11. It's over? Aizen, he, is dead? Just die like this? Looking at the silent light curtain in the sky, everyone felt a little unreal. This feeling is like working hard for a long time to achieve a certain goal. B. The moment you truly achieve your goal, you will feel complete and dreamy at the same time. Between barrages. Watcha, Aizen died like this. Ome, Tien. Yes, it's unbelievable. Yumachika Rei Leikawa. Advertisement. Suddenly I feel a little uncomfortable or a little unreal. Hisagi Shuhei. What's wrong with that? That guy Aizen. This is how it should end. Muguruma Kensei. Yeah, I didn't expect that it wasn't me who killed him in the end. Tokeori. It's true that his death was too sudden, but he deserved it. Kurosaki Ichigo. In the barrage room, after many people came to their senses, they started discussing one after another. No one thought of it. This is how Aizen will die in the end. He died at the hands of his own people, died by the sword of Ichimaru Jin whom he cultivated. Hoeko Mundo, Espada conference room. Lan, Aizen-sama actually. L.A. Really, 11 at this moment. The Espadas in the conference room were all surprised when they saw Aizen's tragic death, and their eyes were full of confusion. To them, Aizen is a godlike existence. When they first met Aizen, their attitude towards people was as disdainful as they were towards other Shinigami. However, these Arrancar were beaten severely by Aizen. They all began to realize in despair that Lord Aizen's power was something they could never reach. Hoeko Mundo is a place where the jungle prevails. Slowly, they began to have a new respect for Aizen. Until the moment Aizen gave them new power, Aizen. In their hearts, they are gods. Now, when they saw the god in the light curtain, he was stabbed to death by Ichimaru Jin. This belief suddenly collapsed in their hearts. Lord Aizen, in the future, will we really die? Then what should we do? I don't know who asked these questions. At this moment, the Espadas all looked at each other, except for the shock and surprise brought about by Aizen's death. There is also the confusion caused by the collapse of belief in gods in the heart. Seirei, the chief's room. Yeah, after Kiraku Shunsui saw the light curtain, he immediately lost his composure. Aizen, is he really so dead? At this time, few of the other captains could remain calm. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the light curtain with surprise. At the beginning, when Ichimaru Jin stabbed Aizen with a knife, they were not that surprised. The reason is simple. Whether it's the combat effectiveness shown by Aizen in the light curtain or their understanding of Aizen. Almost all the captains agreed that Aizen would not die so easily. Righto. When they saw Ichimaru Jin reveal his real Bankai, everyone was shocked by his ability. Advertisement: a highly toxic substance that can dissolve any cells it touches. This Bankai ability, just thinking about it makes my head tingling. However, that's it. When they heard about Ichimaru Jin's Bankai ability, all the captains still didn't believe that Aizen would die like this. Maybe the one Ichimaru Jin hit wasn't Aizen himself? Maybe Aizen has other methods? When they saw Aizen's roar before his death, and after Ichimaru Jin got Hogyoku. Only then was I finally convinced. Aizen, dead indeed. Hitsugaya Toshiro came to his senses and breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that in the future, Aizen will really be killed by Ichimaru. Yes, Jashiro Yukitaki also nodded. This is all thanks to Captain Ichimaru. Ichimaru Jin, etc. Think of this. All the captains reacted instantly. The expression on his face also instantly solidified from the joy just now. I go. Ichimaru Jin is still in Hoeko Mundo, if in the future. The one who killed Aizen was Ichimaru Jin. BB, what would Aizen think when he saw the video of the light curtain? Can he spare Ichimaru Jin? After thinking of this, all the captains read it. Damn, Wang Zhao. I was so excited when I saw Aizen being killed in the light curtain. Although I didn't immediately realize that the scene in this light curtain took place in the future. Your Excellency, Captain, at this time. Matsumoto Rangaku ignored the dissuasion of other Shinigami team members and rushed in and shouted loudly. Your Excellency, Captains, sir, I beg you, can you save Silver? See this scene. All the captains have complicated expressions. It seems that except for Matsumoto Rangaku, everyone else has overlooked this point about Ichimaru Jin in Hueco Mundo. Damn it. Jashiro Yukitaki immediately looked at the captain at the head of the team and asked. No need to say more. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni frowned and waved his big hand. All captains, prepare immediately and head to Hueco Mundo immediately. Rescue Ichimaru Jin. Yes. 135. Is that Aizen? He's not dead? 135. Is that Aizen? He's not dead. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. Duh. After Aizen saw the light curtain, his expression could be said to be very ugly. Ruthless. Cruel. This Ichimaru Jin is far more vicious than he imagined. He has been lurking beside him for more than 100 years, always thinking about killing him without saying a word. And he also hid his Bankai's true abilities, this guy. Think of this. Aizen turned around and stared at Ichimaru Jin beside him with sharp eyes. You really surprised me. Seeing this, Ichimaru Jin opened his eyes and stared at Aizen in front of him defensively. He held the slashing knife at his waist tightly in his hand. He knew that once this video was broadcast, Aizen would definitely not let him go. He also knows that with his current strength, it is absolutely impossible to resist Aizen. If there wasn't this damn light curtain, his ability would be exposed. If he didn't reveal his future purpose, so, he can also, like in the light screen, take advantage of Aizen's unpreparedness, touch his knife, and give Aizen a surprise blow. DJ, now, it seems that I have reached a desperate situation. But, Ichimaru Jin will not just surrender. Even if he dies, he will take a bite of Aizen's flesh before he dies. Boom. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin explodes all his Ryatsu. He was ready to fight to the death. BK. Tusen Kanami murmured after feeling Ichimaru Jin's Ryatsu. Although he couldn't see what was happening in the light curtain. However, he also got a rough idea from the voice in the video. At this moment, inside the palace, Aizen and Ichimaru Jin faced each other. For a time, the atmosphere was tense, after the deathly silence. Bang bang bang. 17. Aizen smiled instead of getting angry and clapped. I have to say, you are indeed a very outstanding child. It is always the ability to endure, or the courage to regard death as if it were home. Speaking of which, Aizen took steps slowly and walked slowly towards Ichimaru Jin. Think of this. I can't bear to kill you anymore. Aizen raised his head, stared at Ichimaru Jin with his eyes, and his tone was very cold. He knows that the current Ichimaru Jin, no matter what, you can't escape from your grasp. Currently, he is just Lion Majesty with his head trapped in a cage. True. Lan Ran started watching the video. Advertisement. It's true that anger comes from the heart. From beginning to end, he was the only one responsible for deceiving others. Now, he has been deceived by Ichimaru Jin, who has been following him for hundreds of years. Moreover, he also reserved a hand in order to kill himself with one blow at the right opportunity, BFAA. See here. How can Aizen not be angry? On the spot, he wanted to kill Ichimaru Jin with a knife. TJ, just a second ago, he changed his mind. Although Aizen doesn't know what the real purpose of Ichimaru Jin is lurking beside him for so many years. However, Aizen's guess was pretty accurate. Guarding Seirei is impossible. Save the world? Ichimaru Jin didn't have that intention at all. If your guess is correct, Ichimaru Jin's purpose of doing this is just for one person. Matsumoto Rangaku. 1. This child, at that time, had seen everything. That's why you follow me. After thinking of this, Aizen figured it all out. At this time, Ichimaru Jin on the side looked at Aizen's uncertain face and didn't know what he was thinking. Ichimaru Jin saw this. Consider whether you should make the first move. At this time, Aizen suddenly spoke. I won't kill you. Hear this. Ichimaru Jin was slightly startled, but he quickly sneered. Aizen, this guy, knows very well that if he really lets himself go, he will no longer be Aizen. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin sneered. Well, Captain Aizen is so generous. Aizen smiled slightly. Then, he gently held his right hand and said lightly. I will let you watch the destruction of Soul Society with your own eyes. I will let you watch with your own eyes the person you protect and die in front of you. Before that, you have to live well. Hear this. Ichimaru Jin's pupils shrank sharply. Then, he no longer hesitated, immediately pulled out the Zanpakuto from his waist and rushed towards Aizen. Bakudo's 61-6 Staff Light Prison. Looking at the rushing Ichimaru Jin, Aizen disappeared in place with a Shunpo, and then began to release Kido. Bakudo number 81 Splitting Void. Seeing this scene, Ichimaru Jin immediately gave a light drink. Boom. With the release of Ichimaru Jin, a huge light curtain instantly appeared in front of him. He accompanied the 6 pieces of light that were attacking him behind him. Use this Kido. Captain Aizen underestimates me too much. Ichimaru Jin chuckled, however, he still didn't dare to be careless when facing Aizen. Yeah, Aizen's tone was calm and there was no disturbance. Advertisement, what about this one? Then, he raised his right hand again. Bakudo's 99 swastika ban, Bakudo number 99? After hearing Aizen's words, Ichimaru Jin's expression suddenly changed. This Bakudo is a forbidden technique that is only recorded in the Great Spirit Book corridor. First song, Stop Tension, wow, Aizen finished his words. Ichimaru Jin was surprised to find that countless white bandages quickly appeared on the ground, attacking him at extremely fast speeds. See this scene. Ichimaru Jin quickly jumped into the air. Tuku, Julianman. Aizen continued to release Kido. I saw only a moment. Countless huge black iron nails appeared in the sky, flying towards Ichimaru Jin. Puff. D. Ichimaru Jin's body in the air can no longer move. He was hit by a nail in an instant. Finale. The swastika is forbidden. Boom as Aizen's words fell. A huge stone tablet appeared out of thin air and fell from the sky. He pressed Ichimaru Jin hard to the ground. Ichimaru Jin at this time. Ryatsu's hands and feet were wrapped in white bandages, his body was sealed by huge iron nails, and there was a huge stone tablet on his back that made him unable to move. Aizen. Ichimaru Jin roared unwillingly. Just be quiet for a while, Silver. Saw this scene. Aizen smiled softly and said calmly. T. Just watch everything you protect being destroyed. But, for the sake of you serving me for many years, I will bring that woman's body back to you. Speaking of which. Aizen stopped talking nonsense, he turned around and walked to Tsusankanami and said. Yes, open the boundary gate. Suddenly, that figure. When everyone saw clearly the figure in the Ryatsu beam of light. What? A powerful Ryatsu beam of light suddenly erupts. Hearing this earth-shattering sound, several people stopped what they were doing. At this time, Righto. Boom, Tsusankanami nodded silently, stepped aside, and began preparations. At this moment, within the light curtain, everyone was extremely shocked and unbelievable. Blue, let's go to Karakura town, he's not dead? Turning his attention to the light curtain, 136. The captain collapsed collectively. Is it that difficult to kill an Aizen? 136. The captain collapsed. Why is it so difficult to kill Aizen? At this moment, the audience was originally shocked by Ichimaru Jin. Sudden. Ryatsu was once again shocked by the soaring light curtain in the sky. Suddenly, the sudden change in the light curtain caught everyone's attention. When they saw clearly the figure in the huge pillar of light, everyone's eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. Wotong. That's Aizen. How can it be? This guy is not dead. All of a sudden, countless viewers were stunned. Between barrages. Grip groove, Aizen is resurrected. Omaeda? How could this happen? Kira Izuru, impossible. I clearly saw Aizen's body being gradually corroded by the poison on the Ichimaru Jin sword. Hisagi Shuhei. Yes, Aizen was clearly dead just now, even his body has dissipated. Yumachichi Rarikawa. Is it possible that the one who died just now was not Aizen? It was an illusion created by Kyoka Suigetsu? Katetsu Izan? Impossible. Ichimaru Jin. Judging from Ichimaru Jin's reaction, this is not possible. After all, he has been lurking for so many years before he found the method to crack Kyoka Suigetsu. There is no way he can make a mistake, Hiriko. Yes, and in the video, Ichimaru Jin also took out the Hogyoku from Aizen's body. If it were an illusion, then it would be impossible to get the Hogyoku. Urahara Kazuki. Then what's going on? Muguruma Kensei. Damn it, Aizen. Is it so difficult for him to die? Hiyori? At this moment, after everyone saw the light behind the scenes, they all made various guesses. There is no consensus on the reasons. However, the indisputable fact is that this guy Aizen is indeed resurrected. At this point, let everyone have a new perspective on Aizen. Can't you even die like this? This guy Aizen. Is it really that hard to kill? Seirei, a crossing gate. At this time, the captains have already assembled. When the commander-in-chief issued the order to rescue Ichimaru Jin, all captains were ready. Gather in front of a crossing gate in the center of Seirei. B. Just when they were about to pass through the boundary gate and enter Hueco Mundo. Within the light curtain, Aizen suddenly resurrected. All the captains were shocked. Is this Aizen? No way. How can it be? Yeah, this guy is really. After seeing this scene, the captains suddenly felt a little heavy. Advertisement. After just watching the scene where Ichimaru Jin killed Aizen, I felt some joy, but it disappeared in an instant. They didn't expect it. Ichimaru Jin has reached this point, and this Aizen can't even die. XX. After Jashiro Yukitake was surprised, he turned to look at Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni. ******. In the future, Ichimaru Jin's plan also failed. So, can people be saved or not? For a moment, the captains were also a little at a loss. They all turned their attention to Captain Shan at the end of the team. At this time, Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni looked at the light curtain, his brows already twisted into twine. He didn't expect it either. How can it be so difficult to kill a mere Aizen? Regardless of whether it was several captains taking action together or Ichimaru's century-old strategy, in the end, everything failed. In the future, Aizen has really ruled Soul Society? Think of this. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni shook his head. Judging from the previous video where the Quincy appeared, Aizen did not succeed. Because at that time, the captains of Jinglingding were still the same people. But, if it is like this, how on earth was Aizen defeated? Could it be that I personally took action and defeated this person? B. With Aizen's intelligence and strategy, wouldn't he be able to make some targeted arrangements? Think of this. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni couldn't figure it out. He always felt that Aizen was not defeated by him. X. He always feels like he is ignoring who he is. However, I still can't remember who that person is. At this moment, Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni regained his composure. After he watched everyone focus on him, he immediately understood their meaning. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni pondered for a moment and then said, Open black lens bracket 013403415 Filu 144480130 close black lens bracket. Captain Ichimaru is in danger now, we must not sit idly by and watch. People still need to be saved. Although Ichimaru Jin failed, his actions have made his position clear. If only because Ichimaru Jin failed to kill Aizen in the future, he would be ignored. BB, Seirei Igote 13, in the name of justice, will exist in name only. Next. The captain arranged for Zaraki Kenpachi, Bikuya Kuchiki, Unohana Retsu and others to go to Hueco Mundo to rescue Ichimaru Jin. After making a series of plans, the remaining captains continued to return to the conference room and continued to watch what happened in the light curtain. At this moment, whether it's Aizen himself or Ichimaru Jin, and Espada, the Invisible Empire, the Soul King's Palace. Advertisement. Almost everyone was surprised by the reversal in the video. Why is Aizen resurrected? What's next for Ichimaru Jin? Aizen probably won't be able to spare him. Why can't Aizen die? At this moment, countless questions linger in everyone's mind. Everyone focuses their attention on the light curtain in the sky. Can't wait to see how things develop next, within the light curtain. The video continues to play. Oh, boom, I saw a huge Ryatsu light beam gradually dissipating in the screen. Aizen's figure began to appear slowly. The camera slowly began to zoom in at this time, and Aizen's appearance became increasingly clear. At this time, everyone was shocked to find out. Aizen's appearance has undergone tremendous changes. Strictly speaking, a very strange change has occurred. See you. Aizen's hair was disheveled, and there was a huge hole in his chest, shining with blue light. A pair of strange butterfly wings behind him slowly unfolded. Aizen at this time, the whole body exudes extremely powerful pressure. After seeing this scene, almost everyone took a breath. Hiss. Resurrection. Become stronger, a pair of butterfly wings behind you. This look of Aizen, it seems to imply that he has transformed from cocoon into butterfly, reached new heights. Think of this. Many people were immediately surprised. At this time, Aizen slowly raised his head and looked directly at Ichimaru Jin beside him. Then, Aizen smiled evilly. 17, I won. Say it. Aizen slowly raised his arm and waved lightly in the direction of Ichimaru Jin. There is no warning and no fluctuation. Puff. Just heard a muffled sound. Ichimaru Jin hundreds of meters away, blood splattered on the spot. Saw this scene. All the audience were stunned. 137. Aizen. Listen to me, thank you, because of you. 137. Aizen. Listen to me, thank you, because of you. In the sky. Aizen stood like a god, his plain but coercive voice echoing between heaven and earth. It. Plus. Above the ground. Ichimaru Jin's face was filled with shock and disbelief. How can it be? He stared blankly at Aizen in the sky. Then he looked down at the Hogyoku in his hand. Ichimaru Jin fell into confusion and panic. Impossible, I have obviously killed him, me. I saw him being corrupted by his own poison with my own eyes. DJ, Aizen, how could he? Ichimaru Jin looked at the Hogyoku in his hand and couldn't understand it. The one I hit just now must be the real Aizen, and that's right. Because in the hands of Hogyoku, there will be no fake ones. Hateful. Even if Hogyoku is deprived, can I be born again in 800? Aizen, Ichimaru Jin gritted his teeth, feeling very unwilling. Can't figure it out. At this time, Aizen looked at Ichimaru Jin who looked shocked and unwilling, and said calmly. The Hogyoku that you took away, even if it's not in my body, it's already. It belongs to me. Aizen finished speaking. Suddenly, Ichimaru Jin was shocked to find that the blood-stained Hogyoku in his hand suddenly began to glow blue. What happened? At this time, Ichimaru Jin looked at Hogyoku with blue light shining in his hand and felt very uneasy. Wow, that's it. The Hogyoku suddenly shattered into pieces and scattered in Ichimaru Jin's hand. What? Seeing this scene, Ichimaru Jin was stunned. At the same time, Aizen in the sky, his chest suddenly glowed brightly. After a bright light, a blue gem appeared in the middle of Aizen's chest. It is Hogyoku. Ichimaru Jin seems to have figured it out. Aizen's resurrection seems to be precisely because of this Hogyoku. Damn it. Damn it. Looking at Aizen in the sky, Ichimaru Jin is both unwilling and helpless. Countless times. After all, I still didn't expect that Aizen would be resurrected by Hogyoku. Just when Ichimaru Jin was complaining, Aizen, standing in the sky, suddenly slowly raised his right hand. Waved gently in the direction of Ichimaru Jin. Advertisement. Swish raise arm, lower arm. There is no Ryatsu fluctuation, and there is no terrifying aura. Just such a gentle wave in the void. Puff. Suddenly. Hundreds of meters away, Ichimaru Jin's blood splattered on the spot. Watch. Outside the light curtain, Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. ZIS. What kind of weird and terrifying power is this? Just wave it casually from 100 meters away. Almost cut Ichimaru Jin in half. This Aizen's strength is even more terrifying than before. Between barrages. F*K Waller. This is too outrageous. Yamada Hanataro. It's so outrageous. I didn't even see how this guy Aizen used his sword. Captain Ichimaru was hit by a sword? Kira Izuru? Yeah, I don't understand what's going on either. Did anyone see Aizen's attack? Katetsu Izan? Is there a possibility Aizen didn't draw the sword at all? Abarai Renji? Without drawing a sword. With such a slight wave of the arm, Ichimaru Jin was cut like that. This is too scary. Kurosaki Ichigo? Hogyoku. Urahara Kazuki. Is this the power of Hogyoku? No wonder Aizen has been trying to get this thing for so many years. Not only can it be resurrected, but it can also increase its power. This is simply unbelievable. Aizen Naneo. Damn it. Look at that. Aizen has merged Hogyoku and himself into one. In this case, wouldn't he be invincible? Kunamashiro? Aizen. Are you that hard to defeat? Madarei Makaku? Ah, Silver. Matsumoto Rangaku. Seirei, Division 10. Matsumoto Rangaku after seeing the video in the light curtain. Can't help but exclaim, looking at the extremely heavy wound on Ichimaru Jin's body in the light curtain. Matsumoto Rangaku suddenly felt very distressed, and his eyes were covered with mist. She knew that this happened within the light curtain. However, seeing the one you love being severely injured, even the video will make her mood fluctuate constantly. Not to mention, the video in the light curtain is the future of Ichimaru Jin. That's the current situation. Ichimaru Jin's situation is probably not very good. Think of this. Matsumoto Rangaku began to worry. He wonders what will happen to the current Ichimaru Jin. Could it be that he has been poisoned by Aizen, Captain Zaraki, Captain Kuchiki, they? We should have arrived at Hueco Mundo. Matsumoto Rangaku looked at the sky, feeling extremely anxious. There is nothing she can do about Ichimaru Jin's safety. I can only pray that the other captains move quickly enough. Can Ichimaru Jin be saved before Aizen takes action against him? At this moment, looking at the figure of Ichimaru Jin gradually falling in the light curtain, Matsumoto Rangaku finally couldn't help it and cried. What on earth are you doing this for? Advertisement. What purpose makes you put yourself in such danger? Why do you have to do it? At this moment, other viewers, after seeing the video in the light curtain, other than being shocked at Aizen, Ajay, looking at the fallen figure of Ichimaru Jin, I was also sad and moved. This knife goes down. I estimate that there is a high probability that Ichimaru Jin will not survive. Even though he barely survived this attack, not a single round. Aizen will still kill him. At this time, everyone has a feeling. That is, with Aizen fused with Hogyoku, it seems that no one can stop him. A wave of void. It's an invisible slash. This kind of power is vaguely comparable to that of Captain Yamamoto. How many times can Ichimaru Jin be able to block it? At this moment, on the light curtain in the sky, Ichimaru Jin slowly fell. The light curtain did not go out. Obviously, the video hasn't finished playing yet. Then, everyone continued to turn their attention to the light curtain. Within the light curtain, the video continues to play. After Ichimaru Jin was seriously injured, he fell helplessly into a pool of blood. At this time, Aizen came to him with a 2.7 Shunpo. Thank you. Aizen looked indifferently at Ichimaru Jin who was lying on the ground, struggling helplessly. What you did? Let me finally become an existence beyond Shinigami and Hollow. Ichimaru Jin murmured. It seemed like he didn't even have the energy to speak. Saw this scene. Aizen glanced gently at Ichimaru Jin on the ground, turned around with an expressionless face, and was about to leave. Ichimaru Jin no longer poses any threat to him, strictly speaking. His current status, no one can threaten him anymore. However, just when Aizen was about to turn around and leave, Ichimaru Jin stood up suddenly among the ruins. He used his last ounce of strength. He stretched out his arms violently, grabbing the Hogyoku on Aizen's chest. 138. Ichimaru Jin's memories, hidden motives for hundreds of years. 138. Ichimaru Jin's memories, the motives that have been hidden for hundreds of years. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin, lying in the ruins, looked at the figure who was about to turn around and leave. He used up his last bit of strength and stood up. He rushed in front of Aizen and grabbed the Hogyoku on Aizen's chest. Snort. Seeing this scene, Aizen snorted. Then, he took a step back, stretched out his hand, and grabbed Ichimaru Jin's pale arm. Poof! There was only a sound of flesh and blood cracking. Ichimaru Jin's entire arm was torn off alive by Aizen. DBA. Ichimaru Jin suddenly felt a sharp pain, and his body's strength had reached its limit. At this time, Aizen came for a moment. Ichimaru Jin could no longer control his body and fell forward feebly. Kato. Aizen didn't stop there. Puff, another muffled sound was heard. Aizen used the Zanpakuto in his hand to penetrate Ichimaru Jin's chest directly. Thank you for everything, Silver. At this time, Aizen said calmly. As you can see, I discovered 19 Hogyoku before Urahara Kazuki. Looking at Ichimaru Jin who was so angry, Aizen said to himself without caring. I wanted to finish Hogyoku before him, but I failed. In order to complete Hogyoku, hundreds of Shinigami and the souls of hundreds of Rukongai residents with Shinigami-like talents were swallowed into Hogyoku. But Hogyoku was never satisfied, even if it is the fusion of two unfinished Hogyoku. I haven't given myself more power, speaking of which. Aizen used the Zanpakuto in his hand to lift Ichimaru Jin's body to the side. Thrown to the ground heavily, then, he continued. Just now, you made me realize that evolution requires terror. It was the fear in my heart just now that made me instinctively have the original desire to become stronger. FFFFLX. Thank you. Silver. Aizen looked down at Ichimaru Jin lying among the ruins. At this time, Ichimaru Jin only had the strength to barely open his eyes. Advertisement, no matter what you did for me before. It's still what I did just now. I finally became an existence beyond Shinigami and Hollow. Speaking of which, tread, Aizen raised one foot and stepped hard on Ichimaru Jin's chest. Then he said with a playful look, BB. Let you break into pieces and die without pain. Just consider it my repayment. Say it. Aizen raised his feet again, and suddenly a powerful Ryotsu began to be released. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin fell to the ground and felt Aizen's powerful Ryotsu wave. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. After Aizen's move, I guess his own will really be wiped out. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin felt a mixture of emotions in his heart, including unwillingness, bitterness, helplessness, and more importantly, a sense of loss. 14. I couldn't even get back what Rangaku lost. I'm really unwilling to do so. Think of this. Ichimaru Jin closed his eyes and waited for Aizen's foot to fall. Righto. At this time, Ichimaru Jin suddenly felt a familiar Ryotsu running towards here quickly. Silver. A sad cry echoed through the sky. Subsequently, Matsumoto Rangaku's figure appears on the screen. At this moment, watching the swooping Matsumoto Rangaku, there was a trace of fluctuation in Ichimaru Jin's eyes. Open black lens bracket 013403415 Filu 144480410 close black lens bracket. B. The picture in the light curtain suddenly changed. Memories of Ichimaru Jin started playing, BG. Outside the light curtain, after everyone watched this series of videos. For a while, there was a surge of complicated emotions in my heart. After all, what Ichimaru Jin did shocked people so deeply. Because in the beginning, almost all the captains, including the Shinigami of Seirei, have a very bad impression of Ichimaru Jin. Indifferent, cunning, ruthless, insidious. This is the impression Ichimaru Jin gives. Advertisement B. In the end, no one could have imagined that he would bear the humiliation and stay by Aizen's side for hundreds of years. Think of this. Everyone couldn't help but sigh. Lurking for hundreds of years, hiding Bankai. Find out the secret of Kyoka Suigetsu and kill Aizen at the last moment. Unexpectedly, this series of plans not only failed to succeed, but actually made Aizen stronger. This may be fate, a huge joke played on Ichimaru Jin. Between barrages. Huh. I have to say, I can't stand it anymore, Omaeda. Captain Ichimaru, Kira Izuru. Oh. This Ichimaru Jin is really miserable. Who can save him, Inoue or Hime? Sigh. Although it makes him uncomfortable to look at, the fact is that with Aizen's current strength, no one can save him. Kurosaki Ichigo? Damn it. Why is this happening? Why did Hogyoku let Aizen evolve? Abarai Renji. The power of Hogyoku is to realize one's innermost thoughts. In fact, it was Ichimaru Jin's blow that made Aizen feel the fear of death. It was this strong desire that allowed Hogyoku to resurrect Aizen. Alas. I did not expect such an ending. Urahara Kazuki. Is Captain Ichimaru really going to die this time? His memories seem to have begun to play in the light curtain. Aizen Naneo. I really want to know what Captain Ichimaru has experienced in 127, Yumachika Ryurikawa. At this moment, after everyone discussed in the barrage room, he began to focus on the light curtain again. Actually, from beginning to end, Ichimaru Jin's motives for what he did were almost never figured out. He is obviously a talented boy, Shinigami. Why would he follow Aizen since he was a child? Under Aizen's control, he did all kinds of bad things? Although, Ichimaru Jin did this probably to gain Aizen's trust, too. However, he gained Aizen's trust and lurked beside Aizen for so many years. Asterisk asterisk. What is it for? Is it just to think that Aizen is a heinous B asterisk 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 D? Based on his simple sense of justice, he wanted to use undercover methods to eradicate Aizen? Not very realistic, it's simply impossible, think of this. Everyone was even more confused, because they really can't understand what kind of motives Ichimaru Jin could have. To protect Matsumoto Rangaku? And to protect the Seirei from being destroyed? TXJ. Things are definitely not that simple. Think of this. Everyone raised their heads and focused their attention on the light curtain again. They want to see it. Memories of Ichimaru Jin played next. What answer will be given, at this moment, within the light curtain? The video continues to play. 139. Is this his motive? It's too depressing. 139. Is this his motive? It's too depressing, at this moment. Everyone looked at Ichimaru Jin who had fallen into a pool of blood in the light curtain. While guessing his motives for doing all this, I saw the scene change in the light curtain. The memory of Ichimaru Jin started playing, hundreds of years ago. East Rukongai, District 62. In the picture, an orange-haired girl was lying weakly on the ground. It can be seen from the appearance characteristics. This is Matsumoto Rangaku as a child. Matsumoto Rangaku at this time. His face was covered with sewage, and his clothes were in tatters from head to toe. There was no clean place. Life seems to be very difficult. She looked as if she hadn't eaten in a long time. At this time, a dirty little hand suddenly appeared in the video. Here, eat. At the same time, a clear and childish boy's voice came. Asterisk. Hear sounds. Matsumoto Rangaku, who was almost fainting from hunger, reluctantly opened his eyes. What catches the eye is a yellow-brown persimmon. There is also a boy with silver hair. This is a persimmon, you can eat it. The silver-haired boy saw Matsumoto Rangaku's hesitation and explained again. After a voracious meal, Matsumoto Rangaku regained some strength. She thanked the young man in front of her several times. Righto. The silver-haired boy just waved his hand slightly. Then prepared to leave. Seeing the boy leaving, Matsumoto Rangaku asked quickly. May I have your name? Hear this. Ichimaru Jin stopped and looked back at Matsumoto Rangaku. In the deep black eyes, there was a trace of caution and a trace of hesitation. However, he finally spoke, Silver. After hearing the answer, Matsumoto Rangaku murmured. Then, she smiled slightly and continued, what a nice name. Since then, Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku, two helpless people, lived together. In East Rukongai, supplies are relatively scarce and the entire region is relatively poor and backward. FIFFLX. When Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku were children, their lives were relatively difficult. Fortunately, the two of them can rely on each other and face life together. However, good times don't last long, just one day. Ichimaru Jin was collecting dead branches in the forest as usual. With his extremely keen senses, he could not hear the movement not far away. Subsequently, Ichimaru Jin carefully opened the branches and leaves on the side and looked up at the clearing in the forest. After seeing the scene in the forest, Ichimaru Jin's pupils shrank on the spot. Advertisement. All I saw was a clearing in the forest. Several Shinigami are using some means to extract fragments of another person's soul. At this time, another figure flashed out, and the Shinigami quickly saluted upon seeing this. That's their head. Ichimaru Jin, who witnessed all this, analyzed it secretly. He looked at the man carefully. He has black frames, brown hair, and a green-handled zanpakuto on his waist. Through conversations between several people, he heard the name of this person, Aizen. Subsequently, several Shinigami in Death Tyrant costumes, and Aizen stopped for a while. Then he cast Shunpo and left the clearing in the forest. After Ichimaru Jin confirmed that everyone had left, he slowly stood up. Curiosity drives him. He wanted to see it. Who is that poor man lying in the clearing? So what did those people do? Zanto, when Ichimaru Jin slowly approaches. At this time, he was surprised to find someone lying on the ground. It is the person who has always been with me, Matsumoto Rangaku. After seeing this scene, Ichimaru Jin suddenly opened his eyes in disbelief. From now on, Ichimaru Jin is taciturn, except for occasionally smiling at Matsumoto Rangaku. Other times, they all have a cold look, me. Matsumoto Rangaku also discovered that Ichimaru Jin would always be in a daze with his head raised and looking in the direction of Seirei. She at that time. I don't know what Ichimaru Jin is thinking. Just like that, some time passed. One night, the wind is biting and the snow is falling heavily. A cold wind blew Matsumoto Rangaku awake from his sleep on the wooden bed. FTE. After waking up, Matsumoto Rangaku found that Ichimaru Jin was no longer around. Soon, she saw the half-open door and 10 footsteps in the snow. With doubts, surprise and confusion, Matsumoto Rangaku put on a piece of clothing and immediately followed the footprints in a hurry into the heavy snow. Where are you, Silver? Matsumoto Rangaku shouted loudly while running wildly in his footsteps. The strong wind drowned out her voice, BBY. Heavy snow also covered Ichimaru Jin's steps. Under the black night, Matsumoto Rangaku was extremely anxious. He neither heard any response nor saw Ichimaru Jin. Matsumoto Rangaku sat on the snow, unconscious, just as she was about to turn around and return to the hut. Ichimaru Jin appears holding a torch. Silver. Matsumoto Rangaku was surprised and happy. She quickly stood up and walked towards Ichimaru Jin. I thought you left me. Where did your death body tyranny come from? Advertisement. However, just after Matsumoto Rangaku approached, she suddenly discovered that Ichimaru Jin was actually wearing Shinigami clothes. Ichimaru Jin glanced at Matsumoto Rangaku with a complicated expression and said, I made a decision. I'm going to be a Shinigami. Shinigami? Hearing this, Matsumoto Rangaku was startled. She didn't understand why Ichimaru Jin suddenly made such a decision. Moreover, it seems that this matter has been concealed for a long time. At this time, Ichimaru Jin resisted his impulse and refused to look at Matsumoto Rangaku's face. He turned around slowly and continued to speak, after becoming Shinigami. I will change all that. In this case, Rangaku, there's no need to cry anymore. Silver. With Matsumoto Rangaku's cry that traveled through time and space. In the light curtain. At this time, the screen changed and the video switched to the current time. Ichimaru Jin lay among the rubble, he looked at Matsumoto Rangaku who was jumping towards him. There was a hint of bitterness in the corner of his mouth, and he muttered to himself. Finally, I still haven't been able to get back what was taken away from you. Matsumoto Rangaku feels that Ichimaru Jin's Ryotsu is gradually fading away. Suddenly, she lost control of her emotions and threw herself on Ichimaru Jin's chest and cried loudly. Outside the light curtain, after everyone watched the entire memory of Ichimaru Jin. For a while, many people, those who won the king, have very complicated feelings. There are emotions, sadness, tears, and regrets. At this moment, everyone was affected by Matsumoto Rangaku's grief. For a while, everyone thinks Aizen is even more disgusting. At the same time, they also didn't expect that Ichimaru Jin had hidden his motives for Aizen for hundreds of years. It turned out to be just to retrieve part of Matsumoto Rangaku's soul. However, they didn't want Ichimaru Jin to end up like this. Oh my god, Wotong, after everyone saw his face clearly, they were all stunned. Let Matsumoto Rangaku stop crying, everyone knows that no one can stop Aizen. This is recognition, Kurosaki Ichigo. I don't hope that Ichimaru Jin, which has been hidden for hundreds of years, will end in tragedy. In the light curtain, a figure wearing a Death Tyrant uniform suddenly appeared. This is too depressing, at this moment. At this time, the audience looked at the light curtain at this moment. 140. Kurosaki Ichigo, Aizen, I will kill you instantly. 140. Kurosaki Ichigo, Aizen, I will kill you instantly. Just what everyone did to Ichimaru Jin, when I feel a little mood. Everyone looked at Aizen in the light curtain. At the same time, I also felt a sense of despair. With Aizen's current power, no one can stop him, Rado. At this time, wow, a figure appeared on the screen without warning. Aizen in the light screen was obviously surprised by the sudden appearance. At this moment, everyone looked towards that figure. I saw the man in black clothes and a black robe, holding a slender black blade in his hand. He has orange hair and is easily identifiable. This is it. Kurosaki Ichigo. After everyone saw Kurosaki Ichigo's face clearly, they were all stunned. FTB, wasn't it already killed by Ichimaru Jin? Oh no. Ichimaru Jin was an undercover agent, and at that time, he must have been merciful to Kurosaki Ichigo. Where has this guy Kurosaki Ichigo been after all this time? What is he going to do when he comes back at this time? Are you here to defeat Aizen? Looking at the light curtain, everyone became more and more puzzled. At this time, Aizen looked at Kurosaki Ichigo in front of him with a surprised look on his face. You really are Kurosaki. Aizen. However, Kurosaki Ichigo did not wait for Aizen to finish speaking. Just interrupted him directly. It's time for a showdown. Kurosaki Ichigo looked at Aizen and said seriously. Let's start. I will kill you instantly. Wotong. What? Outside the light curtain, after everyone heard Kurosaki Ichigo's words, they immediately became uneasy. $71,000, Kurosaki Ichigo's tone is not small. Just say you want to kill Aizen instantly? This guy Kurosaki Ichigo disappeared during this period of time. What kind of cheat are you going to practice again? What kind of substitute was summoned again? Zanto. Just when everyone was looking forward to the next battle. The light curtain suddenly went out at this moment. Between barrages. Wow, did you make a mistake? Why did it suddenly turn off at such a critical moment, Omaeda? Advertisement, I'm used to it, Yumachika Ray Leikawa. In that case, is the encyclopedia of Ichimaru Jin, an undercover agent for 100 years, completely over? Naneo eyes? Yes, Captain Ichimaru is already like that, can it be over, Kiraizuru? I never thought that Captain Ichimaru's purpose of hiding for 100 years was to help Miss Rangaku find a lost thing. Yamada Hanataro? Yes, it was so touching to see the memories of Captain Ichimaru, Katetsu Izan. He really, I cried to death, Kuna Mashiro. I just didn't expect that the one who showed up to fight Aizen in the end was Ichigo, Ishida Uryu. Yes, Kurosaki-san's temperament is completely different, and her hair has grown longer, Inoue or Hime. Looking at Ichigo's tone, he seems to have become a lot stronger, Muguruma Kensei. Karakura Town, Kurosaki Ichigo's house, becoming stronger again? At this time, Hiyori curled her lips when she saw the barrage posted by Muguruma Kensei. Hey, Kwangshi. Stop pretending to be serious, how did you know that Ichigo has become stronger? He looked at Hiyori who looked curious. Muguruma Kensei smiled proudly, wondering what he was trying to do. After being slapped twice hard by Hiyori with the compromise, he immediately became honest. Stop, I said. Muguruma Kensei raised his hands in a gesture of surrender. Well, it was so unlucky that he had no choice but to meet such a shrew like Hiyori. There is no chance even if you want to show off, think of this. Muguruma Kensei continued. Actually, the reason has just been explained by Inoue or Hime. Hearing this, Inoue or Hime looked confused. Yes. Muguruma Kensei continued. You also said that Ichigo's hair has grown a lot. Based on the video of Ichigo played in the light curtain before. Every time Ichigo's hair grows longer, it becomes more powerful. Especially that time at Bullhead Hollow. Muguruma Kensei's words made everyone present twitch their lips. 19. What this guy said makes sense. there is no way to refute. Kurosaki Ichigo on the side was also holding his head with his hands at this time. The members of the Masked Legion were having fun, which gave him a headache. At this time, he carefully recalled the scene in which he appeared in the light, BFAH, just now. The hair has indeed grown longer, but beyond that, my Zanpakuto has also undergone great changes. Most importantly, the look on his face didn't have that tone. Like myself at that moment, it's like having the ability to kill Aizen directly. The person who successfully stops Aizen in the future is himself. Think of this. Advertisement. Kurosaki Ichigo suddenly felt a little incredible and unbelievable. He looked up at the curtain of light in the sky. The light curtain has been completely extinguished at this time, and I don't know when it will light up again. Next, was Ichimaru Jin saved by himself? Will you broadcast your battle with Aizen? At this moment, Kurosaki Ichigo has these questions. His eyes were constantly staring at the extinguished light curtain in the sky, looking forward to the next lighting up of the light curtain. Seirei, the chief's room, Kurosaki Ichigo? At this moment, when the captains saw the last scene where Kurosaki Ichigo appeared, they all looked shocked. Before this, when the memory of Ichimaru Jin was played on the light screen, everyone in the hall felt a little moved by Ichimaru Jin's actions. Ichimaru Jin's motive for going undercover is not to act like a hero, but to sacrifice himself for the sake of justice and to protect a certain place. Although he did this, it was just for one person. However, often the simpler the motivation, the more respectable and very real it is. Call. At this time, Hitsugaya Toshiro sighed, and then he said, I hope Captain Zaraki, Captain Kuchiki and others can bring Captain Ichimaru back. Hear this. The other captains were silent. Actually, they understand that several captains went to Hueco Mundo to rescue Ichimaru Jin. It cannot be said that it will not succeed. 18. Relatively speaking, the chance of success is very slim. Not to mention whether Ichimaru Jin would have been killed by Aizen at this time. Just look at the video that was just played in the light curtain. Aizen seems to be able to revive and evolve with the help of Hogyoku's power. This is outrageous. Although they believe that Captain Zaraki, Yuno Hanaretsu, and Bikuya Kuchiki seem to be able to work together to fight Aizen, because they already know how to break Kyoka Suigetsu, there is still a slight chance of winning Hueco Mundo somewhere. Think of this. Once Aizen and Hogyoku merge, it will be completely immune to death. Lin Chuan concentrated his mind and felt the nearby Ryotsu. All the captains looked in the direction of the boundary gate. It's not as dark as expected. Although the land is dark, there are blue sky and white clouds created by Aizen in the sky. A lot of people are coming. Lin Chuan ducked away in a certain direction. But then, silently waiting for the return of several captains. Now there's something good to watch. A flash of light flashed, and Lin Chuan's figure appeared on the black land. Is this Hueco Mundo? Say it. Who? After standing firm, Lin Chuan glanced at the surrounding scene. 7DH-141. Captain of First Generation, the Terror of Yuno Hanaretsu. 141. First Generation Captain, Yuno Hanaretsu's Terror. Inside Hueco Mundo. After Lin Chuan felt Ryotsu for a while, he regained his mind. Ho, a lot of people are coming, it's really exciting now. Say it. Lin Chuan ducked away in a certain direction. A few minutes later, Lin Chuan came to the other side of the virtual circle. He saw several figures using Shunpo and rushing towards a certain direction. It was the Shinigami captains sent by Seirei to rescue Ichimaru Jin. On this trip, a total of 6 people came. Bikuya Kuchiki, Zaraki Kenpachi, Naeri, Yuno Hanaretsu. They are all captain level. He was accompanied by 2 vice captains, Rukia Kuchiki and Aburai Renji. At this time, Lin Chuan hid his Ryotsu and followed these people. With his current strength, as long as he doesn't want to reveal any clues, no one can find his traces. Including Aizen. After Lin Chuan saw these people clearly, he felt a trace of doubt in his heart. If he remembered correctly, in Shinigami's original work, it seems that the same people came to Hueco Mundo to support Kurosaki Ichigo. Asterisk. Although my light curtain has changed a lot of the future, there are still many things that are exactly the same as the original development. Thinking here, Lin Chuan looked at the people walking forward and began to analyze. This time I came to Hueco Mundo. In fact, it can be said to make up for some small regrets in the Shinigami world. What Ichimaru Jin did brought great shock and regret to Blue Star himself at the time. That's why Lin Chuan considered coming here to rescue Ichimaru Jin. However, this will also mean that one's own existence will be exposed. Now just in time, Seirei sent someone to Hueco Mundo. In this case, you can save the silver that has returned to the market at the right time without having to step in. It can be said that it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. But the question is, will these people be Aizen's opponents? Think of this. Lin Chuan looked at the people walking forward. Aburai Renji and Rukia Kuchiki are not worth mentioning. Byakuya Kuchiki's words. The fighting ability is far from as cool as his Bankai. Baby Nirvana, this guy is not suitable for frontal combat. On the other hand, this guy Zaraki Kenpachi is a bit outrageous. His ability is like a plug-in. At last, Lin Chuan felt a little relieved after seeing Yuno Hanaretsu. Sister Wa, although in the minds of most people, is an auxiliary medical presence. But Lin Chuan knows how awesome this guy is. First generation Gode 13, the ultimate killer, fighting female madman. Thinking of Unohana Retsu, Lin Chuan felt a chill. Advertisement, if you say so. Maybe these people can really save Ichimaru Jin. After Lin Chuan analyzed it for a while, he suddenly became interested. Even if you are idle, why not follow along and have fun? Subsequently, he quietly used Shunpo and followed behind everyone. This side, the captains of the Hueco Mundo rescue team. At this time, while feeling Ryotsu, he continued to move towards the direction of Kaiwanai Palace where Aizen was. Wait a minute. At this time, Unohana Retsu said suddenly. Hearing the sound, several other people stopped and looked at Unohana Retsu in front of them with confusion. I don't know why she stopped suddenly. Should we make a plan? Plan? Zaraki Kenpachi was stunned when he heard this. In his fighting style, he always kills people when he sees them. How can he make a plan before fighting? Captain Unohana, do you have any ideas? On the other side, Miyubikuya asked. Facing the doubtful looks of several people, Unohana Retsu coughed lightly and roughly stated what he was thinking. The meaning is very simple, because before, the video of Aizen defeating several captains was played in the light curtain. Therefore, she felt that several people should pay special attention to the power of Aizen, Kyoka Suigetsu. In case when the time comes, Ichimaru Jin is not rescued, but they are trapped there. The plan is also simple. It is to use the method of cracking Kyoka Suigetsu that Ichimaru Jin mentioned before in the light curtain. Try your best to touch Aizen's blade first, and then attack Aizen with all your strength. To avoid being fooled by the power of Kyoka Suigetsu and hurting your own people. Hear this. Several other people nodded, thinking that what Unohana Retsu said made sense. They recalled the severely injured Hinamori Momo in Aizen's video, and they suddenly felt that they must not be careless when facing Aizen. Next, several people discussed some details of the plan, such as who is responsible for the attack, who is responsible for the support, who is responsible for the rescue, etc. After everything was confirmed, the group set off again, heading non-stop in the direction of Aizen. Open black lens bracket 013403415 Filu 144490190 close black lens bracket. Righto. Just when a few people moved on less than halfway. Sudden. An extremely tall man stood in front of them. Yo, when did a few rats get in here? Hey, I'm feeling bored right now. Hear this. Lin Chuan, who was hiding aside, raised his head and looked in the direction of the sound. I found that the person standing in front of everyone was not someone else. It was the 10th Espada, Yami Largo. Advertisement Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. After the video in the light curtain has finished playing. Aizen was both excited and surprised at the same time. Excitedly, he saw the transformation of his power and the evolution of his own dimension in the light curtain. Since 100 years ago, he has been pursuing power beyond Shinigami and Hollow. And within the light curtain, in the future, I actually realized this vision through collapse. Even though Aizen has always kept his emotions secret. I was very excited at this time, at this time. I already feel a little indifferent about Ichimaru Jin's betrayal. As Aizen himself said in the light screen, without Ichimaru Jin's blow, he probably would not have evolved. At this time, Aizen felt a few familiar strands of Ryotsu emerge from the Hueco Mundo. Oh, after feeling Ryotsu, Aizen was a little surprised, but after thinking about it carefully, it was expected. Next. After Ichimaru Jin's identity was exposed by the light curtain. Gode 13 will never leave Ichimaru Jin behind in Hueco Mundo for any reason. This is Seirei's face problem, think of this. Aizen glanced at Ichimaru Jin who was sealed by him. A few old acquaintances are here. At this time, Ichimaru Jin has been sealed by Bakudo number 99 Ryotsu. I can't feel any Ryotsu fluctuations at all. When he heard Aizen's words, he was startled for a moment, then closed his eyes and ignored Aizen. See this scene. Aizen smiled and turned around. Looking in the direction of the Shinigami captains, I began to think about how to respond. From Ryotsu, he already knew which captains were coming. He doesn't pay attention to other people, Only Unohana Retsu and that Zaraki Kenpachi are more difficult to deal with. Although he has the ability of Kyoka Suigetsu, the secret of deciphering Kyoka Suigetsu has been made public. It's still a bit tricky if they use this against themselves. Of course, Aizen is very confident that with his strength he will not be defeated by these people. However, if a fight really breaks out, it will be difficult for him to escape for a while. The fusion between himself and Hogyoku has reached the final stage. It's just a little bit closer to completion. He didn't want any accidents to happen at this time. Let those Arankars have some fun with them first. Think of this. Aizen made up his mind, BF. Aizen puts his mind on another person, Kurosaki Ichigo. 142. Espada's real ranking is 0 to 9. 142. The real ranking of Espada is 0 to 9. Let those Arankar play with them first. After thinking for a moment, Aizen made up his mind. Subsequently, he asked Tusen Kanami on the side to inform Espada and others. As for himself, Shiguo's thoughts turned to another person. Kurosaki Ichigo, after just watching the video in the light curtain. Aizen felt a little surprised. He was surprised not only by seeing himself in the light screen, but also by the fact that after being defeated by Ichimaru Jin, he was resurrected through Hogyoku and became stronger. Even more surprising was the appearance of Kurosaki Ichigo. Admittedly, from the beginning, Aizen knew that the energy of Kurosaki Ichigo was definitely not simple. He not only has the power of the Quincy in his body, but also the power of the Hollow, and even the power of the Shinigami. Through the previous videos, Aizen can also see that the growth rate of this Kurosaki Ichigo is also very rapid. It can be said that the growth of Kurosaki Ichigo far exceeded Aizen's plans and expectations. But, these are all within Aizen's control. 623. What he didn't expect was that at the last moment in the light curtain, Kurosaki Ichigo appeared. The strong confidence he shows, Aizen, I will kill you instantly. Recalling Kurosaki Ichigo's words, Aizen was a little surprised. In the previous video, when Kurosaki Ichigo was fighting with himself, he was still very shocked, helpless and confused. But for some reason, it seemed like he had experienced something. Kurosaki Ichigo's aura has become so determined and confident. Think of this. Aizen was a little confused. He felt that Kurosaki Ichigo was likely to be his biggest enemy in the future. You must upgrade your abilities to a stronger level before you attack Seirei. Think of this. Aizen felt the degree of integration of Hogyoku in his body. It seems it will take a while, Aizen muttered. Now Ichimaru Jin has been imprisoned by himself. In the future, Ichimaru Jin will kill himself and then let himself evolve. It seems to have been changed, in this case. It seems that he has to make other efforts to improve his own strength. Say it. He looked in the direction of the Hueco Mundo Shinigami captains. These people are good stepping stones. I already have a plan in mind. At this time, Hueco Mundo, another Hueco. Several Shinigami captains were blocked by Yami on their way to Suya Palace. At this moment, all the captains looked at each other, obviously not expecting that the plan had already faced an accident before it even started. Unohana Retsu also looked embarrassed at this time. He came up with the plan, and fought Aizen based on the plan. But Espada was ignored. Advertisement now that the enemy has appeared, let's start killing. Hello. Big guy. Abarai Renji looked at Yami standing in front of him and said. Are you planning to fight the six of us alone? Hear this? Yami picked her ears. What did you say? Do we need anyone else to get rid of you bugs? Abarai Renji was very angry when he heard this. However, just when he was about to continue his verbal abuse. Swish swish swish, in an instant, several more figures appeared in front of several people. Oh, at this time. On the other side, Lin Chuan, who was hiding on one side, looked at the people who appeared and became interested. I didn't expect that all Espada personnel would be mobilized. As he spoke, Lin Chuan looked forward. He unexpectedly discovered that the figures in front of him were the Espadas in Aizen's hands. Urakiora, Grimjow, Araniero Rururi, Neutra Gilga. Except for number 1 Arankar Coyote Stark and number 2 Arankar Baragan Louisenbairn, they did not come. Almost all the other members are here, interesting. Looking at all the villains in front of him, Lin Chuan smiled. This time it's 8 versus 6, 1. Seirei Shinigami's side is still at a disadvantage. However, for Lin Chuan, whether it's Seirei's side or Aizen Espada's side, he doesn't have any feelings, or he won't take the initiative to help anyone. On the one hand, it is that I am not suitable to come forward at the moment. Because once he appears, he will be involved in Uzumaki in this Shinigami world. There will be countless troubles in the future, this time, if it weren't for making up for the regrets of my childhood in Blue Star. He will not interfere in any battle in the Shinigami world. Isn't it good to just be a happy person? If anyone who is short-sighted offends him, he will never tolerate anyone. Think of this. Lin Chuan found a stone and sat down. Don't worry about saving Ichimaru Jin, he has already sensed that this guy Ichimaru Jin is still alive. Now, why not watch the battle and have some fun, at this moment? Seirei's Shinigami and Hueco Mundo's Espada were in a stalemate for several seconds. After a few trash talk at each other at the same time, the battle started without hesitation. This time the battle. Neither the 3rd Espada Tier Harebell nor the 4th Espada Urakiora made any move, they just stayed aside quietly. On the contrary, number 5 to number 10 had a very strong desire to fight. After each found their own target, they started fighting mode. Advertisement. While watching the excitement, Lin Chuan was surprised to find. Their respective opponents are all very interesting. Rukia Kuchiki vs Araniero Rururi, Bikuya Kuchikiv's Zamari Ruro. The other side. Baby Nirvana got into a fight with Zael Aporo Grants. Both men are Frankensteins. Zaraki Kenpachi's Neutra Gilga, the battle between these two has been played before. Maybe Neutra felt a little unconvinced, so after seeing Zaraki Kenpachi. Without saying anything, the fight started, at this time. Lin Chuan looked at the people fighting in Hueco Mundo and found it very interesting. Both sides of the battle are exactly the same as in the Shinigami plot. Whether it was the Espadas the two Kuchikis were fighting against, or other captains. The people you fight are all the same as in the plot. Asterisk. Although the light curtain has changed the future, it still hasn't changed the direction of some of the plots. Lin Chuan murmured while watching the battle with interest. There are also special circumstances, for example, this guy Grimjow. The target he chose to fight turned out to be Sister Hua. Lin Chuan couldn't help but twitch his lips after seeing this scene. Zhe Laoliu, you are really 6, you said it's not good for you to offend anyone, but why did you offend her? As for Shinigami, the unlucky one is Abarai Renji. Although Abarai Renji sounds strong, he is quite self-aware of his own strength. especially after seeing himself being beaten by Byakuya Kuchiki in the light screen. At the same time, after seeing those cheating battles in the light curtain, I felt that there were too many cheats in this Shinigami world. 3.3. F. No doubt, then you won't look like you're too useless. After seeing this, Lin Chuan was extremely happy. There should still be a chance to win. Although Abarai Renji is not that smart, he is not stupid either. In this case, but 0 to 9. Espada's ranking is not 1 to 10. Think of this. Zabumaru, Raito. Abarai Renji swung his Zanpakuto at Yami without hesitation. Without hesitation, he projected Abarai Renji's battle to the Minister of Light Curtain. What Abarai Renji didn't expect was, if you fight this big guy yourself. Among the few people who came, Espada was the weakest in combat ability. Roar. When he saw Yami, the big guy in front of him, who was the Espada, he jumped into the fight with him without hesitation. 143. The strongest Espada number 0, from Shinigami Territory Encyclopedia. 143. Shinigami Territory Encyclopedia's strongest Espada number 0. After seeing this, Lin Chuan was extremely happy. Without hesitation, he projected Abarai Renji's battle into the light curtain. I saw. The light curtain in the sky suddenly lit up. At this moment, a curtain of light suddenly lights up in the sky. It immediately attracted everyone's attention, everyone at this time. There are still many people who are still discussing Ichimaru Jin, the resurrection of Aizen, the final appearance of Kurosaki Ichigo, etc. Because the last video shocked everyone so much, at this moment. Almost everyone looked at the light curtain eagerly. Everyone wants to know what kind of video will be played next. What will happen to Aizen in the end? Is Ichimaru Jin dead? Did Kurosaki Ichigo defeat Aizen and save Ichimaru Jin? Can Kurosaki Ichigo kill Aizen instantly? What kind of video will be played next? Just when everyone was discussing and looking forward to the next video. In the light curtain, lines of large golden characters began to appear. Open black lens bracket playing is about to start. Close black lens bracket, Shinigami Territory Encyclopedia. The strongest Espada number 0. This video is broadcast live 15, plus, number 0? After seeing this line of text, many people were confused. The strongest Espada, hasn't it already been played? Why is this playing again, etc.? What the hell is the strongest Espada number 0? Isn't the strongest one among Espada number 1 Coyote Stark? 73. What is this live broadcast, between barrages? After everyone saw these lines of subtitles, they immediately started a heated discussion. Huh? This is the strongest Espada, not number 1? Why did a number 0 suddenly appear? Hisagi Shuhei? Yeah, what the hell is this number 0? Yumachika Rikawa. I remember that Espada number 0 did not appear in the previous videos. Moreover, I have seen number 10. He is a big guy. Yamada Hanataro. I remember too. Are there not only 10 Espadas? There is also an 11th? Katetsu Izan? I'll go. It's okay. Then why not call it 11 blades instead of Espada? Aizen Naneo. Is there a possibility that this number 0 is Aizen? Muguruma Kensei? I think it's more likely that Aizen has hidden an Espada as his trump card, Hiriko Shinji. By the way, this video is actually live broadcast, Kiraiziru. Live broadcast. Could it be Captain Zaraki and the others' live battle video in Hueco Mundo, Omaeda? At this moment, Shinigami of Seirei, after seeing a few words in the live broadcast. Thinking again, Zaraki Kenpachi, Byakuya Kuchiki and others went to Hueco Mundo to rescue Ichimaru Jin's departure. Moment. Now you understand the importance of this live broadcast. Seirei, the chief's room. Yeah, is there such a thing as live broadcast? Advertisement. Kiraku Shunsui was very surprised when he saw the subtitles on the light screen. At the same time, he also became interested, at this time. In the hall, there were only a few captains left behind at Seirei. Yamamoto Genryu Sai Shigekuni, Sui Feng, Hitsugaya Dashiro, Komamura Sajin, Jashiro Yugataki. Yamamoto Genryu Sai Shigekuni looked at the words, live broadcast, and relaxed his brows slightly. From Zaraki Kenpachi they left Seirei and headed for Hueco Mundo. It's already been a day. Currently, Seirei has not received any news from them. If you say you're not worried, that's a lie, especially after the video of Aizen being resurrected through Hogyoku was played in the light curtain. Not just Captain Yamamoto. The other captains in Seirei, as well as the Shinigami, began to worry about the captains who went to Hueco Mundo to rescue Ichimaru Jin. Aizen's strength is really outrageous. Everyone is worried about the people who went to Hueco Mundo to rescue them. Don't let Ichimaru Jin be saved. On the contrary, it was the rescue team who was defeated by Aizen. That's really a waste of money. Fifelex. When all the Shinigami in Jingling Ting saw these words broadcast live. I was surprised by the ability of the light curtain, but also felt very lucky. No matter how, at least now we can see the rescue team's situation through the light curtain. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. Oh, live? After Aizen saw the subtitles in the light screen, he looked a little surprised. He did not expect that this light curtain could not only play pictures of the past and future. It can actually play the current picture. Interesting. Aizen chuckled softly. If you think about it carefully, the light curtain can play the current scene. In fact, it is reasonable. After all, it is a magical object that can play back the past in the inner world of others. Is there anything it can't do? Think of this. Aizen raised his head and carefully looked at the light curtain suspended in the sky. With his current strength, he still can't see how this light curtain is formed. Whose hand did it come from? But think of what this light curtain is capable of. Aizen looked very envious. If he could master this light curtain, that would be more interesting. Exit. When I evolve to a higher level of existence, I can penetrate this light curtain. Think of this. Aizen is even more urgent about evolution. At this moment, including Kurosaki Ichigo et al., Urahara Kazuki. There are also Espada and several people from the rescue team who are fighting in Hueco Mundo. Advertisement. Everyone saw the subtitles in the light curtain. Right under the spotlight. In the light curtain, the Golden University began to slowly dissipate. The screen has also started to play. In the first scene of the video, the scene of Hueco Mundo appeared. The black earth and the sky are artificially created by Aizen, a scene of blue sky and white clouds. At this time, the screen starts to zoom in. On the ground, dozens of people were fighting. As the picture continued to get closer, everyone slowly saw the faces of both sides in the battle clearly. Byakuya Kuchiki, Zaraki Kenpachi, Abarai Renji, Yami Largo, Grimjow Jaeger. Is it really live? Looking at the light curtain? Abarai Renji is a bit unbelievable. Then, while looking up at the light curtain, he waved his hand. Then, he was surprised 087 to find that he actually made the same action in the light curtain. Wow, it's really a live broadcast. Abarai Renji was stunned. This was the first time he had seen this kind of thing. Peeved. Has this guy always been this stupid? Yumachika Ryurikawa? Haha. This isn't the first day you've met this idiot, Madarei Mikaku? At this time, Abarai Renji saw two light curtains floating past the light curtain of the live broadcast. Hello. I saw it. After seeing the barrage, Abarai Renji had a dark look on his face. Good guy, there are those who curse people in front of them. Just now. The video in the light curtain continues to zoom in. Until it was fixed in the battle range between Abarai Renji and Yami. Exactly. Yami takes up more of the screen. Finally, the number on the arm turned into a big 0. Damn it, not number 10. Yami Ryatsu suddenly started to soar. Everyone was surprised when they saw this. At the same time, the number 10 on his arm is 1. Hey, this guy say it. Suddenly the shedding started. Outside the light curtain, Yami suddenly smiled crookedly. What? After seeing this scene, it's time to reveal the secret. It's actually number 0, asterisk. How else could it be like this? 144. I thought it was a dishonor, but turned out to be a king? 144. I thought it was Kai-kun, but it turned out to be Wang Za? Wodong. Outside the light curtain, after everyone saw what Yami had just done, they were all shocked. Good guy. This guy is not number 10, it's number 0. Ta. This Espada ranking is not like 1 to 10, but 0 to 9. You can still play like this. Seeing this, the audience was both surprised and speechless. Between barrages. This guy is actually number 0, Omaeda. I'm shocked too. How can it be like this, Kiraizuru? 666, at first I thought Aizen had hidden a number 0 on purpose. Katetsu Izan. Yeah, did you think he was some powerful person? It turns out that number 0 is actually number 10? Yamada Hanataro? It feels a bit ridiculous. I just don't know what kind of abilities this number 0 will have. Aizen Naneo. Number 10 becomes number 0. It's interesting. Aizen, Urahara Kazuki. This Yami seems to have appeared before. She looks like Omaeda. She probably doesn't have any powerful abilities. Madara Mihiao. Hey. What does it mean that a style like mine is not great? Are you polite? Omaeda. If your guess is correct, it should be a power player, Hisagi Shuhei. Speaking of which, I feel like Renji is going to be in trouble. Haha. He probably thought his opponent was number 10 at first. Kurosaki Ichigo. At this time, just when everyone was discussing the abilities of Arankar number 0, Yami in the barrage room. Kurosaki Ichigo's barrage suddenly aroused everyone's interest. Peeved ha. Yes. This guy Abarai Renji. At first I thought this Yami was number 10. So I picked the weakest being to fight from the beginning. But who would have imagined? But I picked the strongest number 0. Ha. I guess Abarai Renji's intestines are full of regrets right now. It feels like thinking that the opponent's hand is a pair of 3. As a result, after a showdown, I discovered that the opponent turned out to be a king bomb. Don't talk about this feeling. Think of this. Everyone's interest was even higher. While speculating on the abilities of Espada Yami number 0, I am looking forward to the reaction of the Abarai batch. At that time, the ability of the number 1 Arankar was already very impressive. What is so powerful about this number 0? Will the captains who went to Hueco Mundo to rescue him win the battle against Espada this time? Will Ichimaru Jin be rescued? At this moment, everyone continued to look at the light curtain in the sky. Looking forward to what happens next. Seirei, Commander-in-Chief's room. Number 0. Backquote. Hitsugaya Dashiro couldn't help but let out a sound of surprise after seeing the video in the light screen. Number 10 is actually number 0. Now, in the hall, other captains also had faces full of surprise. At first, they all guessed that number 0 was probably an Arankar hidden by Aizen. Moreover, some people even speculate that this number 0 is Aizen himself. Advertisement, but, in the end, no one thought that number 0 would actually be number 10. Loneliness, aging, sacrifice, nothingness, despair, destruction, intoxication, madness, greed, anger. On the other side, Sui Feng murmured to himself. She was thinking about what Baragan had said about the way to die that Espada represented. If your guess is correct, the way of death represented by number 10 should be anger. Sui Feng said analytically. If that's the case, then his ability is probably related to direct force. Since you can be ranked number 0, you must be very powerful. Hear Sui Feng's analysis. Several other captains also raised their heads at this time and looked at the video in the light curtain. A faint worry began to form in my heart. Number 0 suddenly appeared, and it was square. With Abarai Renji's abilities, he is definitely unstoppable. Originally, there were more people in Espada opposite than in Shinigami. In this case, this battle of the rescue team is quite difficult. Think of this. The captains all focused their gazes on the light curtain. I am eager to know the development of the next battle. In the light curtain, at this time, Abarai Renji was confused. 0.00? He looked surprised and watched in disbelief as the 1 on Yami's arm disappeared and finally turned into a 0. Witness this magical scene. He was still a little disbelieving. Worry? What the hell are you kidding? This guy is number 0? Abarai Renjiza looked at Yami, who was as tall as a hill in front of him. At this time, the other person's face was filled with pride and contempt. That expression made Abarai Renji very unhappy. It was as if in his eyes, I was just an ant that could be trampled to death with just a foot. It seems, it's not like a joke. Abarai Renji is a bit dumbfounded. What the hell is this? Mater himself clearly picked the weakest number 10. In the blink of an eye, you give me a king bomb? This is so unlucky. But Abarai Renji looked at the captain, Rukia and others who were fighting on the side, and adjusted his mentality. Number 0 is number 0, although I don't know what tricks you are playing. But I, Abarai Renji, am not someone to be trifled with. After thinking about this, Abarai Renji waved the Zanpakuto in his hand again, and swung it towards Yami in front of him with all his strength. Come on. Zabameru. At this moment, Yami looked at Zanpakuto who was attacking her and smiled contemptuously. He didn't take Abarai Renji's attack seriously at all. Ha 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 ha, advertisement, are you preparing to tickle me? Say it. He waved his hand. Clang after hearing the metallic symphony, Zabameru was slapped back by Yami. Otherwise, Abarai Renji can dodge quickly. He was almost hit by the Zanpakuto that bounced back from him. Ox. Abarai Renji was a little surprised. Is it completely impossible to cut? After hearing this? Yami said with a mocking look. Hey, Shinigami. Don't waste time. Hurry up and use that Bankai of yours. Let me see your Bankai. After killing you, I have to kill others. Huh? After Abarai Renji heard this, he couldn't help but tilted his head and looked at Yami. Look at my Bankai, kill me, and then go kill other people? Abarai Renji's mouth twitched. I've seen crazy people, but never this crazy. I want to see my Bankai. I'm afraid, you're probably not qualified yet. Abarai Renji said with a chuckle. People can cook, but their mouths cannot be soft. In terms of tough talk, Abarai Renji has never convinced anyone before. That's all. The two of them continued fighting without saying a word. Yami's strength and defense are very strong. Abarai Renji couldn't break through his defense at all, and the knife he swung out was like scraping Yami. Although Yami is relatively strong, his reaction speed is slow, damn it. His attacks are also very difficult to hit Abarai Renji. During this time, Abarai Renji's constant verbal abuse made Yami so angry that his teeth itched. Release Ryatsu again and again to increase your size, thereby increasing your attack range. However, Abarai used Shunpo to escape again and again. Outside the light curtain, after everyone looked at the fighting style of the two, they were dumbfounded for a moment. The two of them fought for a long time, just like playing. No one caused any substantial harm to anyone. Where's the Espada number 0 that we said was the strongest? In the end, even Abarai Renji, a 25-year-old boy, couldn't beat him? That's it. Righto. At this time, in the light curtain, Yami suddenly stopped moving. In that case, Yami stabilized his body, looked down at Abarai Renji condescendingly and said, I won't waste any more time, Joe. Say it. Yami shouted and began to erupt with more powerful Ryatsu. Get furious, angry beast. 145. Eliminating you has nothing to do with you. 145. Eliminating you has nothing to do with you. Get furious, angry beast. Boom. I heard a powerful Ryatsu beam of light rising into the sky in an instant. At this time, in the beam of light, Yami roared. The retreat has begun. Is this guy going to die? At this moment, Abarai Renji on the side looked at the huge light beam in front of him and said dumbfounded. This guy Yami. I don't know what the ability is. During the battle with him just now, this guy actually grew bigger more than once. As he grows bigger again and again, Yami's body also gradually grew from a height of 2 meters in the beginning to the height of a building. This guy is still getting bigger. Abarai Renji looked into the beam of light after Yami. I found that in the light beam, Yami's body was still getting bigger at this moment. What exactly is this guy's ability to return to the sword? Could it just be that big? Think of this. Abarai Renji looked confused. Wrong. In addition to being able to grow bigger, every time this guy changes the sky, his strength also grew accordingly. Abarai Renji recalls the battle with him. Gradually I started to think of this guy's abilities. Just at this time, the light beam 063 around Yami gradually began to disappear. Then, Yami showed an extremely terrifying posture. I saw that his size became extremely huge. Other than that, under Yami's huge body, several legs suddenly appeared. Yami looks like this, like a giant centipede. Wotong. Outside the light curtain, everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Good guy, this guy's ultimate sword is actually a worm? What the hell is going on? Where is the espada number 0 that we said was the strongest? That's it, between barrages. Peeved. It turns out that in his return state, he is actually a big caterpillar. Ha 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 ha, Omaeda. Yeah, when I first saw the title in the light screen, I thought this number 0 had some incredible ability. I really didn't expect it to be a worm. Hisagi Shuhei? I think it's not that simple, after all, he is number 0. This ranking is said to be the result of Espada's fight. Madarei Mikaku. Speaking of which, this figure is too big, it feels like the sky is about to burst. Inoue or Hime. Such a large body is indeed a bit exaggerated. Abarai Renji is not as big as one of this guy's fingers. Yumachika Rarikawa. With such a punch, Abarai Renji will probably have no bones left. Yamada Hanataro. BFBG. Have you noticed that this Yami's power also grows with his size? Aizen. Does strength increase with body size? Advertisement? After others saw this barrage of Aizen, everyone was shocked. Then, they recalled Abarai Renji's previous battle scenes. Really? This careful recall reveals the trembling process of the battle between Espada number 0, Yami and Abarai Renji. Each time the Ryatsu improves first, then, the body size keeps getting bigger. If you say so, this guy Yami didn't get bigger because of Ryatsu's improvement. But it was because of his own increase in body size that Ryatsu was raised. If this is the case, that would be terrible, because this means that Yami actually has a very powerful Ryatsu sealed inside her body. B. This kind of Ryatsu is limited by his body size, so that his original strength cannot be fully released. As the body size increases again and again, Yami's true strength is also lifted from the limit again and again. Hiss. After thinking about this, everyone took a breath of cold air. Because, at this time, everyone realized that this Yami was not improving his own strength. It's about lifting your own restrictions. This is the same as the release of Shinigami's restrictions. BBY. The bigger Yami is, the more Ryatsu he can release. At this moment, everyone looked at the extremely huge Yami in the light curtain, which was about to burst through the sky. Everyone was extremely horrified. Seirei, the chief's room. Yeah, Kyoraku Shunsui saw the light curtain and his teeth fell behind the blade. Once again, I was the first to express my emotion. This guy is a bit too exaggerated. Yes, Hitsugaya Toshiro on the side also sighed. This guy's reminder is indeed a bit exaggerated. Captain Abarai Renji, you may be in trouble this time. On the other side, Sui Feng analyzed lightly, actually. While watching the battle in the light curtain, these captains and Shay have already seen the clues about Yami. Open black lens bracket 013403415 Filu 144500160 close black lens bracket. Just like everyone else imagined, Yami's ability has a huge relationship with his size. His returning name is Angry Beast. In other words, this Arankar named Yami will grow bigger every time he gets angry. Abai. This guy's Ryatsu restrictions will be lifted a little. When he was completely defeated, it should be said that Yami's true power was fully released at this moment. At this point, the captains are not sure whether Yami will not grow bigger again. On the other hand, Abarai Renji's side, at the beginning of the battle. Abarai Renji seems to be able to deal with Yami through Shunpo. But, this situation is just a roundabout thing, because everyone in the light curtain can see it very clearly. Although Yami's reaction is relatively slow and cannot hit Abarai Renji. B. Advertisement Abarai Renji's attack has no effect on Yami at all. Su. As Yami grew bigger and bigger, Ryatsu continued to release and improve. Abarai Renji also gradually began to struggle. He has suffered a lot of injuries. It can be said that it has reached the end of its strength. And this time, Yami is completely back to the sword. Abarai Renji is irresistible no matter what. Think of this. All the captains stared at the light curtain in the sky with their brows furrowed. Many captains are full of worries. This time, the light curtain is not playing a video from the future, but live broadcast. Rescue Team Ichimaru Jin, no one else rescued me this time. On the contrary, Shinigami lost one person first. That's really a case of dying first in order to survive. At this time, be it Kurosaki Ichigo, Seirei or other Shinigami. Their eyes were fixed on the video in the light screen. While I was surprised by Yami's huge size, I was eager to know how things would develop next. At this moment, in the light curtain, the video continues to play. What the hell? Abarai Renji looked at Queen Yami, who was as tall as a mountain. I was actually shocked for a while. Look at the giant Yami. Although Abarai Renji was murmuring in his heart. However, he knew that he absolutely could not retreat. Outside the light curtain, all the Shinigami are watching. Think of this. Abarai Renji moved the Zanpakuto in his hand across his chest. Bankai. After a loud roar, Abarai Renji started Bankai. Righto. At this time, in the sky, there is a huge palm covering the sky and the sun. He pressed straight towards Abarai Renji. What? Abarai Renji has not yet reacted. Boom, just hear a loud noise. Suddenly the earth trembled and smoke and dust rose everywhere. Outside the light curtain, when everyone saw this scene, they felt happy. Fertile trough, directly extinguished with a palm? At this moment, everyone looked at the huge Yami. One sentence suddenly came to everyone's mind. Destroy you and make peace with you. 146. Baboon Bone Cannon. 146. Baboon Bone Cannon. Bankai in the light curtain, looking at Yami who has been killed and Ryotsu has been promoted again. Abarai Renji used Bankai without hesitation, however. Just when his Bankai was released, boom, suddenly. A giant palm covering the sky and the sun descended from the sky. Abarai Renji and Bankai were knocked to the ground with a slap. Outside the light curtain, everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Wotong. This guy, it's a bit ungrateful. Abarai Renji was still in Bankai, so he took advantage of this moment to slap him down. Tay. This palm is too big. It feels like if such a huge palm is fanned, it will probably form a powerful typhoon in the air. This palm goes down. Abarai Renji must have suffered a lot. You won't be shot to death directly, at this moment. Everyone looked at the giant palm that covered the sky and the sun. I can't help but worry about Abarai Renji, Ext. After returning to the sword, Yami's size was too huge. At this time, when everyone saw Yami in the light curtain, they slowly raised their palms. At the same time, the smoke and dust are slowly dissipating. At this moment, everyone stared closely at the light curtain. Every pair of eyes is looking for Abarai Renji, this guy. He couldn't really be slapped to death, right, in the light curtain. After Yami slowly raised his huge palm, all he could see was the originally flat black land. At this time, it has become a ruin, with rubble and rubble everywhere. At the place where the palm fell, a huge pothole suddenly appeared. Obviously, that's what Yami just hit, at this time. After Yami raised his palm, he also carefully scanned the ruins below with his eyes. Ah, you're not going to die right now, are you? That's too boring. Yami murmured to himself while looking for Abarai Renji. For him who has become a giant, Abarai Renji is not even as big as one of his fingers, he is too small. FIFFLX. When his palm fell, he did not feel Abarai Renji. What a pity, I also want to see what that guy calls Bankai. After searching for a moment, Yami shook his head. I thought it would have been better if I hadn't taken this slab just now. In this case, you can also check out Abarai Renji's Bankai. Advertisement, but who knew that the current Shinigami would be so insatiable? Haven't you had enough fun yet? However, Shinigami was beaten to death with a single tap. Boring. Boring. At this time, a coughing sound suddenly came from among the ruins. Not dead. Yami was surprised for a moment, then fixed his gaze on a corner among the ruins. I only saw this moment. The smoke dispersed. Abarai Renji's figure gradually began to emerge. Turned out to be the moment Yami's palm was about to fall. At the same time, Abarai Renji's Bankai was completed instantly. At the critical moment, Abarai Renji wrapped his body tightly with his Bankai, King of Baboons Zabumeru. Only then did he reluctantly take this blow. Despite this, Abarai Renji was still injured to a certain extent. At this time, a trace of bloodline flowed from the corner of his mouth. He looked at King of Baboons Zabumeru with a surprised look on his face, who was about to fall apart from the blow. My Bankai, how could I barely block his palm? Abarai Renji looked at the huge Yami with a surprised expression. My heart was shocked again. Yami's attack was a bit beyond his imagination. Ha 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 ha. At this time, Yami looked at Abarai Renji among the ruins, feeling a little surprise. It's really surprising that you're not dead, hey. Yami stretched out his big head and shouted to Abarai Renji on the ground. Is this little bug-like thing your Bankai? Small bug? Abarai Renji looked at his baboon king, Zabumeru. I felt my Bankai was insulted. He pointed at several feet under Yami's body and couldn't help but smile. Who is more like a bug? Hear this. Yami's face changed slightly and then he said impatiently. Okay, Shinigami. Bring it on. Yami said that he felt that talking to ants like Abarai Renji was a waste of time. Let me see your Bankai, use your strongest move. Then, you can just go die. That's it. Yami stopped talking nonsense and slowly raised his arms. Then, he mercilessly punched Abarai Renji in the ruins. Above the ground, Abarai Renji looked like a meteorite hitting his fist from the sky. There was no thought of evasion at all. That's all the other person said. It's true that he is riding on his face and outputting like crazy. Advertisement, ********. At this juncture, how could Abarai Renji give in? Not to mention the live broadcast on the light screen. If you dodge at this time, that would not be Abarai Renji's fighting style. Now that it's all said and done, Abarai Renji waved his shoulders and said seriously. Then let me show you how powerful I am, Bankai. Say it. He raised his right hand high. At the same time, the Snake-Tail King who followed the Baboon King also began to hover in the air. Let's go, King of Baboons Zabumeru, Baboon Cannon. At this moment, facing Yami's huge punch that was about to hit him, Abarai Renji uses his strongest move since Bankai. Roar. Only after hearing the roar that resounded through the sky, the Baboon King, Zabumeru, rushed straight towards the huge fist in the sky. At the same time, a very powerful red Ryotsu beam of light shot out from the skull of the King Baboon. Boom boom boom. All of a sudden, the roaring sound resounded throughout the world. Outside the light curtain, everyone saw this scene. They are all extremely shocked. Abarai Renji, the move after Bankai, is a cannon. This is the first time for everyone to see it. If it hadn't been for the exposure of Abarai Renji's Bankai in the previous light curtain, Seireiti Shinigami didn't believe that Abarai Renji, as the vice captain, could actually Bankai. And this time the battle, Abarai Renji actually figured out another trick after Bankai. Have to say, in a short period of time, I have understood and improved Bankai. Many Shinigami were very surprised. What they don't know is that half of the reason for Abarai Renji Bankai's rapid promotion is due to Bikuyaku Chiki. At this moment, everyone outside the light curtain looked at the scene in the video nervously. Yami's punch was quite powerful. The power is not small. Boom. In the light curtain, when everyone is confused. After everyone heard a roar in the light curtain, there was a strange noise. When looking at the light curtain again, at this time. It, plus, wow, what happened? Abarai Renji panicked instantly. Can Abarai Renji defeat this Yami this time? At this moment. However, Abarai used this trick after Bankai for the first time. Suddenly saw it. Abarai Renji Bankai, the Baboon King Zabumeru, when he touched Yami's punch, his entire body was instantly shattered. 147. The vice captain who is the best at pretending never misses any opportunity to show off. 147. The vice captain who is the best at pretending never misses any opportunity to show off. It. Plus 4. Abarai Renji looked at his Baboon King, Zabumeru. At the moment of contact with Yami's fist, after being hit to pieces, he was shocked. He didn't expect Yami's easy punch to be so powerful. It's just that his strongest move, the Baboon Bone Cannon, didn't cause any damage to Yami. Even my own Bankai is so vulnerable? At this moment. Abarai Renji looked at Yami's huge fist, still falling towards him with unabated momentum. He suddenly panicked. What? It was shattered? Outside the light curtain. At this time, all the Shinigami looked a little surprised when they saw the light behind the scenes. Same as Abarai Renji. What happened in the light curtain surprised him and the others. Outside the light curtain, they could see very clearly. Abarai Renji's Baboon Bone Cannon is quite powerful. It is no exaggeration to say that except for the captains of Seireiti, a move like Abarai Renji's, the average Shinigami can be said to be helpless. When all the Shinigami saw this, they all thought that this trick used by Abarai Renji, although it may not be able to defeat the number 0 Arankar Yami. However, it is okay to at least let him suffer a certain degree of harm. Shido. The video broadcast live in the light curtain surprised everyone. They never thought of it. Abarai Renji's unique trick has no effect on Yami. Not only that, even the Bankai itself was directly crushed. For a while, the Shinigami were surprised and worried about Abarai Renji's safety. Between barrages. This doesn't it have any effect? Katetsu Izan? I'll choke you. Bankai was crushed to pieces. Omaeda. This Yami's fist is a bit tough. That Baboon Bone Cannon just now had no effect on him? Yumachika Rikawa? It's over. Even Bankai has been crushed. Now, Vice Captain Abarai Renji is probably in danger. Yamada Hanataro. Yeah, there's no sign of that giant fist stopping at all. Kira Izuru. Hey, Renji. Run. Don't leave that idiot standing there, Kurosaki Ichigo. It's useless. He probably won't have time to look at the light curtain in the sky now. Urahara Kazuki. Will he die? Inoue or Hime? If we run away, it seems like it's too late. Muguruma Kensei. At this moment, outside the light curtain, there are Kurosaki Ichigo and others as well as other Shinigami who are familiar with Abarai Renji. Look at the huge fist that keeps falling in the light curtain. Everyone felt scared. The fist is getting closer and closer, and the speed is also very fast. That huge fist is at least as big as a mountain. Even if Abarai Renji uses Shunpo to escape now, in terms of time, it will definitely be too late. Abarai Renji in the light curtain seems to be aware of this problem. So, he simply didn't plan to run away, but held his Zanpakuto across his chest. He was ready to resist with all his strength. As time passes, the giant fist gets closer and closer. The audience looked at the light curtain. My mood was extremely tense. For a time, many people seemed to have almost forgotten to breathe. Even some female Shinigami, they all closed their eyes. I don't dare to watch the video played in the light curtain. They were afraid to see the tragic death of Abarai Renji. This time, they also knew that the video in the light curtain was live broadcast. If Abarai Renji dies in the light curtain, then it means that he will really die in reality. Righto. Advertisement just when Yami's huge fist was about to fall on Abarai Renji, crushing him. Just when everyone was feeling extremely nervous. Even some moments of despair. 14%. Sudden. A large field of pink sakura flowers quickly floated towards Aburai Renji. Subsequently, billions of sakura flowers filled the sky and surrounded Aburai Renji in an instant. Aburai Renji looked at the sakura flowers flying in the sky with a surprised look on his face. Senbon Sakura, team leader? After being surprised, Aburai Renji suddenly felt very pleasantly surprised. He turned away. I saw Byakuya Kuchiki wearing white Captain Haori beside me. At this time, Byakuya Kuchiki should be standing on a high platform. Controlling the flying Senbon Sakura with both hands, a barrier was formed between Aburai Renji and Yami's huge fists. Team Captain saw this scene. Aburai Renji felt a little complicated. There is both the excitement of surviving the disaster and a bit of shame. After all, he failed to defeat his opponent, but in the end his captain came forward to help him. For Aburai Renji, this matter is still a bit unbearable. Senbon Sakura. It's Captain Kuchiki. The sudden appearance of Byakuya Kuchiki immediately made the Shinigami outside the screen cheer. No one expected that at this critical moment, Byakuya Kuchiki comes to the rescue. Moreover, it looks like you are using Bankai directly. Only Senbon Sakura after Bankai has such a large number. Looking at Byakuya Kuchiki controlling Senbon Sakura with both hands. The people outside the light curtain were also moved. He is indeed our captain, Senbon Sakura controlled with both hands, the speed will also be doubled. Asterisk. Byakuya Kuchiki is still very worried about Aburai Renji's safety. At this moment, the audience looked at the protective barrier formed by Senbon Sakura in front of Aburai Renji in the light curtain. Say this in your heart, it should be possible to withstand Yami's attack. After all, Byakuya Kuchiki is at the captain level. Could it be that he couldn't even withstand a normal punch from Yami? As long as he withstands this attack, Aburai Renji was not injured. Next, Byakuya Kuchiki and Aburai Renji join forces. Isn't it easy to defeat this Yami? Think of this. Everyone looked into the light curtain again. At this time, in the light curtain, Yami's huge fist finally smashed it down. Boom, a huge fist like a hill slammed into Senbon Sakura's barrier. The two forces wanted to collide, and there was a huge roar. All of a sudden, the aftermath of the battle swept across the entire land. The ground is filled with smoke. Blocked. Aburai Renji lives between these two forces. The Ryotsu wave released by the two colliding forces made him almost breathless. At this moment, he looked at the huge fist that was only a few meters away and the sky full of Senbon Sakura blocking him. I was both worried and surprised at the same time. After confirming again that Yami's punch was blocked. Aburai Renji laughed triumphantly. He held Zanpakuto, pointed at the void, and shouted. What kind of powerful move did I think it was? Advertisement, S. Speaking of which, Aburai Renji jumped up, waving the Zanpakuto in his hand to start counterattack. Outside the light curtain, after everyone saw this, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Byakuya Kuchiki's Senbon Sakura could barely resist this attack. Speaking of which, this is also expected, Ext. If even a captain-level Bankai and an ordinary punch from a Ronkar can't withstand it. That is too unreasonable, Tij. At this time, everyone looked at Aburai Renji's proud look. Really a bit speechless. This guy will die if he doesn't pretend for a while? He was obviously as scared as his grandson just now. Why are you shouting again now? Why not run away at this time? Don't wait until then. If this punch continues to hit you, you won't even have a chance to escape. Why don't you run away from such a good opportunity? After seeing Aburai Renji's movements in the light curtain, everyone was dumbfounded. This guy, he simply never misses an opportunity to show off. However, at this time, boom, the fist that had stopped suddenly became stronger. Once again, it hit the barrier formed by Senbon Sakura. Wow! The next second, in everyone's extremely shocked eyes, the Senbon Sakura barrier collapsed. Not good, she was still dancing Aburai Renji, but her face suddenly changed. He immediately tumbled from the air and landed on the ground, and then began to perform Shunpo. I want to quickly escape from this mountain like giant fist. How so? Surprisingly, even the captain's Bankai couldn't stop this punch. Really? Damn it. Aburai Renji was cursing in his heart while frantically using Shunpo to escape. 4.3. I feel the pressure on my head getting closer. Aburai Renji wants to die. Damn it. It would be great if we could take advantage of the gap we just stopped and run away immediately. At this moment, Byakuya Kuchiki on the other side was also very shocked. After the Senbon Sakura barrier was destroyed, he immediately controlled another part of Senbon Sakura to block. This time, no matter how hard he tried, it was to no avail. Hateful. It's too late. That's, boom. This punch goes down, however, he withstood this mountain-like punch. The giant fist falls. Something that surprises everyone. Aburai Renji is probably going to die here, Wotong. That's too late, the whole earth trembled, everyone was surprised. At this time, Byakuya Kuchiki looked at Aburai Renji under the giant fist, with a look of anxiety on his face. See this scene. This person holds up the jagged Zanpakuto in one hand. Between the huge fist and the earth, there stood a figure. Zaraki Kenpachi, 148. Zaraki Kenpachi. I heard you were good at fighting? 148. Zaraki Kenpachi. I heard you were good at fighting? Wotong. That's Zaraki Kenpachi? See this scene? Everyone was surprised. At this moment, everyone looked at the towering figure of Zaraki Kenpachi under the huge fist. They were all very surprised. Good guy. With just one hand, I was able to knock down this punch hard. Really cheating, as expected of Master Ba, between barrages. The sudden change instantly made everyone excited. I'll go. It's Captain Zaraki, Kira Izuru. I really didn't expect that at such a critical moment, Captain Zaraki would show up, Hisagi Shuhei. Huh. I was scared to death. Fortunately, Captain Zaraki showed up in time. I was so scared that I closed my eyes because I was afraid of seeing the scene where Deputy Captain Aburai Renji was crushed. Eyes. Speaking of, why did two captains appear in the Aburai Renji battle at the same time? Katetsu Izan. Is there a possibility that the two captains have defeated their enemies? Yamada Hanataro? The enemy has been defeated. That's too fast, Omaeda. Tisk. Captain Zaraki's strength is still as terrifying as ever. He withstood this blow with just one hand. Yumachika Ryurikawa. Yes. With the appearance of Captain Zaraki, it seems that Aburai Renji will not die this time. Madarei Makaku. At this moment, everyone continued to turn their attention to the light curtain. The battle between Aburai Renji and Yami can be said to be full of twists and turns. First of all, at the beginning, neither Aburai Renji nor Yami could do anything to the other. With Yami dead, Aburai Renji couldn't hold on any longer. Even though Byakuya Kuchiki appeared, he couldn't block Yami's blow. Until finally, when everyone was in despair, Zaraki Kenpachi appeared. Turn the tide. Think of this. Everyone is looking forward to the next battle more and more. Aburai Renji, Zaraki Kenpachi, Byakuya Kuchiki. To round it off, it's a battle between three captains against one Arrancar. It can be said to be unprecedented. Yami, the number 0 Arrancar, does he have any other tricks up his sleeve? Will he be defeated in the second stage? At this moment, the audience's eyes are always locked on the light curtain in the sky. Looking forward to the next video. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. Interesting. Aizen was quietly watching the battle situation shown on the light curtain in the sky at this time. When he saw the appearance of Byakuya Kuchiki, he was quite surprised. Although in the light curtain, there is no picture of the battle on Byakuya Kuchiki's side. He knew it very well. Byakuya Kuchiki can appear in the battle on Aburai Renji's side. It means that Byakuya Kuchiki has killed his opponent. Thought of this, Aizen was slightly surprised. He didn't expect that. The 7th Espada under his command, Zamari Ruro, was actually in front of Byakuya Kuchiki. It can only withstand such a short period of time. I still underestimated the strength of the captains. Advertisement, Aizen said calmly. Then, Aizen locked his eyes on Zaraki Kenpachi in the light curtain. Not only was there no surprise in his eyes. On the contrary, there is some expectation. Ever since the previous video of Zaraki Kenpachi's knife splitting the meteorite was played in the light curtain, Aizen is even more interested in the power contained in Zaraki Kenpachi. You can say that, the captains in Go Day 13, except the chief captain. The only thing Aizen can pay a little attention to is Zaraki Kenpachi. He just takes it a little more seriously than other captains. For Aizen, Zaraki Kenpachi's power is certainly terrifying. However, in his eyes, Zaraki Kenpachi is just a typical monster who cannot think. To deal with this beast that relies on instinct to fight. There are 100 ways to Aizen. He wanted to take a look today. Yami and Zaraki Kenpachi are really weak and strong. These two people also have no brains and only have great strength. As the hidden number 0 Arrancar, Yami's power naturally goes without saying. His ability is that the angrier he is, the stronger he becomes. And Zaraki Kenpachi's power is also very strange. The more you fight, the more injured you are, the stronger you become. It can be said, these two people are really at odds with each other. It's really fun. Thinking of this, Aizen smiled playfully. At the same time, he continued to turn his gaze to the light curtain in the sky. Looking forward to the next battle, in the light curtain. The live broadcast never stopped. Captain Zaraki? At this moment, Aburai Renji looked at Zaraki Kenpachi, who was holding the huge fist with one hand. Surprise again, Ray. Aburai Renji was a little confused for a moment, and also felt a little ashamed. He didn't expect that he would encounter the strongest being in Espada. It seems that I am holding back the captains. Nowadays, every captain has his own enemy. In order to save himself, Captain Kuchiki and Captain Genju came to rescue him at the same time. So shameful. Thinking of this, Aburai Renji felt a little embarrassed. At this time, Zaraki Kenpachi, while holding Yami's fist, he grinned. He didn't notice Aburai Renji's embarrassment. The guy the first fought with was simply too weak. He was hacked to death after just a few hits. It's so boring. Speaking of which, Zaraki Kenpachi raised his head and looked at the huge Yami, with a very excited look on his face. That's great. This guy looks like he's been beaten pretty well. Aburai, please step back. Advertisement, leave this to me, haha. Aburai Renji. At this moment, looking at Zaraki Kenpachi's excited face, Aburai Renji suddenly had black lines on his head. This guy Zaraki is really a true fighting maniac. Even the enemy wants to rob. At this time, Bikuya Kuchiki on the side was a little unhappy when he heard Zaraki Kenpachi's words. What does it mean to ask Abarai Renji to step down? The enemy is handed over to you? At least it's a first come, first served basis, right? Think of this. He also came to Abarai Renji as Shunpo and said in a commanding tone. Back off, Abarai. Abarai Renji glanced at his captain and understood instantly. These two people seem to be somewhat at odds with each other. Asterisk 7. Two people fighting against an enemy? Are these two people going to have a fight? Ha ha ha, interesting. Thinking here. Abarai Renji, who knew the current affairs, stepped aside and began to watch the battle and eat melon mode. Where are the bugs from? On the other side, Yami felt her punch fall. There was clearly a resistance. He stretched his head and looked at Zaraki Kenpachi, who was holding the attack with one hand under his fist. He burst into laughter. Unknown currency, unknown currency, unknown currency, unknown currency. This looks like it can be beaten. Good, isn't it true that my uncle is dead? Speaking of which, Yami is about to withdraw his fist, prepared to gather enough strength and attack again. At this time, he suddenly felt that he couldn't pull his hand back. Only then did Yami realize. It turned out to be Zaraki Kenpachi. She himself hugged her tightly. Hey, big guy. Zaraki Kenpachi grinned. How can there be any reason to take back the fist that was thrown out? Duh, say it. Just listen to Zaraki Kenpachi shout loudly. Then his Ryatsu surged instantly, and he hugged Yami's fingers tightly with both arms. Throw it to the side hard. All of a sudden, the huge Yami's entire body was immediately lifted up. After drawing an arc in the air, it fell heavily to the ground. Go Waller. Outside the light curtain, after everyone saw this scene, everyone suddenly went numb. They stared dumbfoundedly at Yami flying around in the air. They all looked in disbelief. This guy is Zaraki Kenpachi. Give such a big thing a shoulder throw? 149. Yami is completely enraged, the power of number 0. 149. The completely enraged Yami, the power of number 0. Outside the light curtain, everyone was shocked after seeing the video. Good guy. Yami's current size is at least as tall as a 20 or 30-story building, right? Zaraki Kenpachi just throws him over his shoulder? Between barrages. I'm going to choke you. I just fell over, Hisagi Shuhei. Captain Niubi. Ling Leichuan Yumachika, how powerful this must be, Aizen Naneo. Good guy. As expected of Captain Zaraki, oh no, as expected of Master 8, Yamada Hanataro. Captain is mighty. This guy named Yami must have been stunned by this fall? Ha 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 ha, Madarei Mikaku? Yes, he probably didn't expect that he would be treated like this, Kira Iziru. It has to be Captain Zaraki, Omaeda, at this moment. Almost everyone was shocked by Zaraki Kenpachi's fall in the light curtain. Zaraki Kenpachi is truly a monster. Yami, who is so huge, fell over right away. It's completely disrespectful. At this time, inside Hueco Mundo, Zaraki Kenpachi's fall not only shocked the audience outside the light screen, it also shocked the other Arankars who were fighting in Hueco Mundo. No way. Yami's huge body is hard to avoid attracting attention. At this time, after they watched Yami being thrown heavily to the ground, many Arankar felt somewhat bloating in their hearts. Next, there was surprise. I'm afraid the Espadas in Hueco Mundo know the level of Yami's power best. It can be said, each of the current Arankars has experienced Yami's exaggerated power. For some of them, Yami's ability is simply a troublesome and unsolvable ability. The angrier the situation, the stronger Yami's power becomes. This power seems to have no upper limit? At the beginning of the battle, a group of Espadas, including Urakiura, the fourth Espada who was not participating in the battle and was watching the battle, also thought so. Yami's side should be the first to end the battle. After all, Yami's captain is just a vice captain, and he is the strongest. But what no one expected was this. It seems that Yami not only failed to end the battle quickly. Instead, he was thrown around in the air, at this moment. The other Espadas felt a little confused. They were even more surprised when they detected that two Espada Ryatsu had disappeared. Did two Espadas be eliminated in such a short period of time? On the other side, Urakiura murmured to himself after watching the battle scene from a distance. It seems, the captain of the Shinigami is stronger than expected. Advertisements say it. Urakiura turned his gaze in Yami's direction. Yami, this idiot, he was actually thrown into the air by the enemy. Tit. This will probably completely anger Yami. After the smoke and dust dissipated, Abarai Renji stared at Zaraki Kenpachi dumbfounded, then clapped his hands and just took a few breaths. Looking at the posture, it didn't seem like he had fallen down a jaw-dropping behemoth. It was more like carrying a sack full of sand. Abarai Renji looked at Yami, who was thrown aside, and then at Zaraki Kenpachi, who had a calm expression on his face and seemed to have unfulfilled intentions. I couldn't help but twitch the corner of my mouth. What a monster. What a monster. Captain Zaraki obviously looks more like a monster than that Yami. Although in the previous video, Abarai Renji had seen Zaraki Kenpachi's battle against that Ptolemy. Especially the video of Zaraki Kenpachi splitting a meteorite with one knife. Abarai Renji was shocked. That's just in the light curtain. At this moment, Abarai Renji truly felt the terror of Zaraki Kenpachi after being immersed in it. Asterisk. It's really barbaric, at this time. Byakuya Kuchiki standing aside was obviously also surprised by Zaraki Kenpachi's actions. Hello. Just when the two of them were surprised, Zaraki Kenpachi in front of him laughed loudly, and then shouted to Yami, who fell to the ground. Is this all you have, big guy? Can you still stand up? Speaking of which, Zaraki Kenpachi waved his arms and walked towards the direction of Yami's head. Don't fall down like this, I haven't had enough fun yet. Are you doing nothing except getting bigger? At this moment, Yami, who was lying on the ground, roared immediately after hearing Zaraki Kenpachi's words. Then, after hearing a roaring sound, Yami turned over and slowly stood up. Unforgivable. Unforgivable. Yami's eyes were fixed on Zaraki Kenpachi above the ground, under his huge body. Zaraki Kenpachi is as a small insect on the earth. Just now, a cockroach-like bug in front of me actually knocked me down. This made Yami, who had always refused to accept anyone, suddenly furious. Very good. Yami looked at Zaraki Kenpachi at his feet, his face flushed, and it could be said that he was almost extremely angry. Damn bugs. Ants. Labor and management will definitely blast you to pieces. Roar. Speaking of which, Yami suddenly shouted to the sky. Then his Ryatsu bursts out again, all of a sudden. I saw an extremely huge blue light pillar breaking through the sky. At the same time, Yami's originally huge body was slowly changing again at this moment. It actually got bigger again. Abarai Renji raised his head at this time and looked at the growing Yami with a surprised look on his face. I felt a little panicked. *71. Can this guy keep getting bigger like this? It is estimated that this guy will pierce the sky of Hueco Mundo. Renji. At this time, Byakuya Kuchiki on the side said calmly. What's the matter, Captain? You stay away, this guy's Ryatsu and power are growing. Byakuya Kuchiki frowned, looked at Yami in the distance and said. He could naturally feel the changes in Yami after becoming Queen Ryatsu. Abai. He also knew it very well. After Yami gets bigger this time, he probably won't be as easy to deal with as before. *7. Abarai Renji just wanted to answer and obey Byakuya Kuchiki's order. Sudden. Yami in the beam of light punched out fiercely without any warning. Boom. The giant fist like a hill directly hit Zaraki Kenpachi in the open space. Click. Just listen to the muffled sound of broken bones. Zaraki Kenpachi flew upside down in the air, boom 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 boom. Zaraki Kenpachi, who was hit by a powerful force, rolled over the ruins for at least several hundred meters. Only then did he finally stop stretching. For a moment, I didn't know whether to live or die. See this scene. Everyone was stunned. 150. Aizen. The fun has just begun. 150. Aizen. The fun has just begun. Boom 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 boom. In the light curtain, Yami punched Zaraki Kenpachi directly and knocked him away. On the ground, it rolled continuously for hundreds of meters before stopping. Subsequently, Zaraki Kenpachi lay on the ground, motionless. Act recklessly, outside the light curtain. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Bis. The situation of the battle turned around too quickly. Between barrages. Wakao, Captain Zaraki, Kira Iziru. Fei out. Aizen. Oh my god, this punch doesn't look light. Will Captain Zaraki be okay? Yumachika Ryurikawa? It doesn't look like everything is okay. Did you hear the sound of Captain Zaraki's bones breaking just now? Yamada Hanataro? Even so, Captain Zaraki shouldn't be that fragile. Madarei Mikaku. How shameless. This guy Yami, he attacked suddenly. Katetsu Izan. That's how it is in battle. There's no shame in trying to win, because the dead won't criticize you. Kiraku Shunsui. I feel now that this battle is a bit on the line. This Yami's power is too special. The angrier it is, the more powerful it is. How can we defeat him at this rate? Hisagi Shuhei. This statement by Hisagi Shuhei. It can be said that this is exactly what Shinigami are worried about. The audience initially thought that the development of the battle would be simple. Abarai Renji won't necessarily beat Yami though. With the appearance of Zaraki Kenpachi and Byakuya Kuchiki, it can be said that the battle situation has changed. When everyone saw Zaraki Kenpachi fall over his shoulder, many of them even feel that there is no need to read anymore. Because of Zaraki Kenpachi's fighting ability, needless to say. Even meteorites have been split apart, not to mention a little Arankar. Although this is Arankar number 0, everyone believes that this guy has absolutely no chance of winning against Zaraki Kenpachi. Yami the monster, it can actually get bigger. And the strength can be increased at this moment. The audience outside the light curtain, especially the Shinigami of Seirei. Look at the motionless Zaraki Kenpachi in the video. The heart that had already fallen began to hang at this moment. From the beginning Abarai Renji, to Byakuya Kuchiki, to Zaraki Kenpachi. Seem, until now, that Yami just started to show his true strength. Moreover, it seems that he has not shown all his strength. At this moment, everyone looked at the title in the light screen, the strongest Arankar number 0. How strong can it be? Think of this. Everyone continued to turn their attention to the light curtain in the sky. Hueco Mundo, Suya Palace. It's wonderful. Aizen smiled slightly after seeing the live broadcast in the light curtain. In his opinion, whether it's Abarai Renji or Zaraki Kenpachi, and Byakuya Kuchiki, these few people, They all underestimated the power of Yami. In Aizen's opinion, Zaraki Kenpachi's injury will happen sooner or later. Especially Zaraki Kenpachi and Byakuya Kuchiki. Advertisement. This man is arrogant and reckless, in Aizen's opinion. At first, these two people did not take Yami's ability seriously. True, Yami's power becomes stronger the angrier it gets. If, at the beginning, these two people attached great importance to Yami's power. So, in the early stages when Yami's power has not yet fully grown. If the two of them join forces, they can directly kill Yami. Because of the arrogance of these two people. So I missed that great opportunity at the beginning. Currently, the tooth's strength has increased exponentially several times. If you want to kill him again, it can be said to be even harder than climbing to the sky. Aizen would not be so naive as to think so. Zaraki Kenpachi will not die after receiving such a blow from Yami. But, the current situation is, even if the two of them join forces, Yami will not be killed easily. Moreover, it will become stronger and stronger, think of this. Aizen raised the corners of his mouth and looked at the light curtain with a playful expression. You don't really think that Arankar number 0 will be defeated so easily. Good show. It's just the beginning. Hueco Mundo, the battle scene in the light curtain. More Captain Zaraki, after seeing Zaraki Kenpachi being blown away by that huge fist. Abarai Renji suddenly shouted in surprise, looking at Zaraki Kenpachi lying motionless in the distance. Abarai Renji immediately used Shunpo and quickly moved in the direction of Zaraki Kenpachi. However, at this time, Yami's huge body also began to twist. Dong dong dong, every time Yami takes a step, the earth trembles. At this moment, Abarai Renji looked at the feet as huge as the pillars of heaven and Yami falling down. You can only dodge and move quickly at the same time. Oh, Yami glanced at Abarai Renji, who was like a small insect walking around under his feet. Snort, you all must die, you bastards, said. Then he raised his huge foot, aimed at Abarai Renji, and stepped on it hard. Righto with this kick, Yami's legs had just been raised, and the huge soles of his feet had not yet stepped down. Sudden, I saw the pink sakura flowers all over the sky, BFCJ, swish, wrapping Yami's huge soles. It's the captain. Abarai Renji looked up in relief and breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Byakuya Kuchiki controlling Senbon Sakura with both hands. Subsequently, continued towards Zaraki Kenpachi, swish swish swish. Sakura flowers all over the sky are flying and spinning quickly on Yami's feet. At the same time, cutting in progress, boom, 2 seconds later. Yami's huge legs were cut off in half by Senbon Sakura. The cut-off section suddenly fell to the ground, it hurts. These things all happen in an instant. The huge Yami also has obvious disadvantages. Advertisement, that's because it's too huge, so both the reaction and the ability to perceive the body are limited. It will all be a little slower than before, FFFLX. When the pain comes, Yami discovered that one of her legs was missing. It hurts, he suddenly let out a pig's cry. It hurts me so much, hateful. At this time, Yami looked at her sakura flowers all over the sky and already figured out why her feet were missing. At this time, he couldn't care about Abarai Renji who was moving under his body. He immediately turned his head, looked at Byakuya Kuchiki on the other side with great anger and roared. What a courage, how dare you cut off my feet? I can't spare you, I will never spare you, bedbug. Yami was roaring like crazy. Byakuya Kuchiki still looked calm. In his eyes, there is no such person as Yami, at this moment. Yami felt that she was being ignored and became even more furious. I saw that the huge body began to twist and rush towards the direction of Byakuya Kuchiki. The whole thing looks like a giant maggot, surprisingly. Yami's speed was much faster this time. It seems that Byakuya Kuchiki is indeed very angry. Byakuya Kuchiki's arrogant look is indeed very unpleasant to look at. Boom. At this time, suddenly a huge stone flew out of nowhere. Hit Yami hard in the face. Are you okay? On the ruins, Abarai Renji stopped. Looking blankly at Zaraki Kenpachi in front of him. The big stone just now was exactly what he saw, asked. Zaraki Kenpachi, who was covered in scars, said disdainfully. This little injury is not enough to relieve the itching. Abarai Renji. Hear this. Abarai Renji had a black line on his face. Hey, big guy. At this time, Zaraki Kenpachi walked out of the ruins, pointed Zanpakuto directly at Yami and shouted. Not bad, you can also throw a punch like that just now? Hey, I thought you were just a big useless fly. Having said this, Zaraki Kenpachi turned his neck, and there were sounds of bones all over his body. 2. If you want to bully someone, just show off your energy, fat and big caterpillars. At this moment. After hearing this, Yami couldn't bear it anymore. His huge face turned red instantly. It looks like he is extremely angry. I saw him opening his huge mouth, and a huge red energy gathered in his mouth. Not good, it's Sero. See this scene. Abarai Renji's expression immediately changed.